Hey guys, welcome. What if Dark Naruto x Naomi H movie? The war had been a long and very bloody affair. Thousands upon thousands from the five great nations lost their lives due to the ambitions of Madara and Obito Uchiha. So much had happened during this war. Some were good, some were bad, but what really mattered was that everything that had taken place during the Great War had really taken its toll on all those involved. When the infinite Tsukuyomi was cast, everyone thought that everything was finally over, but this time events were about to take a strange turn. The heroes of the Fourth Great Shinobi War, Naruto Uzumaki. His brother Menma Uzumaki and his blood brother, Sasuke Uchiha, had witnessed the death of Madara at the hands of Black Zetsu, who had secretly worked toward the goal of reviving his mother Kagaya Otsutsuki, the mother of all chakra. It was a long and hard fight against a sad and misguided woman who believed that human beings misused her chakra by using its power to wage war against other humans. Naruto and his two brothers tried their best to convince her that there are other people who use it to keep peace in the world like she had always wanted. But Kagaya couldn't bring herself to believe it, which had saddened the three boys. However, despite everything, they managed to defeat her in the end and freed everyone from the infinite Tsukuyomi. The three of them were hailed as the heroes of the Fourth Great War. Naruto and Sasuke didn't feel like heroes as it had cost them so much. The loss of their closest friends Killer Bee and Karen Uzumaki. Naruto's wife-to-be, Menma, however, was a different issue. All he cared about was the fame he would get as a hero. Sure, he felt sadness for the loss of his fellow Leaf Ninja, but to him their sacrifice would benefit the survival and prosperity of Konoha. Along with the fact most of the Jinchuriki were dead, leaving only Naruto and Gaara as the only ones left. So many dead and so many grieving for their loved ones that lost their lives. Thus was the price of war. Everyone had returned to their villages, each of the cages vowing to do everything in their power to ensure that peace would reign and destroy anyone that would threaten it. It had taken this war to unite the nations, and showing them how senseless their personal grudges had been. Konohagakure Tsunade Senju, the Slug Princess of the Leaf and fifth Hokage, was trying to decide who her successor was going to be. There were many candidates for the position, such as Kakashi Hitaki, Kushina Namikaze, the wife of the former Hokage Minato Namikaze, or she could reinstate Minato Namikaze. Minato stepped down as fourth Hokage after the Sound and Sand invasion of the Leaf Village. He felt himself worthless ever since the Kyuubi attack, when the Sandaime took his place and sealed the Kyuubi and sealed it within Naruto. After so many failures he couldn't do anything, so he decided to declare Tsunade as his successor and took on the role of being a Jonin again and a father. So many choices and it's really difficult to choose, said Tsunade as she looked over the folders of all the candidates. Still trying to figure out a good candidate. A voice rang out as Tsunade turned to see her old teammate Jiraiya by the window. She knew the old pervert died when he fought against Pain but was resurrected by him after his defeat. She sighed as she groaned. She was used to his unique way of entering her office, but sometimes it just annoyed her. She couldn't understand why he would choose to use the window rather than the door like a normal person would. But no matter how many times she told the perverted Sannin to use the door, he continues to use the window. Sometimes she wished he stayed dead so she wouldn't have to keep dealing with his perverted ways. I can't decide, Jiraiya, they're all perfect for the position of Rokudame, she yelled as she leaned back into her chair as she rubbed her temples trying to avoid getting a headache. Jiraiya looked at the village through the window. His eyes went to Tsunade. Why not Menma or Kakashi? He replied. Kakashi would be a great choice, replied Tsunade as she looked over his file. Kakashi Hitaki is one of our greatest ninja. He specialized in lightning jutsu. He's a master of over 1,000 jutsus, student of the fourth Hokage, a prodigy among prodigies. Despite his laziness, she laughed. Jiraiya nodded as he knew that Kakashi was a good choice. He's known him since he became Minato's pupil, and from what he found out about the young lad was that his skills could rival even that of his father Tsukumo's abilities. If he's anything like his father, then I have no doubt he'd be a great Hokage. Tsunade nodded her head in agreement as she looked through more of the files as she came to Sasuke's file. Oh, how she despised the Uchiha since his defection to Orochimaru. But it was all thanks to Naruto that she even pardoned him after hearing how Sasuke slain the snake and returned to the village. She couldn't understand why he would just come back after betraying the leaf, until she was told by Sasuke himself that he came back because of Naruto, which confused her greatly. She knew the boys were close, but she didn't think it would be that close after she was told that he married Naruto a few days after the war was over. Jiraiya, she said loudly, getting his attention, what would you say about Sasuke Uchiha being the next Hokage? The Toad Sannin snorted, as if I would choose that traitor to become the Hokage. All he cared about in life was power and the sole purpose of gaining it at any cost in order to become powerful enough to kill Itachi. Sasuke's name made the Toad Sannin's blood boil. He never liked that brat ever since his attempt to kill his student Menma during the retrieval mission. If it wasn't for the fools on the council, he would have gladly tore Sasuke's body apart the moment he arrived back at the leaf with Naruto. I understand your anger, you pervert, believe me I do, but according to his updated file he seemed to be a good choice, at least in the council's opinion. She sighed as she handed him Sasuke's file. As Jiraiya took the file from his teammate's hands, he couldn't help but agree with her. Sasuke's skills in both ninja and political fields were not something to ignore. Jiraiya gazed upon the open file as he started to read. Name: Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki, the Crimson Whirlpool. Age: 16 years old. Gender: male. Hair color: black. Eye color: black. Bloodline: Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Rank: Crow Sannin. Status: hero of the 4th Great Ninja War. Clan: Uchiha Clan and Uzumaki Clan, by marriage to Naruto. Village: Konohagakure. Known elemental affinities: lightning and fire. Jutsus: Chidori, Raiden Rasengan, Grand Fireball Jutsu, Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Weapons: Shuriken, Kunai, and the Uzumaki Katana Benihime gifted to him by Naruto. Special abilities: Tsukuyomi, Kamui, high chakra capacity, ability to copy any technique from jutsu to seals. Summons: Fox Contract and Crow Contract. Other information: killed Orochimaru, destroyed Otogakure and finally killed Itachi. He killed Madara Uchiha along with Obito Uchiha and Kagaya Otsutsuki with the help of Naruto Uchiha ne Uzumaki Namikaze. Jiraiya slammed the folder back onto the desk. I still don't give a crap, Tsunade. I would never vote for Sasuke even if you had 100 women try and convince me, he said in a firm and stubborn voice. He then sat back down on the windowsill when all of a sudden a thought came to his head. What about my prized student Menma? I am telling you, he's a prodigy like his father, there is no doubt about it. He was able to master the Rasengan in 3 months, he's apprentice level in the art of sealing, and to top it off he's mastered a few of my own techniques, he said with tons of praise, not to mention you trained him in the ways of politics, he would be the greatest choice instead of Sasuke, he laughed. The name of Menma warmed her heart, she loved that little Gaki like he was her own little brother. He looked so much like her deceased brother Nawaki. Plus the fact that his dream to be Hokage and his determination to never give up and accomplish it to honor her brother and her lover Dan made her see him more like a son. She then turned towards her teammate. You are right about that, you pervert, that boy of yours truly is a great ninja like his father. She then stood from her chair and headed towards the office door. Let's head to the council chambers, I believe I have chosen my successor. As Jiraiya followed her she looked towards Shizune. Shizune, she commanded. Yes Lady Suan, Shizune replied. I have to gather a council meeting to discuss my choice of the next Rokudan, so can you please put these files away please? She asked as she left with her teammate. Shizune nodded her head as she headed towards the desk to put away the folders. I hope the one she chooses will ensure the survival of our village in the years to come, she thought to herself as she stacked all the files onto the desk when all of a sudden Naruto's file fell off the pile and onto the floor. Ooh damn it all, Shizune growled as she bent down to pick it up. She never knew much about Naruto ever since she first met him. In fact, she never really knew him that much at all, and the folder she was holding held all of the answers to her questions. I am sure Tsunade won't mind me peeking at Naruto's file, she chuckled as she opened the folder. As she was reading she was suddenly completely shocked at what she read. Name: Naruto Uchiha ne Uzumaki Namikaze, the Nindem 6-Path Sage. Age: 16 years old. Gender: male. Hair color: blonde with red streaks. Eye color: blue. Rank: Fox Sannin. Status: Kyuubi Jinchuriki and hero of the 4th Great Ninja War. Bloodline: Rinnegan, Chakra Chains, and Hirishin Clan, Uzumaki Namikaze Clan and Uchiha Clan, by marriage to Sasuke. Village: Konohagakure. Known elemental affinities: wind, water, and fire. Jutsus: Giant Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken, Multi-Rasengan Barrage, Mini-Tailed Beast Bomb, the Kitsune Fox Fire no Jutsu, Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Uzumaki Raging Whirlpool Jutsu. Weapons: Kunai, Shuriken, 6th-Path Sage's Staff. Special abilities: Tailed Beast Cloak, 6th-Path Sage Mode, can contain a tailed beast with chakra chains. Shockingly he's able to give birth thanks to an unknown ability given to him by Kyuubi. Summons: Foxes and Crows. Other information: saved Wave Country from Gato, saved Princess Koyuki and Spring Country from her uncle. He defeated the Shukaku Jinchuriki, saved Moon Country, rescued Shien the Priestess, defeated Madara and Obito with the help of Sasuke, and defeated Kagaya by sealing her way back into the moon. Shizune smiled as she closed the folder and placed it along with the other files back into Tsunade's desk drawer. Naruto, I pray to Kami that you will be our next Hokage. After all, you're the sunshine that shines its rays onto our village and fill us with happiness and joy. After putting away the folders she decided to go out for some dango as she headed out to the dango shop to meet up with Anko. Council chambers. All right everyone, let's get this council meeting started. Tsunade demanded as she burst into the chambers where the shinobi council and the elders were waiting for her. Hiyashi Hyuga, clan head of the Hyuga clan, Shikaku Nara. Head of the Nara clan, Sume Inuzuka, matriarch of the Inuzuka clan. Inoichi Yamanaka, head of the Yamanaka clan, Shoza Akamichi. Clan head of the Akamichi clan, Shibi Aburame, head of the Aburame clan, Minato Namikaze, clan head of the Namikaze clan accompanied by his wife Kushina Namikaze ne Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, clan head of the Uchiha clan, and finally Naruto Uchiha ne Uzumaki, clan head of the Uzumaki clan and the matriarch of the Uchiha clan, and finally the elders Homura Mitokado, Kaharu Udatane, and the old war hawk Danzo Shimaru were there as well along with the civilian council and the fire daimyo. Tsunade took her steps and sat in her seat with Jiraiya closely behind her. Nobody would tell him to leave the council chambers even when he was not a member. He was one of the strongest in the village and was most importantly the strongest Sannin next to Orochimaru. That gave him privileges that other shinobi didn't have. Hello everyone, Tsunade smirked as she looked around the table and gazed at each clan council member. She could see the clan heads shifting their eyes towards her as the daimyo spoke up. Lady Tsunade-sama, have you chosen who you wanted for the position of Rokudame Hokage? He asked with a calm look on his face. Yes, I have, she said in a pleasing tone, but first I would like to ask all of you, who you want to choose to be Hokage. I would normally choose to reinstate Minato since he was the one who helped our Sandaime Hokage defeat the Kyuubi, but he chose to step down since the Sound and Sand invasion, so he's out. I nominate my husband Naruto Uchiha, Sasuke said quickly as Tsunade gave him a stone-like look that was her equivalent to a glare. The others seemed impressed with the nomination as murmurs and whispers went around the council chambers. He's well known, strong, and respected among the 5 great nations. Hiyashi turned towards the Uchiha clan head, who was Naruto-sama's teacher. From what we understand, Naruto wasn't trained by his parents or the Sannin. Kyuubi-sama trained him, Sasuke replied in a calm voice as he laid his hands on the table. The shinobi and the civilian council were shocked that the very demon that destroyed their village 16 years ago had trained their greatest hero. But what shocked them most was the respect Sasuke was giving the demon fox. Oh, Naruto-sama was trained by the Kyuubi, you say? He would be a fine selection for being the 6th Hokage, the daimyo said excitingly. The Nine Tails is a being of destruction and any pupil of his would surely turn against the village when things don't go the way they want to, Danzo said heatingly as everyone turned to him. My sensei Kyuubi is not a being of destruction, Danzo snarled Naruto as the war hawk looked over at him. Kyuubi-sama is a being of pure chakra that was made to protect the very balance of nature. He was driven to hatred thanks to people like you who only view the tailed beasts as weapons of war. Jinchuriki and the tailed beasts are weapons of war as they've always been, Danzo said with a sneer. From the beginning of the shinobi era, the tailed beasts' power and the creation of Jinchuriki had given rise to new power that benefited ninja through the ages. We had the Kyuubi in our village became the strongest out of all the 5. Sasuke's Sharingan started to blaze until Minato spoke up. Daimyo-sama, if I may offer some advice? He asked as he stood from his seat. The fire daimyo turned his head to face Minato. Ooh, and what advice would that be, old friend? Daimyo-sama, I am not sure if you are aware, but Naruto isn't mature enough to take on the responsibility of becoming Hokage. He stated, shocking everyone including Naruto. Naruto has no prior training in the ways of politics and he solely relies on power alone most of the time. But I would like to nominate my son Menma. He has been trained by Kushina and I in the family arts. Jiraiya trained him in senjutsu and summoning. Tsunade trained him in politics, and from what she told us he's quite the political and powerful ninja. He's got the skills necessary to run the village. He then sat back down in his seat, not even looking at the look on his son's face. Naruto was silently fuming. How could my own father say I am not capable of being Hokage, he said to himself as he was gritting his teeth. He suddenly felt Sasuke take his hand into his as he looked over at his lover. Sasuke whispered a few words to Naruto as it calmed his Uzumaki lover down. He then looked at former Hokage, Minato-sama. What you stated about my husband is a load of crap, he yelled as he slammed his fist onto the table. Remember, Kyuubi-sama was the one that trained him. He knows the way humans work. He trained Naruto in politics, jutsu, and the skills necessary to rule if he ever became Hokage, he said in a disrespectful tone towards the former Hokage. Show some respect for your former Hokage, Minato demanded as he was seething with rage at the disrespect the Uchiha was giving him. As if I would respect a man who favors one child over the other, Sasuke sneered. I would have thought that someone like you who always taught his students to never play favorites would suddenly do so with his own sons. And for your remark about Naruto not being mature enough, which is a load of bullshit. Naruto has never acted immature as you so state. In fact, he's been the ideal shinobi that follows orders without delay, keeps his emotions in check, and doesn't let anything keep him from completing the mission he was given. Sume on the other hand couldn't help but agree with Minato. I have to agree with Minato Daimyo-sama. Naruto may be strong but his skills is mostly minor ninjutsu, senjutsu, and his summoning. He won't be the perfect candidate since he lacks the power considering he never uses the Kyuubi's power but only as a last resort if he feels it's necessary and he's never used any of the techniques that Fox had taught him. The only reason is because Kyuubi-sama's jutsu are far too destructive to use on the battlefield. Sume-sama the blonde declared. He considered to lie about his abilities since he didn't want people like Danzo knowing about his powers. How so? The daimyo asked, wanting to know. The Kyuubi's chakra is a powerful and dangerous source, so by extension its jutsus are just as dangerous as its chakra and therefore would cause severe and deadly damage, said Sasuke. I still think we should let Menma lead the village. When I looked at their character references, I noticed that Naruto is still sometimes too brash, while his brother Menma can keep calm. We don't need a Hokage who works with feelings alone, but someone who can stay analytic, something that is near impossible for Naruto, said Shibi Aburame. If we still had war, things may have been different, but right now we need someone who was prepared to lead. Naruto has the necessary strength and the trust of the villagers but he doesn't have the skills to rebuild a village in times of peace, said Choza. Sasuke has the needed intelligence to harvest Konoha to an even greater and glorious state, said Kushina. Currently Konoha still has to face the money crises and the massive shortage of resources. Even though Lady Tsunade worked hard, not all traces of the war vanished. She then looked at Naruto. I am sorry Naruto-chan, but you don't have the knowledge or the needed intelligence to counter these economical problems. You are better off on the battlefield. You too, Kushina-sama, growled Sasuke. You're just like your husband. You believe that Naruto is weak as well. You truly have brought disgrace to the very name and blood of the Uzumaki clan. They must be rolling around in their graves. Kushina growled as her hair split into 9 strands after hearing Sasuke telling her she disgraced the very code of the Uzumaki clan. How dare you say I disgrace my clan? Enough. Sit down. Screamed the daimyo as Kushina sat down next to her husband. Let's get on with it. He then turned to Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, who did you really choose to become the next Hokage? I have done much thought and I have nominated Menma Namikaze as the Rokudame, she declared as her words earned nods from the clan heads minus Sasuke and Naruto Uchiha. Do you all agree? The daimyo asked as the civilian and shinobi council nodded in agreement. Very well, I hereby name Menma Namikaze the Rokudame Hokage. The council cheered for their chosen candidate, everyone except Naruto, who was seething in rage that he lost the chance to become Hokage. Sasuke on the other hand wanted to kill every single person in this room for choosing Menma, a weakling who cared more about fame than his comrades than his own husband Naruto, who many times risked his own life to ensure the survival of the ninja world. Come Naruto, let's go home, said Sasuke as he placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto looked at him as he helped the Uzumaki out of his chair as they headed towards the doors. Before they left, Sasuke turned to face Kushina and Minato. You both truly are the most disgraceful and most disgusting pieces of human flesh to ever walk this earth. I thought you would support Naruto since it was his dream to Hokage since he was a kid, but now I see you care more about political power that Menma will give you than your own Jinchuriki son. I wish you both died by Madara's hand so I wouldn't have to look at your demonic faces. He snarled as he and Naruto left the council room, leaving a shocked council and hurt Minato and Kushina behind. Demon Country. Enchanted Forest. It had been a year since the disaster at council meeting and Naruto was resting in his home. Not giving a damn about what was happening in the village or what happens to it, the only person that mattered to him was at his side, Sasuke's pale and naked body which laid over him, his soft breathes letting him know that he was exhausted. They spent hours upon hours getting reacquainted with one another in intimate ways. Naruto had caressed Sasuke's back while burying his face in the Uchiha's jet black hair. Sasuke left out soft moans as he did this. Naruto had changed a lot after the war, which Sasuke noticed. He was no longer the happy idiot that everyone wanted him to be, but he didn't care. Why should he try if they never gave him the chance? The main reason he was like this was because his little brother Menma became the Rokudame Hokage. He was told that he was deemed too immature by his so-called parents and that he could always become the 7th Hokage. He couldn't believe that after everything he did for Konoha he was denied the position for Hokage. He kept his promise to Sasuke when they were young that if he ever went down a path to seek power that he would come to drag his butt back to the village. He killed Obito and Madara with the help of his husband Sasuke with some new abilities he and Sasuke had gained through hard work. He was the strongest person in the entire village that was on a higher league than everyone else, yet his dream was taken away from him so easily. Sasuke and Naruto got dressed back into their Anbu outfits after having a couple of hours of forced sex. The Uchiha and the Kyuubi were the only people Naruto could trust. He isolated himself only to come out if he was given a mission. This made the others worry, though he didn't know or seem to care anymore. As the two of them finished changing, Sasuke spoke out. Damn Dobi, you still are a beast when we play, Sasuke said with a smirk as he nibbled his lover's ear. Naruto purred. What can I say, Sasuke-chan, he said teasingly as he felt Sasuke nibble his ear. You love it when we have rough sex. Sasuke murmured as he was about to respond when a 9-year-old kid came from behind some small rubble while holding a dagger. His eyes were filled with tears and hate. You hurt mom and dad. Now they won't wake up, so I am going to kill you to avenge them, he roared as he ran towards them with intent to kill. Sasuke and Naruto's eyes stared at the running form of the little boy. The Uchiha understood the boy's pain since he lost his parents and his entire clan to his big brother Itachi. As soon as the boy was close enough, Naruto plunged the blade through his chest, missing his heart. The boy soon coughed up blood as he fell over and hit the ground. He showed great remorse as the boy's body hit the floor and bled out. Sasuke took out Benihime as he quickly stabbed the ground, sending jolts of electricity through the ground, electrocuting the survivors as they screamed in pain and fell over dead. Once they were sure that everyone was dead, they heading back to the village. Konohagakure, Hokage's office. Naruto appeared in the office as he stood before his brother Menma. He walked over to the desk and unsealed the head that was contained in the sealing scroll. Without a word, Naruto turned towards the door and walked out with Sasuke behind him. Hold on, Naruto, you need to give me a briefing on your mission. You should already know that, said Menma as he glared at the back of Naruto's head. We killed the target and the mission was a success, that's all you need to know, Hokage-sama. Sasuke spat the last part with hatred. The two Uchihas walked out, ignoring Menma's calls towards them. Naruto then slammed the door behind them as they walked past a pregnant Hinata and her husband Kiba. The two were flirting with each other when they noticed Sasuke and Naruto walking by. Their smiles turned upside down upon seeing him. Ever since Menma became Hokage, Naruto developed a dark aura around him that continued to darken. Plus they believed that his marriage to Sasuke will only increase his dark aura. Hinata was starting to worry about the blonde as Kiba sensed her concern. After Menma became Hokage, Naruto's aura grew darker and darker with each passing minute, which Hinata greatly feared. So she turned to Kiba, and after a few dates they married, even though she told Naruto she loved him. Talk about rubbing salt in the wound. When they announced their engagement and invited all of their friends and families to the wedding, Naruto and Sasuke didn't even show up at all. Don't worry, Hinata-chan, I am sure there was an issue with his mission. He probably had a boring one, Kiba said as he laughed a little, but his wife didn't. No, Kiba, you're wrong. Naruto's been like this for a year now and he's getting worse. He doesn't smile and the warm feeling he carried is gone, she cried. He's becoming worse than what Sasuke once was. I don't like it all, Kiba-kun. She frowned at what Naruto had become. Kiba didn't like the sad look on Hinata's face. He had never seen her this sad since the day it was announced that Naruto married Sasuke Uchiha, the one who tried to kill him when he tried to bring him back to the village after his defection. I guess I'll have to talk to him as soon as I can. Maybe a guy's night out party next week will get him back to his normal self. Right now I have a mission with my Genin team and a C ranked 1 at that. I'll see you later, Hina-chan. He smiled as he planted a kiss on her lips before setting off. Meanwhile, Menma was staring at the door where Naruto and Sasuke left. He was in deep thought about what had happened to his older brother Naruto. The change started right after he became Hokage, which he knew was his big brother's dream as well as his own. When he was chosen for the position, it was a dream come true. He did at first deny it, saying that Naruto always dreamt of being the next Hokage. But the council and his parents stated that he wasn't mature enough and that he belonged on the battlefield. When they told him about the current state of the village, he gladly took the position. He knew Naruto could always become the 7th Hokage since he knew Naruto would become mature by that time. Tsunade and the council smiled at his plan and agreed to it fully, that is until Naruto started to avoid people and spent time only with Sasuke and started to do countless solo missions outside of the village. They took this as a sign of him not being mature enough to handle or understand what happened. They left him alone to cool down, thinking 6 months would be enough. Sadly, that wasn't the case. The way he carried himself made him become more and more unfit to become Hokage. Menma cursed his brother for acting this way. He really wanted his brother to become Hokage, plus Naruto was the strongest ninja they had next to Sasuke. Konohamaru was killed 8 months after being elected, making him more negative. Since he was so close to Naruto, they believed he needed at least 5 to 7 months to mourn. He was soon brought out of his musing when his mother Kushina came in. Hello mother, what can I do for you? He asked as his mother looked down a bit, not knowing how to really put it. It's Naruto that I need to talk to you about, she said sadly as tears ran down her face. I miss his smile and his goofy personality. He's not the same Naruto that I once loved when he was a child. Menma-chan, her eyes watered a bit as she continued speaking. He's even colder than Sasuke used to be. I can't stand to see him this way. I want the old Naruto back, Menma. I want my Sochi back. Tears poured out of her eyes, making Menma feeling down. Don't worry about him mother, I'll show him the light just as he did for me in the past, Menma stated as he went over to his mother and pulled her into a comforting hug. Just leave everything to me, okay? Kushina nodded her head and left Menma to think of how he was going to accomplish what he promised her, but he needed to give Naruto some time before approaching him. Konohagakure. Main Street. Naruto and Sasuke were returning to the Uchiha Uzumaki clan compound, still cursing their so-called friends. Sasuke, however, was the most upset. He couldn't believe that their friends and Naruto's parents believed that Menma was the better choice of being Hokage. He wanted to choke Minato so badly, but he couldn't risk it since attacking a former Hokage was punishable by law. Naruto noticed his husband's dark and hateful look as he placed a hand on his shoulder. He understood his Raven's anger since he himself was completely angry with his parents and the council. Sasuke-chan, it's okay, let it go, he said softly. I can't let it go, Naruto yelled Sasuke as he faced his husband. You were the greatest choice to be Hokage. You're the most powerful ninja since you've become the second six-path sage, but did they care? No, they didn't. All they see you as a weapon that belongs on the battlefield. As much as Naruto didn't want to admit it, he had to agree with Sasuke. After everything he did for the village, he brought allies from many countries like Wave, Spring, Demon, and Moon Country. He brought Sasuke back to the village when he left to gain power from Orochimaru. He fought and defeated Pain, and finally he along with his husband defeated Madara Uchiha and Kabuto. Even with all of his accomplishments, they still say he wasn't even capable of becoming the next Hokage and that his brother Menma was the better choice. For crying out loud, he was trained by the Nine Tails itself, the most powerful force in the entire world. The fox trained him in everything, even politics that was crucial to being Hokage or even a daimyo. He sighed a little as he thought maybe he should be something other than a ninja. Suddenly an idea came to his head as he turned to look at Sasuke. Sasu-chan, I think I should give up on being a ninja and turn to a more better career, he said softly but firmly. Sasuke spit out his drink that he was drinking as he looked at his foxy husband in shock. Come again. I mean it, Sasuke, what you say is true. No matter how much I want to deny it, they will only see me as a weapon for war, he said sadly as they finally arrived at their compound. But what other career could you possibly want? Asked Sasuke. Naruto gave him a soft smile. Do you remember my cousin from the village hidden in the spirit in Iron Country? The Uchiha thought for a minute before he suddenly remembered. You mean Naomi Hunter, the nanotech scientist? He met Naomi last year when he and Naruto went on a mission that they received from the spirit village. Upon meeting her, he was quickly introduced to a new power source called nanotechnology. It was very confusing, but not for Naruto. He was able to absorb everything Naomi taught them about nanomachines. To Sasuke they were scary but powerful at the very same time. He quickly shook his head as he looked towards his husband. If he wanted to quit being a ninja, then he will be there for him all the way. If that's what you want, Foxy Heim, then I will support you all the way, he smirked. Naruto gave him a loving smile. Thanks Ravenheim, I believe the scientific field will be a great way to start a new life, not to mention I can help people in more ways than a shinobi or medic ninja could possibly do. So basically you'll be a bookworm too, Sasuke teased as he saw the embarrassed look on Naruto's face. Oh come on Naruto, you know I love to tease, he laughed. Before Naruto could say anything, Sasuke captured Naruto's lips in his. The feeling was foreign to Naruto. He had never experienced Sasuke being so rough, and before he knew it he returned the kiss as if something was telling he needed this. Before he knew it he grabbed Sasuke as they went inside their compound and took off their clothes. They began to ravage each other's bodies in a frenzy of lust, passions, and love. Their moans filled the compound but were silenced as they brought their lips together. The sound of flesh on each other made the scene even more lustful for the both of them. They needed this now. Naruto's life changed for the better as the only one in the whole world that mattered to him was his beloved husband. The past few years after his denial of the position of Hokage were perfect, even though others were worried about his attitude. They were afraid that their hero would pick up some Uchiha traits. But it didn't matter to Naruto. Our blonde hero was now resting in the master bedroom of the Uchiha Uzumaki compound. He stayed there often as it was a good way to avoid the citizens of the village and his family, or as he calls them, his ex-family. He awoke to the sweet smell of ramen. The food of the gods as he called it, although Sasuke preferred Pocky. He grunted as he got up from his bed. Reason being was that Naruto had become pregnant a few months ago. He was in his 5th month, but he was used to it, and if there was one thing Naruto wouldn't do, it would be letting something so small keep him down. You guys really know how to give your mother a wake-up call, Naruto smiled as he rubbed his belly softly. He was brought out of his thoughts by a soft knock on the door as Sasuke entered with a tray of delicious ramen and some fresh squeezed orange juice. Naruto sniffed in the sweet smell of the food as the Uchiha walked over and sat down next to him and rubbed his belly. The kid's giving you a little trouble? Sasuke asked teasingly as he saw the blonde hit his arm playfully. Of course my darling Raven, and something tells me they're going to be as strong as their father, smirked Naruto. And smart as their beautiful blonde mother, smiled Sasuke as he started to feed his blonde husband. After a delicious breakfast in bed, Naruto gave his husband a little kiss. He was glad that he now had a new family to take good care of. Plus he was glad that the village didn't even know about his pregnancy thanks to Kurama, who taught him a very powerful genjutsu that makes him look normal. He knew the village prided itself on bloodlines and powerful clans, and if word got out that Naruto was able to breed children, he would become more than just a weapon. He would become a breeder for half Jinchuriki children, and there was no chance in hell he would ever submit to the village he no longer held love for. Sensing his blonde lover's fear, he wrapped his arms around him, pulling him close, hugging him from behind as he rested his head upon the blonde's spiky hair. He developed an ability granted to him by Kyuubi which allowed him to read Naruto's mind and his emotions, and he discovered that Naruto feared for their children's lives once they are born. His Sharingan spun like crazy as he realized that his blonde was right about their fate in the village. Acting quickly, he grabbed his cell phone from his nightstand, which was a gift from Naomi. Dialing the phone quickly, he waited for Naomi to pick up the phone. Land of Iron. The village of Saishingakure, Naomi Hunter's lab. Naomi was in her lab with her little assistant Sunny as they were working on a new cyborg suit for their friend Jack aka Raiden, with Naomi's fingers flying over the keyboard, her clicks like a pianist going over the dialysis of Raiden's body, while Sunny shot him anxious glances while adjusting him, making sure that he was really comfortable. Raiden's face turned to the wall as the oxygen mask was removed. "Sunny, I am not so sure about this," Raiden said softly. "Raiden, your body suffered extreme damage after the end of Sons of the Patriots, so we are designing you a whole new body," Sunny said in an authoritative tone. Raiden sighs and falls silent. He was always inaccessible, but more now than ever before. He was a bit distant, almost like Snake, but after the discovery of his son John, he couldn't run from anything ever again. To a few people Raiden was a machine, battered and broken like a banged-up doll, but to many others he was declared a hero. While continuing to work on Raiden, a loud ring was coming from Naomi's cell phone. Naomi got up from her desk and walked over to her phone as she picked it up. "Hello. This is Naomi Hunter," she answered. "Hey Naomi, it's me, Sasuke, how are you?" "Oh, Sasuke, good to hear from you. How are you and Naruto doing?" she asked. "Not too good, I am afraid." From the tone of the Uchiha's voice, Naomi could tell then and there that there was something wrong. From what she knew about the Uchiha clan was that they never show their emotions except in times of trouble. "Sasuke, what's wrong? From the tone of your voice I can tell something is wrong." "You hit the nail on the head, Naomi. You see, the Fourth Great Ninja War ended a few years ago. I am sure you heard of it?" "Of course I heard about it," she replied strongly. "I was one of the medics that were dispatched to help in the war, along with Raiden, who was the front man after we destroyed the Sons of the Patriots system 5 years ago. But forget about that, tell me what's troubling you." "After the war ended, it was time for Tsunade Senju, your cousin, to step down as Hokage and choose her successor. There was a council meeting to discuss the right candidate for the position of becoming the 6th Hokage. I nominated my husband for the position and a few agreed. Hell, even the daimyo agreed." "That's great," she smiled. "From what I know about Naruto, he would be the perfect candidate. I trust he was chosen right." "No, I am afraid not. He was denied the position because his father Minato Namikaze said that Naruto wasn't mature enough to handle the position because he had no training in the arts of politics or the skills to rule a village." Naomi slammed her fist on the desk, scaring Sunny and causing Raiden to jump. "What do you mean he wasn't mature enough to be the Hokage? He had tons of training in the ways of politics, for Christ's sakes." Raiden taught him a few techniques in the way of the samurai and Rose, and I taught him in the ways of politics and economical situations, yet he was still denied the position. She growled as she walked around the lab trying to calm herself down. "Who was chosen, Sasuke?" she growled. "His little brother Menma Uzumaki Namikaze. That little twerp Menma was declared Hokage." She screamed. "That little jerk cared more about fame than the survival and well-being of others. Naruto and I were wondering if we could come and live in Saishingakure. Naruto wants to be a nanotech scientist like you." Naomi greatly smiled with pride. "Of course, you both are always welcome, and I would love to teach him the art of nanotech science." Raiden slowly turned to Naomi as he reached over to try and take the phone from her. "Naomi, can I have a few words with my student, if that's okay?" he asked softly as Naomi handed him the phone. "Sasuke, it's me, Raiden. Can you put Naruto on?" he asked. "Sure, hold on, Raiden." "Hey there, Raiden-sensei, how are you?" "Hey there, little Maelstrom. I heard you were denied the position of being Hokage. I am so sorry." "It's okay, Raiden. I thought I was finally going to be recognized by everyone, even my parents, but sadly that wasn't the case. Plus, to make matters worse, my own parents think I am better off on the battlefield." "What?" screamed Raiden. "Your parents think you're just a weapon due to your Jinchuriki status." Oh, Raiden wanted to rip Minato and Kushina apart so badly. "I know, I thought I could finally have my family to see me as a hero and a member of the Namikaze family." "Well, how would you like to come and live with me and Rose?" "I bet Rose would love to have another child since she asked me a lot of times," laughed Raiden. "Really? I would love that. Thank you, sensei. Well, be there in a week." "All right, my little Maelstrom, see you then," replied Raiden as he hung up the phone. He then looked over at Naomi and Sunny as he could see different looks on their faces. Sunny had a happy look on her face as she thought she was going to get a new brother, while Naomi was gleaming with pride of getting an apprentice plus a successor to continue her work. The three of them continued their cyborg technology while planning to get ready for the arrival of Naruto and Sasuke. Konohagakure. Uchiha Uzumaki compound. Naruto hung up the phone as he was so excited about living in Saishingakure with his husband, where he and his family would live a better, more peaceful life. Sasuke helped him to his feet due to his pregnancy pain until his blonde lover screamed loud. The blonde hero collapsed onto the bed as he couldn't move and was breathing heavily. Wait, it can't be time, he's only 5 months along, Sasuke thought frantically as he started to panic. Suddenly a chakra cloak was forming around Naruto as it leaned over the side of the bed and started to give form to Kurama. Kurama-sama, said Sasuke as he bowed his head, there will be plenty of time for respect later. Right now we need to prepare Naruto for the birthing, Kurama said softly as he quickly conjured up a bowl of hot water with a towel as he dabbed his Jinchuriki's forehead. Sasuke, coming out of his shock, quickly helped Kurama as he made his husband as comfortable as possible. Kurama, how can my Naruto-chan be giving birth? He's only 5 months along. Kurama sighed as he began to explain to the Uchiha about the pregnancy for special male Jinchuriki. You see, Sasuke, there are special male Jinchurikis that can give birth, but it depends on their biju, like myself and Matabi. Naruto here is one of those special males. Now, unlike a female Jinchuriki that takes 10 months to give birth to a child, a male Jinchuriki gives birth in half the time. Naruto roared as he gripped Sasuke's hand and screamed, "Oh God, get these brats out of me, get them out now." His grip was crushing Sasuke's hand, but the Uchiha dealt with it. Getting in front of Naruto, the Nine Tails spread the blonde's legs. Alright Naruto, here we go, now push. Naruto groaned as he began to push. His heavy breathing was getting more and more heavy as he looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, you dirty little raven, I am going to tear off your cock and shove it down your throat once this is over, you hear me, he yelled. Sasuke's sweat dropped. I guess the rumors of Uzumaki's having a nightmarish temper are definitely true, he thought as he bared with his husband's rants and threats. Okay Naruto, you're doing great, I can see the head, keep going. Kurama smiled as the baby slid out of Naruto and a cry echoed through the bedroom. Naruto and Sasuke looked up to see Kurama holding the first child of the three. It was a boy. He was the spitting image of his father Sasuke. The child whimpered as Kurama handed him to Naruto. The blonde quickly took him into his arms. The baby cried softly as he opened his eyes slowly as his black eyes looked up at his mother. Beautiful, said Naruto softly. Sasuke wiped his tears as he looked at his wife and son. I am a father. I am finally a father. He then quickly saw Naruto pushing again in pain. What, another one? He thought as he saw Kurama aiding the next child coming out of his blonde. He could then hear the sound of another cry as he could see that his second child was a girl. Naruto panted as he looked up to see Kurama holding a beautiful baby girl with lovely radiant red hair. The main trait of the Uzumaki clan, she looked like a carbon copy of himself and he was proud of that. He could see that Sasuke really was aching to hold his daughter until Kurama told him that the mother gets to hold the child first. The blonde could see that Sasuke was mumbling about lucky blondes. To please his husband, he allowed him to hold his firstborn son, the heir to the Uchiha clan. Sasuke gently took his son into his arms. He truly was a sight. A true Uchiha in every sense of the name. The black hair and the black eyes were the main trait of the clan. Plus, to add pride to Sasuke's ego, his son was his carbon copy. What could be better than that? He looked at Naruto asking him if he could name their firstborn son. Getting a nod from the blonde, he thought real hard for a great name until he decided to name the child after his uncle. He'll call him Itachi. Itachi Raiden Uchiha after his two uncles' wonderful and powerful names, said Naruto. Since I have the honor of naming our daughter, the heir to the Uzumaki clan, I shall name her Mito Naomi Uzumaki after my great-great-aunt Mito Uzumaki and my older sister figure Naomi Hunter. After all, our daughter has a proud heritage and she will live up to the Uzumaki name Ukami. Another one. With a loud scream, he contracted once more. This time it was another boy who was a mix of the two of them. He had the Uzumaki red hair with black streaks, but he had Sasuke's eyes. He was a perfect mix of both of his parents. Well, congrats Naruto, you and Sasuke are the parents of triplets. Kurama smiled as he handed Naruto their third and final child. Sasuke and Naruto were proud, very proud, no words could describe it. Kami had blessed them with 3 beautiful children and each one were as beautiful as the next. The naming of the child was difficult for there was really a lot of great names for him, but in the end they decided to have Kurama, their godfather, name the child. You want me to name the last one? Are you sure? Kurama asked shockingly. You're my sensei Kurama, there is no one else I would have name our child. Naruto smiled as Sasuke nodded in agreement. Kurama rubbed the back of his head. Wow, this is all so sudden, but if you're really sure then okay, he said happily as he thought for a minute. I got one. How about Hagoromo Uzumaki Uchiha, named after my father, the 6th path sage, he said proudly. That's a perfect name, Kurama, a worthy name for a beautiful child. Sasuke stated in a proud tone as he looked down upon his 3 beautiful children, they all the whisker marks from their mother which makes them half Jinchurikis, plus with Kurama's help they will be able to wield the chakra of the fox that was passed down to them. His gaze fell upon his tired and exhausted blonde husband as he asked Kurama to help him put the babies in the nursery that they had prepared a few days ago for the children to rest. Nodding with agreement, Kurama took Hagoromo and Mito while Sasuke took Itachi and headed to the next room to the nursery. Naruto was resting in his bed after his birthing of 3 children until there were sounds of banging on his door. He groaned as he ignored the loud knocking on the doors, not making any sound. He even hid his chakra signature as well as his scent. Naruto made it seem as if he was dead, which was another ability he gained from Kurama. He hid his presence very well, not even those who saw him would be able to sense him. The knocking ceased but rushing footsteps were heard. It had sounded like an emergence, not that he cared. Maybe someone more mature will be able to handle whatever mission they have. These were dark thoughts that were flashing through his head. 6 hours later, the sounds of the doors being destroyed awoke Naruto. He looked up to see the combination of angry and sad faces of Inuzuka clan members along with a sad Kushina and a disappointed Minato. Soon went ahead and pulled Naruto off his bed. On instinct he caught her fist aimed for his face. He could see the tears stream down her face. "Where the hell were you, coward? Because of you my baby Kiba is severely injured, you son of a bitch." She swung at him once again, using her free hand only for Sasuke to rush past everyone and blocked her as he counter-attacked, sending the clan head back. Before she could attack again, Menma appeared in his Hokage robes. "Stand down now or else there will be punishments," he said firmly as Sume obeyed, not wanting a hefty fine. Menma then turned towards Naruto. "Where were you, Naruto? Kiba and his team had requested backup. I sent my best men to find you but you were nowhere to be found. You being the fastest ninja here other than Dad could have reached him in time to save him and his team, but we couldn't find you." Because of that, Kiba was severely injured along with his genin team. Upon medical examination after he came back, I found out that there's a chance his ninja career is over. It's not looking good for him right now, said Tsunade. What do you have to say about that now? He took great care of Hinata through missions and she has yet to give birth. Well, do you have anything to say? She was angry if the edge in his voice indicated that. Naruto yawned, angering the angry Inuzuka clan members and the edge in Menma and Suin's voices. Why didn't you send someone more mature for the mission? Like Minato, he's as fast as me, plus he's the yellow flash. Sending me would have been a bad choice. Menma's fists balled in fury when he said that. This was the reason why the council members and his parents were starting to reconsider having Naruto as a Hokage. He was becoming uncaring of his comrades. To add things up, he was now a complete asshole. Minato could also see what he meant, especially since he himself told everyone that his son Naruto wasn't mature enough. He didn't mind his son being the Hokage and would have voted after Menma stepped down for him to be the 7th Hokage. He had the skills which he saw during the 4th Great War. And from what he was told about his son being trained by the Kyuubi itself, who lived long enough to see how humans in the world works, his son did kind of have the political skills to run a village. But now his eldest son changed into something he wouldn't consider Hokage material. He was no longer the cheery boy he had come to love when he was young. He was becoming hateful, even passing the Kyuubi and Madara Uchiha in that category. He turned to see how his youngest son Menma would react as Menma forced himself to calm down. You're still immature as ever, Naruto. At this rate you'll never become Hokage, Menma stated darkly. Naruto snorted, then proceeded to say something that shocked everyone to the core. I am no longer interested in becoming Hokage. I gave up that dream, seeing no point in continuing chasing after something for almost 20 years only to fail. I will not waste another 20 years of my life chasing after something I will never obtain. Besides, I should have realized. Realize what, Naruto? Asked Kushina, who didn't like her son's new dark attitude. Playing at Hokage, that's a fool's game, Naruto responded darkly. The group was shocked at what Naruto had just said, but no one was more shocked than Tsunade. Those were the exact words she told Naruto, Menma, and Jiraiya when they came to ask her to become the 5th Hokage. She had never thought that those exact words would come out of Naruto's mouth. You were close to getting the position, idiot, said Menma as he continued staring at his brother in shock. Sume recoiled in shock. She didn't sense any bluff at all. She turned and walked with her group in shock. First, her son could lose his position as a shinobi and the strongest ninja in the village no longer wishes to be Hokage, meaning Menma would have to be Konoha's pillar of strength. Menma was strong, but he wasn't the strongest. The strongest was Naruto. Plus he was the second six-path sage. Sasuke didn't want the position at all and Sakura didn't want it. The 3 surpassed all of the 3 Sannin. This didn't look great at all, nope, not one bit. Sasuke stared at Menma impassively. Is there anything else you wish to speak about, Hokage-sama? Yes, there is, Menma replied as he faced his brother. Naruto, you are hereby stripped of your Junin position to Genin for failure to show up. He waited for any reaction but received none. Naruto nodded his head, not caring one bit about ranks anymore. Being a Konoha ninja didn't seem so interesting anymore since he decided to become a nanotech scientist like his cousin Naomi. Sasuke presented some forms to the Hokage. To the naked eye it was Naruto and Sasuke's resignation as shinobi. But truthfully they were actually forms to renounce their citizenship in Konoha, allowing them to take their clan inheritances including clan scrolls, money, weapons, jutsus, and seals. It also allowed them to remove their clan names from the Konohagakure clan register, which allows them to breed their clans in another village or country. Hokage-sama, these are Naruto's and my resignation forms, he said, handing him the papers with a genjutsu on it. Menma was shocked to receive such papers as he looked up at the married Uchiha couple. No way, there is no way that I am going to let you resign. You two are our strongest ninja and we can't lose you, alright, he said in angry tone. He wasn't going to let his best ninja retire when the village was still in reconstruction. It's not your call, said Sasuke. These forms were given to us by the Fire Daimyo a few weeks ago when Naruto and I were summoned by him to be his bodyguards. We told him about the situation and he's agreed to have us moved to the fire capital, so by his order you must sign this or he will cut your village's funding. He lied. Minato quickly took the papers from his son as he read the papers and a sad look appeared on his face. It's true, Menma, it's real. These forms are from the daimyo. Menma, taking the papers, read them for himself as he couldn't believe that this was true. He growled as he wanted to punish his brother and Sasuke, but he didn't want to anger the daimyo and damage the village financially. With a loud groan, Menma took out his pen from his pocket and signed it. There you go, Sasuke, he said angrily, shoving the papers into his chest. Naruto was confused at what those papers were but decided to wait till his brother and his parents left. So is there any other matters you want to discuss, Hokage-sama? Menma was furious on the inside but turned away and walked off to inform his friend the bad news. They would be devastated about this. You've changed, Naruto. I am very disappointed, stated Minato as he walked away with his crying wife. Once everyone left the compound, the blonde looked over at Sasuke and glared at him. Mind telling me about the papers you had my brother sign? I would think as your wife I would be entitled to whatever plan you have in that brilliant mind of yours. He growled, not liking to be left out. Sasuke held up his hands in defense. Whoa, easy there, my kitsune, this is our ticket out of our village, he said as he released the genjutsu that was on the papers to reveal a single parchment. He handed the parchment to his husband as the blonde began to read. I, Menma Uzumaki Namikaze Rokudame of Konohagakure, hereby decree the following. I hereby allow Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki to leave the village and relocate to another village to live his life the way he wants to. I hereby allow Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki to leave the village and relocate to another village to live his life the way he wants to. I hereby let Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki remove all his clan's jutsus, money, seals, and weapons upon his removal from the village. I hereby let Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki remove all his clan's jutsus, money, seals, and weapons upon his removal from the village. I hereby disown and remove Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki from the Namikaze clan. I hereby disown and remove Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki from the Namikaze clan. I hereby allow the removal of the Uchiha clan from the Konohagakure clan register and allow them to breed somewhere else. I hereby allow the removal of the Uzumaki clan from the Konohagakure clan register and allow them to breed somewhere else. I hereby decree that Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki will not be declared a missing ninja and will not be hunted down. I hereby decree that Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki will not be declared a missing ninja and will not be hunted down. I hereby grant Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki Sannin rights and free reign to live in another village of their choosing. If I break any of these rules, I will remove myself as Hokage and the Namikaze clan will be stripped of clan status. From the desk of Menma Namikaze Rokudame Hokage of Konohagakure, Ninden Toad Sage Naruto finished reading as he glomped Sasuke to the ground, drowning him in kisses. Oh Sasuke, this is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Man, do I love your devious little mind. He smiled as he was greeted with a kiss from the Uchiha. Get packing, my darling kitsune, we're leaving the village tomorrow night, Sasuke replied as the blonde quickly got off and began to pack his bags, making sure he had everything from their prized possessions to baby stuff for their children. The next day, in no time, the people of Konoha heard about Kiba and his team's injuries. It was also confirmed that he could no longer become a shinobi as his chakra network was screwed up due to the destruction to several of his muscle tendons, which Sakura was unable to heal, and she was one of their best healers. The first thing they asked was why they didn't get Naruto to save Kiba and his team. They were told that no one could find him anywhere. Word of Naruto's uncaring reaction to Kiba's injuries shocked Konoha to the core, but not as much when word of him longer wanting to be Hokage. This led to the Konoha 12 and Temari minus Kiba heading towards the Uchiha Uzumaki compound. They found him leaving the compound wearing a white kimono as he hooked his arm around Sasuke's as they started to walk towards the village square. The 6-month-old pregnant Konoha and Suna Kunoichi's being Sakura Namikaze, wife of Menma, Tenten Hyuga, wife of Neji, Tamari Nara, wife of Shikamaru, Hinata Inuzuka, wife of Kiba, and Ino Akamichi, wife of Choji stepped forward to Naruto. Sakura was the first to speak. Naruto, what the hell is wrong with you? You should have gone on that mission to help Kiba, Sakura screamed in her banshee voice. Naruto and Sasuke glanced at her for a second, then towards the newcomers. Who are you lades, if I may ask, and what are you doing here? Said Naruto in a bored tone. Sakura grew a tick mark as she was ignored by her brother-in-law and was about to retort until Sasuke responded. If you are not going to respond, then you are wasting our time, he growled as the girls backed away, letting the two men pass by them. The villagers noticed Naruto and Sasuke as they waved at the couple. Naruto turned away and kept walking, ignoring them. It wasn't until an Anbu, their former sensei Kakashi, appeared. Hello Mr. and Mr. Uchiha, your presence is required in the Hokage's office, please don't keep him waiting, he said lazily as he vanished in a puff of smoke. Groaning in anger, the two Uchihas had no choice but to head to the Hokage's office. As they arrived at the office, Sasuke opened the door leading to the office to find Kiba, Hinata, and Minato, who became Menma's assistant, in the office. Kiba waved at Naruto but frowned when the blonde showed no interest in what he wanted to say. Naruto turned to Menma, instead not interested at all. Hokage-sama, I am here though I have no obligation to come, so what do you want? Said Naruto coldly. Menma only sat there and said nothing, which furthered in pissing him off. He was going to head to the local bookstore to buy a few books that he was going to read to his newborn children, and he didn't want to waste time here. Is that why you called, to say nothing? Very well then, we're leaving, growled Sasuke as he and Naruto headed towards the door. Kiba called out to Naruto. Hey Naruto, wait up, I want to ask you something. He slowly walked towards a retreating Naruto. Hinata knew Kiba wouldn't be fast enough, so she moved quickly and stopped in front of Naruto and Sasuke, stopping them. Kiba-kun is trying to speak to you, Naruto, so don't be rude, she scowled in irritation. She was met with a fierce glare as his Rinnegan came into sight, making the Hyuga girl flinch. His hate seemed to increase over the years he was away. His aura showed no compassion at all, unlike last time where a hint of warmness was left, allowing his old self to be revived. But now he was in total darkness, an area she'd never expect Naruto to go. To think this was the result of Menma becoming Hokage instead of him. It was childisher to her, it was, plus she blamed Sasuke for nurturing Naruto's hatred. Kiba made his way towards Naruto. What's wrong with you, Naruto? You've changed, and for the worst too. Even your mother Kushina is worried about you. How about you, me, and the gang hang out tomorrow? Seeing as I don't work right now, he asked nicely. Since he was no longer able to become a ninja, he's been working a civilian job as a clerk in his family's vet. He had gotten help from his mother as well when times got too tough for him. He not only worked but also helped Hinata watch over their kids that were born 3 years ago after the Fourth Great War. I would like to decline your offer, as Sasuke here is taking me to a new dango shop, he said, leaning into Sasuke before turning to Hinata as his glare intensified. Now move out of the way, Hinata, or else your children will grow up without a mother. This struck Hinata emotionally, seeing the person she once admired threaten her. Kiba grew angry that Naruto had threatened his wife. Take that back, asshole, or ill. You'll do what, civilian? Snarled Sasuke as his Sharingan spun into action. What could you possibly do to Naruto or me? Start a petition with the other losers to have us tossed out of the village? Ooh, maybe hell, call his doggy mama and have her beat me with a stick, Naruto teased as Kiba grew angrier as he was reminded of his non-ninja status. Hinata, on the other hand, were too shocked to say anything. That's enough, Naruto, said Menma as he stood up from his chair. Leave the office now or you'll be thrown in prison. Naruto glared back at his brother before leaving without saying a word. Sasuke followed behind, but not before turning to face everyone. Threaten my husband again and it'll bring the true meaning of the word hatred upon you, and believe me, no one knows the true meaning of the word than my clan, he said coldly as he left the office. Damn, I never should have approved of Naruto's marriage to Sasuke, Minato thought to himself as he looked at the office door where his eldest stormed out. This is bad, really bad, this marriage is not healthy for Naruto. When the door slammed closed, Kiba looked over to a crying Hinata. His anger rose for the blonde. That asshole is always making Hinata-chan cry. No wonder he chose to be with Sasuke. He thinks Sasuke is more imprudent than any of us. No one would want to join his harem. Menma, you should probably cancel the Clan Restoration Act now. I doubt having the Uzumaki and six-path bloodline will matter since no one will want his children. Menma looked down a bit. Unfortunately, I can't do that, Kiba. The elders have revealed too much about the six-path sage bloodline. The ability to understand any seal, control over all the elements, extremely longevity, plus the power of the Rinnegan and having potent chakra isn't something they're willing to let go. Naruto's Uzumaki bloodline, the chakra chains lies dormant within his body, but he can still pass them on, said Minato. We won't let another bloodline user go without producing at least 5 children, especially when the Mokuton bloodline became extinct since the death of Yamato, plus Tsunade is unable to conceive children. Menma rubbed his eyes in annoyance. The only problem is finding someone who isn't afraid of him or dislikes his new dark personality. There is also the fact that he has a dark aura around him, and I want the child to grow up with both parents. Soon an idea came to Kiba's head. I have an idea, but you probably won't like it. He saw Menma's full attention aimed at him. Why don't we have our nurses collect semen from Naruto and impregnate a few women, since Naruto can't produce a child with another male? I would like to volunteer my wife Hinata. I know it sounds wrong, but I know Hinata well enough to know that she would be happy to have a mini Naruto around with that big goofy grin. I miss the old Naruto. We would like to volunteer as well. They turned to see the rest of Konoha 12, Kakashi, Kurenai, Anko, and the clan heads. Neji spoke. I miss the prankster who freed me from the shackles of fate, and I am sure everyone would agree as well. I also volunteer my wife Kushina Uzumaki, said Minato, shocking everyone. Minato was really offering his wife to be in Naruto's harem, but the Uzumaki clan was never against incest relationships, since most clans do it to keep the blood of their clan pure. Plus we can also rebuild the Uchiha clan as well with this harem. Menma nodded his head as he took out his pen and began to write down all the female names for the Uzumaki and Uchiha clan harem. Uzumaki and Uchiha clan harem. Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. Anko Mitarashi Hinata Inuzuka Tenten Hyuga Kurenai Sarutobi. Sakura Namikaze. Alright, now I will have the nurses collect the semen. This will satisfy the council and make the villagers happy when they see mini Narutos running around. Anbu. He yelled as several Anbu appeared before him in kneeling position. I want you to inform my brother Naruto and his husband Sasuke that by the order of the Hokage and the council they are to head over to the hospital for semen collection. Their semen will be used to ensure that their family clans don't die out. Hi. They answered before heading out. Council chambers, 30 minutes later. The Anbu showed up 30 minutes later with mostly mild injuries, but the damage to their bodies was too horrifying to put into words. Hokage-sama, could the children leave? The Anbu asked as Kurenai took her son out of the Hokage's office, for this wasn't for a child of his age to see. The Genjutsu mistress passed by Sasuke, who was really pissed off. The angry Uchiha passed by Kurenai as he entered the office and slammed the door. What happened with Naruto and Sasuke? Asked Menma, until he and everyone else looked up to see a very angry Uchiha clan head. Hokage-sama, my men are in the hospital, said the Anbu. Did Naruto do this? Asked Minato, not believing what happened. Before the Anbu could continue, he suddenly fell unconscious to a hit in the neck courtesy of Sasuke. No, it was me who sent them there, Sasuke said in an emotionless tone. Everyone could feel the dark aura around him was equal if not superior to Naruto's own. Some other Anbu came and took their comrade to the hospital. What have you done, Uchiha? Asked Menma, feeling really tense towards him. Sasuke walked toward the front of the desk and in a cold tone spoke his reply. I was defending my husband from becoming a breeding machine for you. We did this for you both since you both can't create children with each other, so we had a harem created for you. But we knew you would refuse the harem, so Menma decided to have sperm collected from you too, spoke one of the clan members while thinking how this could benefit the village. But before he could continue, Sasuke slammed his foot on the desk, breaking it in half. Each side was sent to the opposite side of each other and slammed into the wall. The action shocked everyone more because the desk had a seal that prevented it to be broken. It was placed there so Tsunade couldn't break it when she was in a bad mood, and yet the Uchiha just did it without effort. Listen here, this is not a social visit. I came here to warn you. Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki is my husband and the father of our 3 newborn children. Yes, that's right, Naruto was able to give birth thanks to Kyuubi-sama, and I don't like sharing him with anyone except with our children. So if you value your lives, you are to leave us alone, or I am going to kill every one of you. Sasuke finished with such killer intent that everyone was losing their breath, and the fact that Sasuke's face was filled with anger didn't help either. It also shocked them that Naruto had produced 3 children with Sasuke and no one knew. Are we clear? Sasuke said coldly. No one responded until Sasuke grabbed Menma by his collar and pinned him to the wall. I said, are we clear? He screamed as he got a nod from Menma. Dropping Menma to the ground, the enraged Uchiha turned around and started to leave until he saw Sume. In a flash, Sasuke kicked the Inuzuka matriarch in the stomach, which made her bend over in agony. The Uchiha took Sume's head and slammed it into the floor, breaking a portion of it as well as her nose. That is for what you did to Naruto yesterday, you bitch, said Sasuke as he left. Damn it, Naruto, what are you trying to pull? Menma yelled. I will try something, Hokage-sama, but I won't guarantee success. Naruto did beat me and he only grew stronger, and that husband of his seems just as strong. Actually, never mind, he'll end up losing again. The others went silent. That Neji just stated that he would lose. Thinking about clearly, they couldn't help but agree with him. Neji tried thinking of something else, but only one thought came to mind. I wonder how things would have been if he was actually chosen to become Hokage. Maybe he wouldn't have turned out this way. If you think about it, people like Orochimaru, Madara, and Danzo became the way they did because they were denied the position of Hokage. Menma's head snapped towards Neji. He was not denied the position.
Then tell me what it was, Hokage-sama. You were chosen over him for the position when he was clearly stronger than you. He was more willing to run the position than you, and he would have given his life 10 times over for the position. Heck, it even kept him going on insane after I read a file of his. Can you imagine what it feels like to have your dream crumble in front of you?
Of course not, so you can't imagine how he truly felt to be denied the position thanks to your father who opened his big mouth. It was his life's goal and now it isn't. Sakura approached her husband and began to rub his shoulders. So what will we do now, Hokage-sama? Surely you don't want to run as Hokage for too long, but who will replace you when you're done? Udon doesn't want the position anymore, seeing as his idol didn't get the position. He looked up to Naruto as big brother like Konohamaru did. I talked to him and he wishes to be as strong as Naruto. That's another potential Hokage gone. She then looked at Neji and asked if he wanted to become Hokage after Menma steps down. I won't be taking the position, and neither will my wife, seeing as our positions as the clan head of the branch family and the head of the Higurashi weapons shop is very important. We don't have many potential Hokages, said Neji calmly. Menma couldn't say anything as everything his wife said was true. He placed his face into his palms, showing a sign that he was defeated. The others left him to contemplate alone. Uchiha Uzumaki compound Sasuke returned home with some lunch that he picked up from Ichiraku Ramen as he saw Naruto on the couch with Kurama, who was breastfeeding the kids. Kurama was able to change his gender at will to help Naruto with the kids. Naruto looked up to see a happy Sasuke. So how did it go? He asked. I managed to make them leave us alone, and well, I finally got my chance on the wolf bitch that hit you after you just gave birth to our kids. Sasuke replied. Oh, they also now know about the kids, but I put them in their place if they dared to harm our kids or use them for their own selfish gain. Suddenly a knock on the door caught all of them off guard as Kurama disguised herself as a beautiful red-haired woman who could easily pass off as an Uzumaki. Naruto placed Itachi on Kurama's lap as the fox wrapped his tails around them as the blonde answered the door. On the other side he saw Kiba, Hinata, and his parents Kushina and Minato. Kiba had a grin on his face while Hinata had a look of concern for Kiba. Kushina, however, was excited about finally having grandchildren, and Minato was the same way. I heard you birthed 3 beautiful children, 2 sons and a daughter. Where are they at? Kushina asked excitingly. I want to meet my 3 beautiful grandchildren. What do you want? I highly doubt you just came for that, asked the blonde.
Naruto, we need to talk, spoke Hinata. Sorry, I don't have time, I am busy with important work, replied the blonde. You're lying to me, Naruto. I've been around you long enough to know when you're lying to me or not. She glared at him. This person really wasn't the same Naruto she once fell for. Why did Naruto hate them? Kiba started to think there was more than the position of Hokage.
Why, Naruto, we knew being Hokage was your dream, but it's no excuse to be like this, said Kiba. You want to know why? I'll tell you, he shouted, scaring everyone minus Kurama, Sasuke, and the children who were sensing their mother's anger. I hate all you and my backstabbing parents who believed I could never be Hokage. Instead of me, the strongest ninja and the second coming of the six-path sage who was trained under the powerful Kyuubi, Raiden the lightning swordsman, and under Itachi Uchiha when I was young, you chose my weak brother who cared more about fame over me. You're all fucking idiots. Hinata and Kushina didn't like the way he talked about his own brother or the way he said brother. Menma isn't weak and he is more mature than you, Naruto. You're just jealous of him, which you need to confess, by the way. Jealousy does not look good on you. You were mature back then, but now I don't know what to think of you. Kushina had humor in her voice, infuriating Naruto more. I was naive back then, you tomato bitch, as you are now, but what do you care? I am just a weapon whose only place in life is on the battlefield, he sneered. His words and his declaration of being only Konoha's weapon broke her heart, which he began to notice. But then again, you and Minato always took Menma's side instead of mine, like you did during my childhood, even though you claimed to love me.
Hinata remembered that, but Kushina changed into a better person, so the past meant nothing. I see you're still hanging on to the past, Naruto. If you could remember that, then I could see why you're becoming angrier. You can't let go of the past and it's killing you. You hate these people because of the past, Naruto, so let go. You really need to grow up, Naruto. She was getting tired of his childish behavior. Kiba still had said nothing, but he listened on to what the two were saying. Fuck you and this village, roll over and die, he growled as his eyes became slits that matched the Kyuubi's eyes. Makus, said Kushina and Hinata. As soon as those words left their mouths, Naruto's hands found its way around their throats. Kiba and Minato didn't have time to react as their wives were lifted by their necks. Naruto lifted them to eye level and glared at them with every ounce of hatred. Kushina's eyes widened in fear upon seeing those eyes, as did Hinata. Images of the smiling blonde boy with dreams to be Hokage flashed by, but were soon replaced by a dark image of Naruto. You say I hang on to the past. You have no right to say that after everything you've done to me.
None of you had to live the life of a Jinchuriki, to live a childhood of nothing but hatred and abuse. To feel like no one, not even your own family, loves you. I had to endure that every day from my own backstabbing parents. A father who once told his students to never play favorites. He growled as Minato lowered his head in shame, or a mother who said an Uzumaki never puts anything above their family. Kushina cried tears, but Naruto didn't pay attention. The next time you want to criticize me, then come back after you've lived the childhood I've had. Naruto then tossed them backwards as they braced for impact. Minato and Kiba ran towards their wives to check for injuries but found none. They helped them up as Naruto shut the door again. Hinata, you okay? Kiba asked, concerned for her safety. Kushi-chan, you alright? Minato asked worryingly. Why yes Kiba-kun, I'll be fine. Jay, just let me take the babies off your hands for a while. Why you and the guys will need to talk to. And Naruto, seeing her stuttered like this meant Naruto had just shattered the confidence she had gained over the years from him. Kushina was the same way. All the happiness and confidence that came from her son Naruto was now gone by the same person she got it from. She looked up at Minato. I'll be fine Minato-kun, IJ just need some tea time alone. The now broken-hearted Uzumaki stood up and was about to leave when Naruto opened the door once again. Oh, I forgot to give you this, he said coldly as he tossed a scroll to Kushina and slammed the door shut again. Catching the scroll, Kushina wondered what her son wanted to give her. Without a second thought, she unraveled the scroll and began to read until she cried like never before as she dropped the scroll in front of her. Minato, who wanted to know what was in the scroll that made his wife cry, picked it up and gasped in horror at what he read. We, Naruto and Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki clan, heads of the Uzumaki clan and the Uchiha clan, hereby decree the following. I, Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki, disown Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze from the Uzumaki clan and strip her of her Uzumaki name. I, Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki, no longer welcome Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze as a fellow Uchiha clan member. I, Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki, disown Menma Uzumaki Namikaze from the Uzumaki clan and strip him of his Uzumaki name. I, Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki, no longer welcomes Menma Uzumaki Namikaze as a fellow Uchiha clan member. I, Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki, disown Minato Namikaze from the Uzumaki clan and no longer welcomes him as a fellow Uzumaki. I, Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki, no longer welcomes Minato Namikaze as a fellow Uchiha clan member. I, Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki, forbid Kushina, Minato, and Menma from interacting with their grandchildren, niece and nephews unless our children want to meet them. I, Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki, forbid Kushina, Minato, and Menma from interacting with their grandchildren, niece and nephews unless our children want to meet them. From Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki clan, head of the Uzumaki clan. Matriarch of the Uchiha clan, Nindem Six-Path Sage. Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi Shoden, Fox Sage, Fox and Crow Summoner. Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki clan, head of the Uchiha clan. Matriarch of the Uzumaki clan, Nindem Madara Uchiha. Shoden, Crow Sage, Fox and Crow Summoner. Minato couldn't believe that Naruto would disown his own family from the Uzumaki and the Uchiha clan, all because he was denied the Hokage position. But he also knew that he was the cause of the whole thing, so this must have been his son's way of punishing them. Kushina, on the other hand, couldn't believe she was removed from the Uzumaki clan and by extension the Uchiha clan. But the worst and most hurtful part was that she was denied any interaction with her grandchildren. Her dreams of having Naruto back into her life was falling apart for her. First she lost her eldest son and now she's lost her clan legacy and clan name and her grandkids. With a loud cry she ran off with Minato, Kiba, and Hinata chasing after the heartbroken Namikaze matriarch. Meanwhile, Naruto turned around towards Kurama and his family with a darker aura surrounding him. It wouldn't have surprised anyone if a rain cloud formed over him. Naruto-chan, you okay? Asked Sasuke, taking the blonde's hand in his while made the blonde smile a little. Yeah, I am fine, Sasu-chan, Naruto replied with a warm smile. The following night, Naruto and his family were outside of the main gate when they heard a loud motor sound coming from the sky as the wind suddenly picked up and the dust from the dirt from the ground. Shielding themselves from the dust and the wind, they looked up to see a large army chopper AK-60 Kasaka, and it was huge. Upon landing, they could see on the side of it was the symbol of Saishinkagure, which was angel wings. As the dust cleared, a Mon's head popped out of the window as he spoke in a friendly tone. Greets Lord and Lady Uchiha Uzumaki, Lord Kurama, and newborn Lords and Lady Uchiha Uzumaki. My name is Hal Emmerich and I am here to escort you to Saishingakure. Greetings, Mr. Emmerich, said Sasuke as he shook the Mon's hand. It's nice to meet you, smiled Naruto as he shook Hal's hand as well. Same here, but time is running short and we should probably get going, Hal said softly as the Uchiha Uzumaki family boarded the chopper. Once buckled in, Hal put in the coordinates on his computer as the chopper slowly began to lift off the ground. Naruto and Sasuke were amazed. They've never been in a chopper before and they were already starting to like it. Finally they were airborne as the chopper flew high above the trees and towards the village of Saishingekure, their new home. It was a couple days after Naruto and Sasuke left the Leaf Village as everyone was off doing their own thing. However, the villagers and ninja were still concerned about Naruto and Sasuke and the well-being of their 3 children that they've never known about. The news about Naruto's birthing ability spread like wildfire around the village, and many believed that Naruto's birthing ability was a bloodline of some kind, while others thought it was a side effect of being a Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. The Rokudame Menma was the most concerned. He was sitting in his office finishing the huge amount of paperwork. The thought of Naruto was soaring through his mind like a wild storm. He couldn't believe that his brother would keep such a powerful bloodline and ability from him. They were brothers, for crying out loud. They shouldn't have any secrets between them. I can't believe Naruto never told me about his ability to reproduce. Was he ashamed of himself? Menma thought as he laid back into his chair. No, that can't be it. There must be another reason he would keep not only this reproduction ability but his 6-path bloodline a secret. Damn you, Naruto, I am your brother, we should keep secrets from each other. His thoughts were interrupted when a knock on the door was heard. Looking up, he saw his friends Neji and Tenten Hyuga and their son Hizashi. Kiba and Hinata Inuzuka with their twins Minato and Hitomi. Shikamaru and Tamari Nara and their son Sasori Nara. Rock Lee and his wife Crystal Lee and their daughter, Gaia Lee. And finally his wife Sakura and their twins Jiraiya and Suki Namikaze, named after his godfather Jiraiya and Sakura's mother. They all had children 3 weeks after Naruto and Sasuke's children were born. They've all changed ever since the day his brother and Sasuke had vanished after the Disaster Council meeting a few days ago. Flashback: Naruto and Sasuke were called to the Hokage's office for a council meeting as the two of them headed inside. Once entering, Naruto couldn't help but feel a cold feeling going through his stomach. Itachi and Mito were squirming in his arms as they didn't like the strange feeling that their mother was feeling. Naruto rocked them gently in his arms as Hagoromo, being the brave one, somehow felt that something unpleasant was going to happen. It was a trait that was known to the Kyuubi and the Uchiha that allowed them to pick up on certain social cues that alerts them that something bad was going to happen. Sasuke looked at each and every councilman and women. Each of them has a look of pride and happiness. Something was wrong and he didn't like it one bit, and neither did Naruto. The blonde tightened his grip on Mito, and Itachi and Sasuke saw the reason why. Minato, his former father-in-law, had the biggest smile that he could ever display on his face. Damn, did they hate that look, as it reminded them of the man who made Naruto's childhood a tormenting nightmare. The Uchiha growled, not liking this one bit. This fucking better be good. I have better things to do than waste my time here, Naruto yelled, annoyed by their smiles. Naruto-kun, watch your mouth, Tsume screamed at him for the disrespect. Don't tell me how to fucking speak, you dog bitch. So ill. Ask again. What do you old farts want with us? He asked once again. That's enough, Naruto. Uchiha Uzumaki Namikaze. You will show this council respect, Kaharu said, raising her voice. Menma and the Konoha 12's eyes almost fell out of their heads the moment she said the name Namikaze. They remembered through their senseis on what that name stood for. They looked at Naruto and noticed that his face was becoming more and more intensely angry. Listen here, you old bat, do not call me by that repulsive name, Naruto said to the elderly woman in a calm manner, although his face showed his anger. Why are you making a big deal of this, Naruto? The Namikaze is an honorable clan, Minato said to Naruto, trying to reason with him. These old crones, especially that bastard right there. Once this is over, I am going to unleash the full anger of the Uchiha on all of their sorry asses. Sasuke thought to himself. Listen here, all of you. The Namikaze clan is nothing more than a bunch of sniveling cowards. Who do nothing more than boast about how Thyre the greatest clan. They even passed the Hyuga clan in that Catagory. How dare you talk about Minato's clan like that? Jiraiya shouted out, hearing enough. Enough. We didn't summon you here for this. We summoned you here for an important reason, Hiyashi explained to the raging Uchiha couple. Then it better be good. We're supposed to bring our children to meet their Aunt Ayame and Uncle Tuchi Ichiraku, and your little gathering is messing us over, Naruto said calmly. Very well, we summoned you here today to congratulate you on the birth of your 3 children. We heard you had 2 sons and 1 daughter, said Menma. May we have the honor of knowing their names, if we may ask? Very well, smirked Naruto. Our eldest son is Itachi Raiden Uchiha Uzumaki, named after his uncle Itachi, and my Kenjutsu sensei Raiden of the Lightning Blade. The council was shocked out of their minds that Naruto, their greatest hero, was trained by the legendary Kenjutsu master Raiden of the Lightning Blade. The only man that defeated the 7 swordsmen of the mist in an all-out fight. Rumor was that the man was secretly an Uzumaki due to them being master Kenjutsu users. While others thought that he was a descendant or family member of the Demon of the Mist, Zabuza Momochi. Kushina, on the other hand, was shocked that her former son was apprenticed under the legendary swordsman. That would have to explain his skills in Kenjutsu. Tears stained her face as she discovered more about Naruto that she never even knew about. She quickly fixed herself up and continued to listen to her former son reveal more about her grandchildren. Itachi is a carbon copy of his father Sasuke in every sense of the word. He's going to lead the Uchiha clan in the future and bring it back to its former glory, Naruto said proudly as Sasuke raised his son for everyone to see, as they could see the strong resemblance to him and Sasuke. Sasuke sat down as Itachi was getting a little squirmish as he whimpered a little. Knowing what to do, Sasuke took a baby bottle out of the baby bag and began to feed him. Easy there little guy, don't eat too fast, you don't want to be a little piggy like your mother always, as he playfully teased as Naruto puffed his cheeks embarrassed. Hey, I am not a piggy, the blonde groaned as Sasuke smirked back at him. Anyway, our second born is our daughter Mito Naomi Uzumaki Uchiha, the heiress to the Uzumaki clan. The council, including Kushina and Tsunade, could see the beautiful red-haired baby. She was the most beautiful baby that they've ever seen. They could see the red hair, which was the main trait of the Uzumaki, but unlike them, her hair was far more radiant and lighter. It was like a beautiful blood-red velvet color. Mito's eyes were a beautiful blue that shined like a crystal blue lake. She was a complete perfect female copy of Naruto since she inherited mostly the Uzumaki genes. I named her after my great-great-aunt Lady Mito Senju Uzumaki, and like Itachi, she will be the pride of the Uzumaki clan, he said as he created a clone and handed Mito to him, as the clone tended to feeding her as well. Gazing upon the last of his children, who was a mix of both of them, the blonde then tickled the baby's nose as the child woke up giggling and grabbed his finger and suckled on it. Finally, our youngest son Hagoromo Uchiha Uzumaki, named after the six-path sage, and he's the Senju clan heir. Tsunade rose from her seat as she slammed her fist down on the table and screamed, "How dare you claim your brat as the Senju clan heir? I am the last Senju," she growled as she wanted to beat the brat for claiming the Senju clan name. Actually, he can claim it, Sasuke smirked at the mad Senju. Explain yourself, Uchiha, said Shibi Aburame. Gladly, Lord Aburame, he said, putting away the baby's bottle as Itachi fell asleep. It's simple, Tsunade is not the last Senju, there's another one still alive. He smirked, getting a shock from the council and Tsunade. You lie, you filthy Uchiha, snarled Tsunade. Calm yourself, Lady Tsunade, let's hear what the Uchiha has to say, said Danzo as he too wanted to hear about this missing Senju. I am telling the truth, and he doesn't live in this village, he explained. He currently resides in the village hidden in the spirit in Iron Country. Who is he? Kaharu asked, wanting to know. He's my sensei Raiden Senju Kagaya, the lightning blade swordsman, Naruto smirked. His father was a Senju and his mother was a member of the now extinct Kagaya clan. His son John was born with lots of chakra, but he didn't want his son to become a ninja, so he transferred the Senju clan heir status to me, and I've passed it on to my youngest child. Tsunade was quiet. All of her life she thought that she lost all of her family after losing her lover Dan Kato and her little brother Nawaki Senju, but now she learned that a member of her clan was alive but living in another shinobi village. The council itself was more shocked that the Senju clan actually was still alive, and then voices were raised to demand the return of the Senju clan to the Leaf Village. Silence, screamed Menma as he was getting a migraine. Hokage-sama, said Danzo, we can't have the Senju clan in the hands of another village that we know so little about. I ask that we send word to Sai Shingekure and ask them to turn Raiden Senju over to the Leaf Village to rebuild the Senju clan here. We can't let another village have the Mokuton, as it's a Konoha bloodline. The civilian council and Tsunade agreed with them until Naruto spoke up. Hold on there, you old fossils. My sensei Raiden transferred the title of Lord Senju over to me and the title of Lord Kagaya to Sasuke, since Sasuke's grandmother was a Kagaya on Mikoto-sama's side of the family. So I am the real clan head of the Senju clan, and Sasuke-chan is the Kagaya clan head. Tsunade stood up quickly as she roared. I am not handing over the Senju clan to an immature brat like you. She would rather die than hand the fate of the Senju clan to Naruto or the Uchiha. Originally she was going to transfer the title of Lord Senju over to Menma before she died, and she was going to make sure that happened. You don't have a choice, you old hag. The family tree of the Senju has Raiden as the clan head since his father was your father's elder brother. The blonde smirked as the Sannin sat down in her chair. Okay, enough of this, shouted Danzo. We're here to discuss your family's future here as lords of the Uchiha and Uzumaki clan plus the Kagaya and Senju clans that were transferred to you both. You will be placed in the Clan Restoration Act to bring back your clans at all costs, plus your children will be placed under it once they reach the age of 16. With the powers of the Sixth Path and the other bloodlines from Naruto and Sasuke will give me tons of new recruits for my root program, Danzo thought with an evil grin. Soon Konoha will be mine, and then I'll bring the entire elemental nations under my control. You how dare you demand that of us and our children, screamed Sasuke as he handed Itachi to the Naruto clone and barged over and then grabbed Danzo by his neck with his Sharingan blazing. If you think I am going to let you put us or any of our kids with some random whores, I will have the pleasure of feeding you to Kurama-sama. Sasuke, stand down now, Menma demanded. Screw you, you little twerp. I will say this once and only once, no one will demand my family of anything, Sasuke said in a dark demonic voice. Everyone backed away in fear of the Uchiha. The council got behind the Hokage ready to fight. Apparently they were never told that Naruto shared Kurama's chakra with Sasuke, making him a quarter Jinchuriki. My god, his eyes, they've changed from the Sharingan to slits. He must have been tainted by the Kyuubi's chakra, Kushina said, coming to a conclusion that this boy who married her former son may no longer be human. We will rebuild our clans, but in our own time. We don't need the backing of those bitches that call themselves Kunoichi, Sasuke growled out. Menma took the moment to charge at the demonic Uchiha as he now saw him as with one of his father's tri-pronged kunai. The Uchiha has been possessed by the Kyuubi, we must kill him, he screamed. Naruto handed Hagoromo to the clone as he jumped in front of Sasuke. Thanks to his six-path bloodline, he could use all three of the eye bloodlines, forming a single hand sign. He said the one word no one was expecting him to say. Byakugan, Naruto shouted. Veins appeared on Naruto's temple as his bright blue eyes turned a pale blue. Everyone's jaw dropped in astonishment that the boy wielded the Byakugan, said to belong only to the Hyuga and one of the three legendary dojutsus in existence. The council, mostly the civilian council, believed he stole the eyes from a dead Hyuga. Thanks to my six-path bloodline, I can use any of the three-eye dojutsus. Now prepare, little brother, to taste my Juken. Gentle fist. Naruto stated, settling into the Juken stance. Once Menma was in Naruto's range, the blonde settled in the Hake Hyaku Nijihachi Sho. 8 trigrams 128 palms. 2 palms. Menma received 2 strikes to the shoulder. 4 palms. He received 2 more strikes to the chest. 8 palms. He received another 4 strikes to his gut. 16 palms. He received 8 more strikes to his on his left arm and leg. 32 palms. The redhead received 16 more strikes on his right arm and leg. 64 palms. Naruto struck Menma 32 more times with both his hands. Hake Hyaku Nijihachi Sho. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Naruto screamed using his Junin speed as he stabbed Menma ferociously, not giving him a chance to avoid the hits. Next person who attacks my husband will face the Kagaya version of the Hake Hyaku Nijihachi Sho. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Naruto snarled as his Byakugan vanished. Hiyashi couldn't believe what he witnessed. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki had the power and ability to use their clan's dojutsu. The Byakugan, he didn't know if he should be proud or frightened, but one thing he knew, he misjudged Naruto. He began to see the boy was walking down a path with no return. But hell be damned if he let the boy's children fall onto the same path, considering that one of Naruto's children might inherit the Byakugan. With a groan he undid the damage done by the Juken as he unlocked Menma's chakra points. The Hokage gasped in deep breaths as he sat up. He felt like he was hit by the Kyuubi mixed with the power of a Hyuga. He glared up at Naruto as he tried to stand up. I should have you thrown in prison for attacking me, but since it was in self-defense and you're under the protection of the fire daimyo, I can't do anything. Perhaps this was a mistake bringing Sasuke and Naruto here to discuss the future of the children of the future Uzumaki, Uchiha, and now Kagaya, Senju, and possibly a new Hyuga clan. Now he sees that Naruto truly hates him and his parents more than ever, even going so far to disown them from the Uzumaki and Uchiha clans. He looks at Naruto, and instead of seeing the old Naruto he looked up to, he saw a ghost of his past that sent chills down his back. He shook his head as he kept telling himself no matter what he won't let his brother fall down the same path that Orochimaru and Danzo went down. But for now Naruto needed to open his eyes and escape his past while he was still ahead. Plus he had to think about what was best for his children and their life and future in the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto and Sasuke collected their 3 kids as the blonde turned to the council. Before Sasuke and I leave, I have some business to take care of, he said, glaring at Kushina. As the Uzumaki clan head, I hereby annul the marriage between Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. Since he was the leader of the Uzumaki, he had the right to annul her marriage to the former Yondaime. Kushina gasped as she quickly begged on her hands and knees to reconsider his decree. Please Naruto-kun, please, I beg you, please don't make me leave Minato, please. He and Menma are all I have left, please. She cried as she groveled on the floor in front of him. Naruto groaned as he gazed upon his former mother. He always had a weakness for crying women. He looked over to Sasuke for help as the Uchiha walked forward. Kushina, your marriage will be annulled, but you can still live with Minato as a friend and nothing more. That way you can still live with the man you fell in love with, he said before taking out a scroll which was Kushina and Minato's marriage certificate and burned it in his hands, erasing all proof that they were even married. Kushina knew she couldn't do anything to change her former son's mind, but the least she could do was agree to the life that she was giving. She may no longer be married to Minato, but they could live together as boyfriend and girlfriend. I agree to your terms, Lord Uzumaki Senju and Lord Uchiha Kagaya, she said in defeat. Good girl, said Naruto as he and Sasuke left the council chambers with their children. End flashback. After that disaster, the rest of the council meeting was in an uproar. Their greatest ninja held the most powerful forces ever to be given to shinobi, plus they were clan heads of 4 clans. The Uzumaki clan of Whirlpool, and since Naruto was the clan head, he owned the entire country of Whirlpool. The Senju clan and Uchiha clan, who are famous for the Sharingan and Mokuton and masters in elemental jutsu, not to mention they owned the Leaf Village. And finally the now extinct Kagaya clan, who possessed the Dead Bone Pulse bloodline. They were too powerful, and to the council that meant they needed to be controlled, so for the good of their future ninja it was agreed that the children were to be taken from the parents, and the rest of Naruto's former friends minus Neji, who still kept in contact with Naruto ever since he removed the cage bird seal from him, and the side branch of the Hyuga didn't like the idea since they didn't want that happening to any of their children, but they had to think what was best for the children. A few hours later the Konoha 12 went to the Uchiha Uzumaki compound. They really needed to talk to him, well minus Neji, who wanted to warn Naruto about the fate of the children. Neji and the side branch of the Hyuga clan were all for Naruto being the Hokage since they believed Menma wasn't the right choice. When they finally reached the compound in the Uchiha district, they discovered that the entire complex was empty. Everything was gone except for a letter. Neji took the letter as he began to read it. Dear Konoha, if you have found this letter, then that means we are no longer in the village. We won't live in a village that only sees our children and ourselves as weapons to use for your own gain. We have packed everything and are headed towards our new home, the village hidden in the spirit, also known as Saishingakure. We have talked with the Saishinkage Meryl Silverberg and she's agreed to let us transfer our clans to their village where we will be living. To Neji Hyuga and the side branch of the Hyuga clan, we thank you for sticking up for us during the Hokage election. We could never thank you enough, so as a big thank you we have left an account of 70 million ryo and the entire Uchiha Uzumaki clan district to you. We know the main branch have treated you like trash, and we know what's it like to be treated like a slave. I would know, Neji. I've lived my whole life as a Jinchuriki, and I thank you, the side branch of the Hyuga and the Uchiha clan, for sticking by me. To my former family, Minato Namikaze, Kushina Namikaze, and Menma Namikaze, I hope to never see any of you again. You 3 are the main cause of the suffering I endured as a child, and I will be damned to hell if I let you meddle in my family's lives. If you know what's good for you, stay out of my life. Yours sincerely, Naruto and Sasuke, Uchiha Uzumaki Kagaya Senju Hyuga. Everyone read the letter after Neji showed it to them. When Menma was given the letter, Naruto and Sasuke was going to be placed into the bingo book until he read the paper that was attached to the letter. Menma gasped in horror at the paper that had his signature and the Hokage's stamp. He didn't remember signing anything like this until he remembered the papers that Sasuke had him sign. Son of a bitch, those papers I signed, they were under a genjutsu, damn it, why didn't I see it? Menma groaned as he slammed his head on his desk. He fell for Naruto and Sasuke's final prank, hook, line and sinker. Saishingakure. The village hidden in the spirit. The chopper soon came into sight of the village hidden in the spirit, and from what they saw, it was a sight to behold. The gates made of mechanical material was placed in front of the village. In the center there was a giant crystal called an etherite, spinning and levitating above its pedestal. The crystal stands in front of a building that, in the morning, was a building where families bought food and items and children run around and play. But at night, it was a romantic spot for lovers due to the romantic presence the building caused. On the ground were quick walkways where villages and anyone who visited could stand still and let the floor take them to their destination. There were beautiful skyscrapers and platforms that helped with transportation and hovercrafted vehicles that were fueled with nanomites. It was heaven in a technical city. Naruto and Sasuke were amazed at the amazement of the city. A mix of technology and chakra, it was clearly a great mixture of 2 worlds. They were going to enjoy living here. Whoa, this is so amazing. I have never seen a village quite like this. Naruto smiled as he was in awe of the village. You're telling me this is going to be a great new life for us, Sasuke said as the kids were fast asleep. Hal Emmerich, who was flying the K-60 Kasaka, put on his headpiece as he typed in codes on his computer. This is the K-60 Kasaka pilot Hal Emmerich. I have Lord Uzumaki and Lord Uchiha here. We're heading for the heliport, requesting permission to land, he said into the chopper's computer. Pilot Hal Emmerich of K-60 Kasaka, this is Cadet Sunny. You are cleared for landing. Set her down, said Sunny over the comm. Hal began the landing cycle, lowering the large landing gears, and opening the boarding ramp. The Kasaka was a chopper that was modified and painted with the characteristic gold markings of the village navy. Once they landed, Sunny, Raiden, his wife Rose and son John, and Naomi Hunter left the bridge to greet the new passengers. Naruto. Sasuke. Naomi said as she rushed over and embraced them tightly as she looked down at the 3 baby carriages. Ooh, these must be the children. Ooh, they're so cute. Yes, they are, said Rosemary as she greeted them. They are so cute. What are their names? The raven-haired child is our eldest, Itachi Raiden Uchiha Uzumaki. Sasuke smiled. Wow, he looks like you, said Raiden as he knelt down, plus I am honored that you named him after me. Naruto smiled. Just don't get an overinflated ego like my husband did when we were young. He looked at Sasuke, who looked back at him with a smirk. Which you beat out of me in the Valley of the End, Sasuke laughed. Naruto laughed as he introduced the rest of his children. This beautiful red-haired beauty is my daughter Mito Naomi Uzumaki Uchiha, and this lovely little boy who is a mix of both Sasuke and I is Hagoromo Uchiha Uzumaki. John reached over and poked one of the baby's cheeks as Mito grabbed his finger and suckled on it, which made the mothers so happy that they took a few photos. John was a little camera shy, but he would always make sure that he was seen as a big boy in public, and he would prove it by protecting his niece and nephews. As they headed past the giant mechanical gates, 4 Anbu's commanders walked over. Sasuke could see the foxhound symbol on their chest plates. In Saishingekure, Foxhound was the second in command in military affairs next to the Sainshinkage. The Anbu bowed their heads in respect to the Uzumaki Uchiha family. Hello Lord and Lady Uzumaki Uchiha, I am Commander Natasha Uzumaki, and this is my brother Jack Uzumaki, Natasha said with a smile, gesturing to Jack, who bowed his head in respect. I didn't know that there were other Uzumakis here. I thought my ex-mother and brother and I were the only ones after the death of Karen, he thought to himself. Lord Uzumaki-sama, are you alright? Natasha asked. Huh? Naruto said, breaking out of his train of thought. Oh yes, I am fine. I was just shocked to hear that there were other Uzumakis here. Jack laughed a little. Ha ha ha. Well, it's thanks to Saishingekure. You see, they found many of us after the Second Great War. They provided us with a new home where our clan has flourished and thrived for many years, he said in a proud tone. Well then, I am sure they would be glad to meet Naruto and myself, said Sasuke kindly. Of course, especially after what we've heard about Kushina and her treatment of him, which is unforgivable and very unbecoming of an Uzumaki, stated Jack firmly. Ain't that the truth, groaned Naruto. So can we meet the clan after we meet with your Sainshinkage? He asked. Of course, Natasha replied, nodding to them before introducing them to the Anbu that would escort them. These cyborgs will take you to her office. Naruto and Sasuke could they were actual cyborg ninja even though they were completely human. The cyborgs quickly knelt down. Greetings Naruto and Sasuke, we will be your escorts. At ease, said Sasuke. May we have your names? The cyborg on the left stepped forward. He was equipped with the same cyborg suit Raiden himself once wore when he fought against a corrupt senator. It was the greatest of cyborg technology and the greatest achievement of Saishingekure. Hi Lord Sasuke-sama, my name is Lieutenant Ashura Snake Silverberg. I am the leader of the military of this village. My mother is the Saishinkage Meryl Silverberg Uzumaki and my father is the infamous Solid Snake. The Uchiha family could see that Ashura was the spitting image of his mother, except he had Snake's black hair and eye color. The cyborg suit had an almost ruby red cover-plated armor. His helmet was shaped like Raiden's with black streaks on it as if some sort of blade sliced at it. His entire body was reconstructed to be the next coming of Cyborg Raiden. The second commander cyborg was a female. She had bright blonde hair that went down to her waist, and eyes as blue as the ocean. Her cyborg body was almost all a light silver with some black or gold areas. Also her voice was a little lighter and warmer than her compane's voice tone. Greetings, my name is Alita Namikaze, she said in a happy tone. Namikaze? Naruto and Sasuke shouted. Alita laughed. Easy there you two, I am the niece of Minato Namikaze. My father was Yahiko Namikaze and my mother was none other than Konan of Amikagore. She noticed Naruto's confused but dark look. She heard rumors of the unforgiving things her uncle did to her cousin, but she wanted to prove that not all Namikazes were bad. You're my cousin? Naruto asked. I thought Minato was an only child, he never mentioned any siblings. Alita turned away from him as she shivered a little. You mean my uncle never mentioned me or my father? But that can't be right. Minato and my father were as close as brothers could be. She cried until she felt a pair of arms wrapped around her as she looked to see her cousin. So you're a victim as much as me then, said Naruto sadly as he hugged her tighter. I can't believe that Minato never mentioned his older brother, she said sadly, sniffing a little as she cried into her cousin's chest. Rosemary quickly turned to Sasuke. Sasuke-san, a word if you please. The Uchiha nodded to the woman as he listened to what the outraged woman had to say. What is it, Rosemary? Something on your mind? Rosemary nodded. Yes, Sasuke-san, it appears to me that Minato Namikaze truly is as ungrateful as many have claimed him to be, but we can use this to our advantage to make that bastard pay. How are we going to do that? Naruto asked, interrupting their conversation. Sasuke and Rosemary gazed over to the curious blonde that interrupted their conversation. They knew then and there that they should probably tell Naruto since he's already eavesdropped on their conversation. It's very simple, Naruto said, Raiden walking over to them. Alita is the daughter of Minato's older brother, and due to the law of the clan set by its founder Minos Namikaze, the eldest of the main line will always rule over the clan, and since Alita is the daughter of Yahiko, who is the oldest sibling of Minato, then she's the true leader of the Namikaze clan, said Naruto happily, knowing he now had an advantage over his father. He could now see that he was wrong about the Namikaze clan. It wasn't the clan itself that was to blame for his childhood or the pain Alita suffered at the neglect of Minato. it was the former Yondaime Hokage himself that was to blame, for it was him alone that disgraced the name Namikaze. Naomi clapped her hands, getting everyone's attention. Alright everyone, that's enough, it's time to meet up with our cage, let's go chop chop. Everyone nodded and walked towards the jeeps and climbed inside as they drove off down the main street and to the cage's tower. Through the entire road trip they saw much of the village and it was everything you would expect. It held many wonders like movie theaters, parks, restaurants, every single place that would bring you enjoyment. Wow, this is amazing! Naruto chimed in excitement, I've never seen a place so big. Rosemary was sitting in the back with Naomi as they were holding the Uzumaki Uchiha children while Raiden and Alita were up front with Alita driving. So what can you tell us about your Saishinkage? The Uchiha asked, wanting to know more about her. Well, Meryl is a strict but fair woman and she doesn't tolerate favoritism like Konoha does, said Alita. That's right, stated Raiden as he was polishing his gun. You see, the last guy who was a Represide native on her council of advisors showed a ton of favoritism. She went ballistic and cast him off the council with a few broken ribs and a broken arm, and thank God I wasn't that guy. Naruto and Sasuke were sweat dropping in the backseat as they remembered the same situation with Lady Shizune when she beat the crap out of Jiraiya one time after he was showing absolute favoritism towards Menma and how he peeped on her in the woman's bathhouse. Naruto was laughing nervously as Sasuke could see a furious, pissed-off Shizune standing behind the blonde in spiritual form. Yes, that sounds like Shizune, Sasuke thought as he sweat dropped. Naruto gave a small smile. Dearest cousin, can you please explain how you came to this village? Alita sighed. Well, it's like this. After the Third Great Ninja War, Minato and my father Yahiko were declared heroes of the Leaf Village. However, the Leaf seemed to favor Minato more and my father was soon forgotten, she said, firmly gripping the wheel. I know how that feels, Alita said. Naruto sadly. That blonde bastard then became the Yondaime Hokage and as always power went to his head. He also wanted the hand of my mother in marriage, but she was already married to my father, the Namikaze clan head. When my mother refused him, he wasn't happy. In fact, he accused my father of consorting with the enemy, a spy if you will. The village believed him and they tossed my parents out of the village. I'll kill him for you, Alita, I swear it, Naruto growled. I appreciate that, Naruto-kun, she said with a warm smile until her smile turned into a hardened grin, but I'll be the one to kill him. Raiden's sweat dropped as he decided to finish Alita's story for her so she doesn't lose control of her driving. I was out scouting to check the borders when I came across Yahiko and his wife Konan. I could see that they traveled a long way and they looked like they haven't eaten or drinking anything in quite some time. Meryl offered them sanctuary in our village, smiled Rosemary, and they were one of our most loyal friends. And their daughter is one of our most powerful Junins, laughed Naomi. You got that right, Aunt Naomi, Alita laughed as she continued to drive them to the Imperial Palace. Saishingakure. Imperial Palace. Meryl was in the royal gardens of the palace, tending to the beautiful flowers that were in it, so many from all over the elemental nations, plus they were exotic and rare and filled with life. The garden was one of the most famous places to visit in the village. But to Meryl it was the place she fell in love with her husband Solid Snake. Her hero ever since Shadow Moses. Over the years they've been together, it was heaven on earth. Even after being through many battles, fights, and the near-death experience she had after the Sons of the Patriots and found refuge in Saishingakure that was founded by her grandfather Kyle Michael Silverberg, their love was as strong as the love Raiden shared with Rose. She remembered when Snake presented to her a diamond ring, she hugged, kissed, and said yes without any hesitation right in front of several people. It was the happiest day of her life. Lady Snake-sama, are you enjoying yourself? Said Johnny. Oh yes, thank you for asking, Johnny. I would like to thank you for the flowers from Kumogakure, they are beautiful, said Meryl as she noticed Johnny's bare-chested body with a small blush. Thanks for the compliment, Lady Saishinkage. Snake thought you might like it, laughed Johnny. Meryl let out a small laugh. No need to be formal, Johnny, I may be the Saishinkage but we are friends and equals, she laughed as she saw the brief look of surprise on his face for a second before it became a gentle smile. Now is there something you wish to speak to me about? Yes. Lord Sasuke Uchiha and Lady Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki have come to speak with you. They wish to join Saishingakure, said Johnny, seeing Meryl's eyes widen. Johnny, why the hell didn't you tell me, she said, getting up and rushing into the palace and towards her office to get ready for the arrival of her special guests. She was most happy to see Naruto considering she's half Uzumaki like he is. She was nervous about meeting Sasuke Uchiha, who was her cousin's husband, and from what they heard he was a pseudo Jinchuriki now thanks to Naruto. I can do this. I can't let anything go wrong, Meryl thought nervously. Imperial Palace waiting room. Whoa, awesome place Meryl-sama's got here. Not too flashy but not too simple either. Plus their technology totally puts all of the other villages to shame, especially Konoha, said Naruto in complete awe. Just make sure you don't wreck anything like you did when we went on that honeymoon in Spring Country, laughed Sasuke. I don't want another disaster like when you fell into the woman's hot springs. Hey, that wasn't my fault, groaned Naruto, who was beating red. The door leading to the throne room soon opened to reveal a young woman with blonde hair with some wild teenage clothing with a large set of headphones around her neck. Hee Naruto and Sasuke-sama? Asked Sunny. Yes, that's us, smiled Sasuke. The Saishinkage will see you now, please follow me, Sunny smiled as they walked out into the hall towards the audience chamber. I have a question, said Naruto. Depends on what question it is, Sunny laughed. I've never met you before, what's your name, the blonde asked. Sunny giggled as she turned to face the blonde Uzumaki. Of course, Naruto, same, my name is Sunny Gerlukovich, nice to meet you. Naruto could see that she was a very wild free spirit, which reminded him of himself. She's definitely a lot like me. Sasuke, however, gasped as he noticed that Sunny had black eyes like the Uchiha. It brought Sasuke to complete shock as his husband Naruto tapped him over and over to get his attention. The Uchiha shook his head a little before clearing his throat. Excuse me, Sunny, may I ask you a little question? Yes, Sasuke-sama? The girl asked. Are you by chance an Uchiha? He asked quickly as he saw the shocked look on her face. Sunny was quiet for a little while until she burst into a full-blown laugh. Ha 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 ha, well actually I am 1/4 Uchiha. My grandmother was Hana Uchiha, who was the granddaughter of Madara Uchiha, if that's what you're asking. Sasuke sputtered as he was trying to get a grip on reality. His legs were feeling a little wobbly and before anyone knew he fainted right there on the spot. Naruto face-palmed as he looked down at his fainted husband, thinking that Sasuke would get so overexcited about that. After a few minutes, Sasuke groaned as he stood up, rubbing his head. I am sorry, it's just a lot to take in that you're the great-granddaughter of Madara Uchiha. Sasuke laughed nervously. So you have the same affinity for fire and sealing like Madara? Naruto asked curiously. No, I am more attuned to nature. I can manipulate fire to create wonders of beauty or maybe even death, said Sunny simply with a small chuckle. But I chose to become a technician under the apprenticeship of Naomi. And you've become the greatest one I could have ever asked for, Naomi replied, and soon Naruto will begin his apprenticeship under me as well. The group soon made their way to the large gold doors that led to the royal chamber, which was guarded by 2 soldiers in high-tech gear. Each guard had their hands at the ready to shoot any intruders once the order was given. With a nod from Sunny, the 2 of them opened the heavy doors while the others kept a close eye on the shinobi from Konoha. When the doors were fully opened, Sunny walked into the chamber with Lord and Lady Uzumaki Uchiha behind her as the young girl signaled the soldiers to close the doors. Sasuke and Naruto gasped at how elegant the chamber looked. Many designs of wolves and foxes decorated the room in an elegant tapestry that made everything that was made in Konoha look completely pale in comparison. It didn't even hurt there was silver blue fire, that's right, blue fire, that lined along the sides of the room, which led up the trail leading to a man and woman sitting behind the wall of flames. The man was a tall, well-muscled man with black raven hair with a headband tied around it with the engraving infinity sewed within the stitching. He was dressed in a muscle skullsuit that was meant for Foxhound. This person was none other than Solid Snake. It was thanks to the medical expertise of Sarah Kagome of the Kagome clan, who were masters in the medical field, that put Tsunade to great shame, that fixed Snake's aging problem, returning him to his proper age when he faced against Solidus Snake. Beside him was a red-haired woman dressed in Cage's robes with the symbol of spirit on the back of it. She was about the same size of Snake. She was dressed in a soldier's outfit, which was the same uniform from the Son of the Patriots era that was under her Cage robes. This woman was none other than Meryl Snake née Silverberg, the wife of Solid Snake and the mom of Ashura Snake Silverberg. Her Cage robes were also regal, that were worthy of her station in being not only the Cage of Saishingakure but also the wife of Snake, who was the daimyo. Greeting Lord Uchiha and Lord Uzumaki, said Snake in a respectful tone. We've heard a lot of your exploits in many of our allied countries like Demon, Wave, and Spring. Indeed, smiled Meryl as she stood up from her throne and walked over towards the blonde Uzumaki. Naruto-sama, she said as she bowed down to him. My Lord Uzumaki, it's an honor to have you here in our village. Most of our clansmen were aching for the return of the Uzumaki clan head. What do you mean? Naruto asked, confused. How long have you been waiting? We've been waiting over 50 years, since the fall of our village in the Second Ninja War, Meryl replied. We sent word to the Leaf Village for refuge, but they refused us, saying that they had their own problems to deal with. Lady Mito-sama told us that once things died down, the Leaf would come to our aid. Sensing the dread that was about to come, Sasuke replied, let me guess, they never came to your aid, did they? He cursed the Leaf Village for abandoning its most trustful ally, especially since Lady Mito married Hashirama, the first Hokage. He would think that their partnership would ensure trust between the 2 villages. Naruto watched Meryl shake her head at Sasuke. He couldn't believe that his ex-father, especially his ex-mother who was from the Uzumaki clan, would just abandon her clan to die out after the war, but he was glad that a brand new village had taken in his fellow Uzumakis. Snake took a deep breath as he started to smoke a cigarette. After the Second Ninja War, Meryl's grandfather, the Shoden Saishinkage, took in the refugees of the Uzumaki clan. Then when Meryl became the Yondaime Saishinkage, she offered sanctuary to some of the Uchiha clan members that were discriminated by the leaf after the Kyuubi attack. Sasuke gasped that some of his clan escaped before Itachi killed them off. What do you mean some of my clan were brought here? Are they safe? Did Itachi find them here? He asked, frantically wanting answers. Easy, calm down, said Snake, and to answer your question, some of our ninja were sent to the Leaf Village for a treaty to become their allies, which we had to wait a whole month to get the terms finished. During our stay there we've noticed how the Uchiha clan were treated by the village. Then we overheard the villagers blaming the Uchiha for the Kyuubi attack. Sasuke remembered that quite well. Everywhere his clan members went they were always blamed for the attack, since Madara was the only one who could control Kurama. In fact, only a powerful Uchiha could control the fox, which was impossible for anyone else except the Uzumaki clan, their cousin clan. That alone drove my clan to plan a coup d'etat against the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze, since they couldn't stand any of the discrimination anymore. It was then that the village decided that my clan needed to be wiped out minus myself to keep a civil war from breaking out, the Uchiha said sadly as Naruto patted his back. Luckily we heard about the execution of the Uchiha from our ambassador, and thanks to her we were able to send word to the Uchiha clan head Fugaku Uchiha. But Fugaku decided to accept his fate at the hands of his heir Itachi, but we of the Spirit Village couldn't accept it, Snake said firmly but softly. Then what did you do? Naruto asked. We took all of the children and those of genin age from the compound that night. The total was about 40 children and a few adults that had nothing to do with the coup, which was about 10 adults. So basically we rescued 50 Uchihas from Itachi and Obito, sighed Snake as he took another smoke from his cigarette. Sasuke quickly bowed at the feet of Snake and Meryl. Thank you, Snake-sama, I can't thank you enough for saving some of my clan. The Uchiha was really aching to see his fellow Uchiha that were spared from the massacre. It's a pleasure, Uchiha-san. After all, our village law states that discrimination is strictly prohibited. The Uchiha have really proven themselves and they make up our Anbu Black Ops. Plus Sunny's grandmother was our new ambassador who handled the political stuff with other countries, but now that's Rosemary's job. Meryl sat down on her throne next to Snake. Now other than that, I hear that you two and your children want to live here? She asked them as the two nodded happily. Yes, we do, Meryl-sama, stated Naruto respectfully. Very well, after all, Naruto-san, you are the head of the Uzumaki clan. Meryl smiled. Not to mention the Senju clan, said Raiden, getting a shocking response from everyone minus himself, Naruto, Sasuke, and Rosemary. Explain, Jack, stated Snake. Well, for one, I am a cyborg, which is more fitting than being a ninja. Second, I can't really handle political stuff like clan matters. I suck at that, he said with a small laugh. Plus my son John wants to be a cyborg like his old man, and I don't think the shinobi life is for him, but maybe one day he'll change his mind. Is that the only reason? Asked Meryl. I also have a family to take care of and I already have a job that I love which provides lots of money to support them. So to keep all of the massive political pressure off my shoulders, I gave the title of Lord Senju to Naruto and Lord Kagaya to Sasuke. Maybe one day John will take my place as Lord Senju, laughed Naruto. I wouldn't mind training him. You a teacher? Laughed Sasuke. What are you going to teach him? Your sexy no jutsu, he joked. Naruto's long spiky blonde hair split into 9 hair strands as he smiled at his husband. Are you making fun of me, Sasuke-chan? He asked kindly as Sasuke's sweat dropped. Hee no, Naruto-kun, not at all. Sasuke laughed nervously even though he was secretly scared out of his wits. Scary, Naomi and Rosemary said in unison. I like this boy, Meryl said to herself. His attitude reminds me of me when I was his age. The 3 babies clapped their hands laughing as Naruto was scaring Sasuke. Naruto smirked at his husband as his blonde hair died down as he gave a loving smile. Well, thank you, Sasuke-chan, I wouldn't want to kill my own husband, he laughed. Hehe, yeah, Sasuke laughed as he started to sweat. If you're done fooling around, please tell us what you can offer our village, Snake said firmly. The 2 boys looked towards Snake and Meryl as Naruto offered to train the children at the academy, and since he was a Sannin he could also teach them the art of sealing. Meryl thought for a minute. Though the village had great seal masters, Naruto himself was at a level higher than any other Uzumaki, and that was something they couldn't let go. That's perfect, Naruto-sama, we could use some of your sealing expertise since we have very few seal masters. Meryl smiled as Naruto bowed his head. It's an honor, Meryl-sama, the blonde smiled. What about you, Sasuke-san? Meryl asked. I could take over the teaching position for ninjutsu and genjutsu if that's alright. Plus I can create this village's own network of spies like Jiraiya did with Konoha. Snake thought about it greatly. Even though a spy network would work greatly to increase the protection of the village, it would also be too risky. But then again, the Uchihas were masters in stealth, so why not? Alright, Sasuke-san, you got yourself a deal. Snake smirked as he shook the Uchiha's hand. I agree. Welcome to Saishingakure and I hope you'll have a great future here, Meryl said in a sweet tone. Raiden, will you and Rosemary please take Sasuke-sama? Naruto-sama. and their children to the Uzumaki and Uchiha clan compounds. Raiden and Rosemary nodded as they escorted the Uchiha Uzumaki family from the royal chamber to the Uchiha and Uzumaki compound. Sasuke and Naruto were very excited to see more of their clan members that were living in the village. Sasuke was most excited. All his life he believed he was the last Uchiha, but now he discovered that the very village he was now living in was responsible for saving part of his clan from Itachi. It was all so exciting for Sasuke and Naruto. Naruto looked at Sasuke with a warm look on his face. "Hey Sasuke, let's combine the clans into one clan, what do you say?" Naruto grinned. Sasuke laughed. "Sure, I'd love that, after all we're a family and family always sticks together." The people of Saishingakure were going about their business getting ready for the Spirit Festival. It was a special day that honored the fallen soldiers that gave their lives for the village. Other villages like Konoha and Iwagakure don't celebrate such an honorable holiday for their fallen comrades, since all they have is an honor stone. Whereas villages like Kumo proudly celebrate it as they care about their ninjas, Sasuke and Naruto were surprised at how much effort the people were putting into it as they were driven towards the Uchiha and Uzumaki compound. They could see that the village was really busy getting everything ready, delicious foods being cooked, people getting things ready in the cemetery, but most of all they could see the children running around dressed in costumes in honor of Shinigami and Kami. "What's going on?" asked Naruto. "Is there some kind of party going on?" Raiden chuckled. "Well, kind of, you see it's the annual Spirit Festival." "Spirit Festival?" Sasuke asked, wondering. "I've never heard of it before." Rosemary looked towards the Uchiha and gave a sincere smile. "It's the day we honor our fallen comrades since the founding of the village. As you can see, everyone here is in a joyous mood and looking forward to it." The two boys could see the village was indeed decorated for celebration. From what they could tell, it was a much more happy place than the Leaf, because unlike the Leaf, the Spirit Village always stood for what was right, and things like discrimination, prejudice, and hatred for other creatures such as demons, spirits, angels, and other human beings were strictly forbidden. Naruto, however, was more happy than he had ever been. It was like Kami was giving him a second chance to live the life he wanted. "Sounds like a good idea," Naruto stated proudly. "All the other villages should have something like this." "Actually they do," the cyborg master answered. Naruto looked at his former sensei confused. He didn't know that other villages besides this one would host a holiday like this. Seeing the confusion on his former student's face, he chuckled as he began to tell him about how only the villages of Kumogakure and Kurigakure celebrated it. While the explanation was going on, Sasuke was busy rocking the three kids to sleep. Itachi was quiet as was expected of an Uchiha, while his other two siblings Hagoromo and Mito were a little fussy like their blonde mother. "We're here," said Rosemary as she parked the car. Sasuke and Naruto went wide-eyed at the sight of the compound. It was about the size of the old Uchiha clan compound and Hyuga compound placed together. It was the largest that covered at least the size of 2 lots of lands. Bearing above the compound gate was the Uchiha fan and the Uzumaki swirl. "Well, it'll be. What a sight," Sasuke complimented, taking in awe of the compound. "This must have taken long to build." "You're telling me," groaned Raiden. 10 long months after we rescued the Uchiha and the Uzumakis." "Oh, stop whining," chuckled Rosemary. "Enough of this, let's go meet the clans." "Okay," Naruto whined as Itachi was fussing in his carriage. Naruto knelt down and picked up his son. Hey, it's okay," the blonde said, hugging Itachi close. "Shush, it's okay, Mommy was just getting a little mad at Uncle Raiden and Auntie Rose for arguing." "We don't argue," Rose and Raiden shouted in unison. "I rest my case," the blonde laughed as he walked to the compound gate but soon found himself blocked. Sasuke wondered why the gates wouldn't let them pass until a robotic voice asked them for their identification. This made the Uchiha back up, preparing to attack with a Chidori to electrocute it until Raiden grabbed his wrist. "Easy there, Sasuke, it's just the compound identification system. It asked for the clan members' identification to allow passage," the cyborg explained. Sasuke and Naruto were shocked but also impressed with how much technology in the village has advanced. "Please verify your identification. Failure to comply will result into immediate annihilation," the voice stated. Raiden stepped forward to address the defense system. "I am Raiden Senju Kagaya, head of the Defense Council and Military Army of Saishingakure, and I've come to seek access to the Uchiha Uzumaki clan compound." Then it was Rosemary's turn as the young woman stood next to her husband. "I am Rosemary Senju Ne Soto, head analyst of Saishingakure's Intelligence and Military Analyst Department, and I too seek access to the compound." Identifying Raiden and Rosemary Senju, the voice said, scanning them. "Welcome, Lord and Lady Senju." The gates opened, allowing only Raiden and his wife to go through. Once through, the gate shut itself as the robot's inferred eye gazed down upon the young Uchiha family. "State your identification, young travelers," it demanded. The blonde, not fearing a simple machine as he faced death many times in lifetime from his early childhood to the 4th Great Ninja War, stepped forward. Standing proud, he stood before the machine and proudly stated his name. My name is Naruto Uchiha ne Uzumaki Namikaze, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, great-great-nephew of Mito Senju ne Uzumaki and Hashirama Senju and brother of Menma Namikaze of Konoha. And I am Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki. Sasuke stated, stepping forward, the son of Mikoto and Fugaku Uchiha, brother of Itachi Uchiha, and great-great-nephew of Madara Uchiha. The inferred eyes scanned them both and their data showed that they were telling the truth. Identity identified and confirmed. Welcome Lord and Lady Uchiha Uzumaki, the voice stated as it granted them access to the compound. The happy family walked forth towards the main house of the entire compound. Once inside, the sight would make you mouth drop in awe. The compound was larger than the Uchiha district back in Konoha. The district contained over 100 houses, 30 dojos, ninja supply stores, a large serenity garden, and a few warehouses full of weapons. Across the lake near the district was a large training ground around the size of the Forest of Death. It was also surrounded by a large forest that they could tell was perfect for privacy when one decides to do some private training. Enjoying the sights? Raiden laughed. Let's go, the clans will be happy to meet their new clan heads. The Uchiha Uzumaki couple headed into the district as they could see many Uzumakis and Uchihas interacting as if they were family. The sounds of laughter and conversation, the sight of children having fun. Sai Shingakure was truly a peaceful place from what he has seen. Soon people began to stare at the family. They could see that one of them was an Uchiha due to the black hair and the way he presented himself, but the blonde they didn't know as they've never seen him before, but they could see the Yondaime Minato Namikaze in him. Why are they staring at us? Sasuke asked as he looked nervous. I think they recognized you as an Uchiha, darling. Naruto laughed. Itachi was still as emotionless like his father in every aspect as he was unsure and cautious of the people around him and his family. His younger siblings Mito and Hagoromo were more outgoing like his mother as they were loving the sights and the attention that they were given. Raiden and Rose waved to the citizens as the people waved back in praise for their heroes of the last great war. Lots of children wanted their autograph. Men wanted Raiden's as the girls wanted Rose's autograph. The hero couple signed them for the children as their faces lit up with excitement. Pressing onto the compound, they came across the doors that led to the main compound of the main members of the Uzumaki and Uchiha clans. Standing guard at the main door was an Uchiha with short black hair. He wore a standard military uniform with a bit of cyborg and nanotechnology courtesy of Naomi Hunter. The other was an Uzumaki woman with long red hair, with the same military cyborg uniform. The two bowed their heads to Raiden and Rose as they were allowed passage. They didn't let the guests through as their swords were pointed at them. Naruto snarled as they had the nerve to point those things at them, especially at his children. Put those swords down this instant. I will not tolerate you pointing weapons at my children or me, Naruto growled. Same with me, snarled Sasuke in agreement. The guards were ready to spear them for their insolence until Rose demanded that she will not tolerate any harm to come to the babies that her family was holding. The guards, noticing the infants, quickly retracted their swords. Forgive us, my lady, they said to Rose. Rose sighed. These two mean you no harm. You are standing before Sasuke Uchiha Kagaya, Lord of the Uchiha and Kagaya clans, and Lord Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha, Lord of the Uzumaki and Senju clans. The guards quickly bowed as they heard the names of the greatest heroes of the Fourth Great Ninja War, not to mention the sons of Lord Fugaku and Lady Kushina. Forgive us, Uzumaki-sama and Uchiha-sama, they begged. It's fine, Naruto smiled, but point any weapons at my children again and I'll feed your sorry carcass to Kyuubi. His now long blonde hair spread into 9 strands like his former mother Kushina, making the guards sweat. Scary, just like Kushina-sama, the Uchiha guard said, shivering. Sasuke laughed as he took his scary but sexy blonde husband along with his loving children with him into the clan compound to meet up with the clans. Konohagakure, things were not going great for the Leaf Village since the desertion of Sasuke and Naruto Uchiha ne Uzumaki. Konoha was living in its own version of hell. The sun no longer shined over them as Naruto was their loving ray of sunshine that always smiled no matter what. His outgoing and happy personality was one of the things that got everyone through the day. However, now that he and Sasuke were gone, Konoha lost most of its treaties and financial trades with other countries. The other villages and countries such as Kumo, Iwa, Kiri, Suna, Spring, Moon, and Wave, even some of the smaller nations such as Tea and Iron Country became hostile to them for the mistreatment of one of the greatest heroes to ever fight a war. While Iwa and Kumo still despised the Yellow Flash for their defeat in the Third Great War, they came to respect his son Naruto for the guts to defend and work with them even though they were enemies of the Leaf. Suna and Kiri were the most hostile of the great nations as the Kazekage was close friends with the blonde. Naruto saved Gaara from himself, from the bloodlust that he had to deal with as a child. Naruto showed him that revenge isn't always the right path to take. And that sometimes the love of family and friends will give one the strength to protect what they love the most. Kiri's Mizukage, Mei Terumi was one of the women that absolutely adored the fiery and flaming passion of the boy, and his determination to stand up for what's right made him one of her favorites. She was also hoping to one day marry him, only for him to escape her grasp and fall into the Uchiha's hands. However, despite the hostility of the villages towards the Leaf Village, they didn't open war upon the Land of Fire, as they knew Naruto would never want that. That and the fact that Gaara and Kankuro were Itachi's godfathers and Mei Terumi and Temari were Mito and Hagoromo's godmothers. Wave and Spring Country, which honored Naruto as their hero and savior, nullified their treaties and contracts. Wave was one of Konoha's main essentials for rich resources, and Spring was the Leaf's source of stocks and supplies, and thanks to the nullification of the contracts, the Leaf's resources were now at a very minimal number. Ugh! This is so infuriating, groaned Menma as he sat behind his desk. Missions were now at an all-time low for Konoha. The profits were getting smaller and smaller with each small mission that they were barely able to get. The most they could get right now were D or C rank missions, and even they weren't enough for anyone. The council have been at his throat whining about having less power and profit than they used to. Menma was now starting to regret being chosen to be Hokage. At first it was fine, as everything was going smoothly. Then it took a turn for the worst when his older brother became like a brooding Uchiha who didn't get what he wanted. Damn you, Naruto, if you just accept the judgment of the village and lived your life the way you had to in the village, then nothing like this would have happened, he growled as he was trying to get through most of the paperwork. Soon there was a knock on the door as Kakashi and Jiraiya entered. Hokage-sama. Kakashi bowed. Any news on Naruto and Sasuke? Or about Sai Shingekure? Menma asked desperately. Jiraiya shook his head. No, Menma, I am sorry, we couldn't find any info on Naruto and Sasuke, but we did find info about the Spirit Village. Apparently its location is in Iron Country, and its foundation is built upon the ruins of the old palace of the samurai warlord Yuki Dragoon. The foundation, however, is way larger than the palace compound could ever be. The surrounding area is sealed off with a barrier seal that combines with a chakra drainage seal that makes whoever enters the village only have the bare amount of chakra to live. Amazing, making its own citizens live with small amounts of chakra but not enough to fight. What a way to keep its village and people safe by rendering threats both inside and out useless, the Hokage thought. Not just that, Menma-sama, but we also discovered that the village has more seal masters than any other village. Their sealing abilities rivals that of the famed extinct Uzumaki clan, Kakashi explained. But what's worse is that they have somehow invented a new semi-biotic bodysuits for their ninja that increases their senses and abilities tenfold. Menma stood up in horror. Are you sure? I mean, are you absolutely sure? He was scared of someone having that kind of power that could pose a threat to the Leaf Village. I believe that it's in the best interest of this village to snuff them out before they destroy us, especially since they now have the Kyuubi Jinchuriki and the last Uchiha in their grasp, Jiraiya stated. So what are you suggesting? He asked his sensei. Jiraiya's face looked grim as he couldn't believe that he had to say this. We must exterminate Naruto and Sasuke and then retrieve the children. They are Konoha ninja, and the Sharingan and the Mokuton are Konoha bloodlines. Menma was unsure of what he was told. Naruto was his brother and he loved him very much regardless of what he's done. But he had to think of the village first, and the safety of it and its citizens must always come first. He wasn't sure of what to do, but for now he must try to prevent Naruto's demise. Look, I am sure that you think that Naruto is a threat, but he's not like that. I've grown up with him, and though he may be cold and stubborn, he's still a good man deep inside, Menma stated calmly. Regardless, Hokage-sama, said Kakashi. A Hokage can't let their personal feelings interfere with the mission and the safety of the village, even you know that. Jiraiya nodded. That's right, please Menma, you must think of your village first, as every Hokage must do as part of their job. Menma tried to figure out a counter-argument but could find none. Sometimes he wished that being Hokage wasn't always so complicated. With a heavy sigh he had to agree with his senseis. Regardless of what he felt, the village must come first. Very well, Kakashi, I want you to head out with Jiraiya to find more info on the new Spirit Village, and I'll call a council meeting to discuss the situation, Menma said firmly. The two men nodded their heads as they bowed and left the Hokage's office, leaving Menma to his thoughts. Namikaze Compound District. Kushina, no name as she was now called due to her disownment from the Uzumaki clan and the annulment of her marriage to Minato Namikaze, making it forbidden for her to take on the Namikaze name, was sitting in the living room with her friends. It had been over 3 months since her former son, now Lord Uzumaki, left the village with her grandchildren that she would never be able to see again. She went into a deep depression that was torture to herself and to those around her. Mila, Hyuga and Sume Inuzuka tried so desperately to try and break her out of it but had trouble failing. My baby hates me, she cried as she tried to drink her tea. Hey, it's okay, said Mila as she tried to comfort her friend. It's not your fault. You did what you thought was right. You knew what the village needed. You acted like a true kunoichi. She's right, Kushi-chan, the brat Naruto was just angry because he didn't get what he wanted, said Sume. Not only that, but he had the gall to ban you from seeing your grandchildren again, growled Mila. The nerve of that boy. Kushina tried to justify her son's actions, but for some reason she just couldn't bring herself to, but she had to try, at least for her son. While I do agree with you on my son's dark attitude, I feel like he was in his right, Kushina stated, shocking her two oldest friends. I mean, Naruto worked hard to become Hokage and Minato, and I just took that away from him, thinking that he belongs on the battlefield like some kind of weapon. He is our most powerful shinobi, said Tsunade. He's the second coming of the sixth path. He brought peace to the world and it's his job to keep the peace whether he likes it or not. You got that right, Tsunade, said Minato as he came into the living room. You're right about Naruto. He has an obligation to the rest of the world. Minato was against his son being Hokage at first because he believed that his son had a higher calling that was way more important than the Hokage seat. After all, his son became the next Rikudo Sannin and he was proud of that. His son would make sure that the peace that they achieved would be permanent. But somehow that didn't happen as his son refused to talk or interact with anyone after his dream was crushed. He thought Naruto was acting like a child, plus his son's husband Sasuke had the gall to insult him and wife, calling them demonic and horrible parents. But he couldn't worry about that now since they had to work on retrieving Naruto and Sasuke from the newly risen village, but he had to make sure that he did it carefully. Kushi-chan, your friends are right, Naruto must come home, he has a duty to the world and the Leaf Village, Minato said softly as he placed a comforting hand on his crying wife. But is it worth it, Minato? She cried. Is it worth having our son hate us? To have our grandchildren growing up hating us for what we did to their mother? If it's the price we must pay for the continuation of peace and the safety of the Leaf, then so be it, stated Minato grimly as he looked at his distraught wife. That's not the only thing you have to worry about, said Mila as she sipped her tea. Everyone looked at her as the former Yondaime looked over at the Hyuga matriarch with a confusing look. What are you talking about, Mila? Minato asked. Mila placed her teacup on the table as she sighed. Ever since Naruto was revealed to have the Byakugan, things back at home have been hectic. What do you mean hectic? Asked Tsunade. Mila chuckled. Hee well. Flashback. It was late in the afternoon as Hiyashi Hyuga announced that there was going to be a council meeting of great importance. Since the discovery of Naruto's ability to use the Byakugan, he knew that it would cause a serious uproar among the Hyuga. At first he couldn't care less about the problem, but now that the blonde has left the village, it soon became a very serious problem. They always made sure to protect their clan bloodline, but now that Naruto has it and is in another village, there was no way to avoid it now. The conference room was currently filled up to the brim with all the elders and main house members. The side branch no longer lived in the Hyuga compound since Naruto and Sasuke left them the old Uzumaki Uchiha clan district along with a fund of 70 million ryo. To the main branch, it was disgraceful that their slaves would abandon the main branch. At first they tried using the cage bird seal only to discover that Naruto removed it. Thus their slave branch were now indebted to the blonde. This better be important, Hiyashi-sama scowled. Hinoka, an elderly woman in her late 50s with a sour look on her face. It's terrible, Hinoka-sama. Our side branch has decided to live away from the Hyuga compound. Not only that, but the cage bird seal has been removed, Hiyashi stated with a slight tremble in his voice, still trying to be the strong Hyuga clan leader. Hinoka was a stern but fair woman, but she was always one for traditions, as she was one of the Hyugas that believed that the clan must marry into higher classes and that the clan's reputation and values must be upheld at all costs. But the news of the side branch leaving the Hyuga compound was something that she was not happy about. Ever since the founding of the clan, the side branch was always the slave branch to protect the main house. That was one of the reasons why they had the cage bird seal created, but now that word has spread that Naruto removed the seal himself was rubbing salt in the wounds of the elders. And what do you plan on doing about this, dear nephew? She scowled. You're the clan head, so it's your job to fix it. Hinata Inuzuka ne Hyuga, who listened to the clan meeting so far, was trying to think about what insight she could give to the meeting. She was angry at Naruto for the way he was treating everyone, especially his own mother. The boy she once knew was no more. She knew that, and she knew that his children will be the same way. But she will be damned if she loses her cousin Neji in the side branch. Clearing her throat, she sat up to state her opinion. Pardon me, but I must state my opinion, Hinata stated. One of the clan elders looked at Hinata. The clan recognizes Lady Inuzuka. Please speak your concerns. Hinata bowed her head. Thank you, honored member. As you know that Naruto did in fact leave the village along with the heirs to the Uchiha and Uzumaki clan. And I have to agree that we should be more worried about the safety of the children. Cause remember the Sharingan and the Mokuton are Konoha bloodlines. That's true, Hinata-sama, one of the elders said firmly. But why should we, the Hyuga clan, worry about the so-called children of the Uchiha and the Kyuubi Jinchuriki? Should that be the Hokage's problem? He was one of the people that didn't like the Uzumaki boy. He was a Jinchuriki, that's true, and although he didn't deserve the life he had to suffer, but he was completely disrespectful of authority, especially the Hyuga elders, and that was the main reason he hated him. The Inuzuka matriarch sneered but kept herself under control. True, Elder Sama, that isn't our problem, but due to the circumstances it has become the Hyuga clan's problem. One of the elders responded with a sneer of his own, really Hinata-sama. And how could it possibly be our problem? Last time I checked, the Uzumaki boy isn't a Hyuga, so it seems to be that this meeting has become a waste of time. At a recent event, Naruto has shown that he carries arts that belong solely to the Hyuga clan bloodline, Hinata admitted, causing the clan elders to gasp in shock and outrage that an outsider dared to contaminate their clan's skills. The elders started talking in hushed tones before one of them turned their gaze to Hinata once more. "You have brought this to our attention. What do you plan to do, Hinata-sama?" the elder asked, waiting for the Inuzuka matriarch to speak her mind to her clan. "I was just getting to that before you interrupted, Elder-sama," Hinata said in a firm tone as she gave a superior look that many Hyugas give when they mean business. "Now coming back to Naruto, we found out he possesses the Byakugan." "What?" the elders screamed as they were enraged that an outsider, especially their Jinchuriki, possesses their bloodline. "He must be hunted down. The Byakugan must be protected at all costs," one of the elders screamed. "That's right, our bloodline is in danger," stated another female elder. "Silence!" shouted Hiyashi as the clan elders simmered down. Hinata folded her hands as she stated to the clan that they can't do anything yet as Naruto and his family are citizens of the village hidden in the spirit. That statement alone injured the Hyuga pride but also infuriated the clan members as well, that the Byakugan was now lost to them to another village, and one that they barely know anything about. "Then we should do something," Hinata snarled. "That brat must either be taken back to this village forcefully or be killed. Either way, our bloodline must be kept safe." "And you shall get your wish," Hinata smiled, shocking the clan, especially Hiyashi. "The Chunin exams are going to be hosted in that village in the following months, so we will send a few Hyugas to locate and detain Naruto for the theft of our bloodline. Along with the children as well," stated Hiyashi. "After all, Naruto's children might also inherit the Byakugan." One of the younger main branch members, Hanabi, Hinata's little sister, felt that doing this would not only endanger the clan but also it was mean war between the Hyuga and the Uzumaki Uchiha clans. Plus she didn't know if the spirit village would back up Naruto and Sasuke or not. But still she had to do something and prevent her clan from doing something stupid that would get them all killed. "If I may?" Hanabi asked as the clan gazed upon the young heiress. "If we do that, not only would we be committing a crime of kidnapping heirs from another clan, but we would also cause a war between Konoha and Saishingakure. Please reconsider." "And why should we reconsider the safety of this clan, Hanabi-sama?" a member of their clan elder sneered as they all continued to gaze at the young heiress. "If a war starts, we all goners, we won't be backed up on either due to the fact that our allies have disbanded from Konoha and become allies to the spirit village," Hanabi stated in a firm tone. Hiyashi was not one to start a war, but the fact of the matter is that since Naruto has the Byakugan, even though he wasn't a Hyuga, was considered theft by the law of the clan. But his daughter did have a point, so for the time being they had to plan this very carefully. Hanabi looked towards her older sister with a pleading look in her eyes. "Please, Hinata, please, you were friends with the blonde. You know him more than anyone. Please tell me you're not willing to start a war just because Naruto can use all three eye bloodlines." Hinoka coughed as she looked at Hanabi with wide eyes. The same with the rest of the elders. "What do you mean that he has all three eye bloodlines?" The young heiress revealed that his six-path bloodline allows Naruto to use any of the three eye bloodlines, understand any seal, and plus the fact that potent chakra was extremely rare nowadays. The more info about the six-path bloodline that she revealed, the more greedy looks appeared on the elders' faces. "And his children will inherit these abilities?" one of the elders smirked. "I don't know," Hanabi replied, not liking the looks on their faces. She then turned back to her older sister's face. "Please, Hinata-chan, please reconsider. I know that Naruto has hurt you and has turned into what you might call a brooding Uchiha, but please, this is nothing to start a war over. You would rather have our clan name be tainted by the holder of Kurama than held in the hands of only the Hyuga clan," Hinata said, looking at her little sister with the most coldest eyes ever. "I would rather let him have the bloodlines than cause a meaningless war," Hanabi stated as she turned to leave the room. "Where are you going, Hanabi-sama?" one of the clan elders asked with an angry tone for the words that one of their own would use. "I would rather be in the spirit village with Naruto, who helped us gain our allies in the first time, than with a clan who rather have innocent children die for the sake of our blasted bloodline," Hanabi cried out as she left the compound. Hinata sighed. "Don't worry, she'll be back now. I believe we all agree that if Naruto can't be forced back to the Leaf Village, then the only chance we have in saving our bloodline is take back the children and kill Naruto." The Hyuga elders and Hiyashi were all in agreement, as it was either have Naruto come back willingly along with the heirs to the Uchiha, Uzumaki, Senju, Kagaya, and Hyuga clans, or kill the blonde and Sasuke. The clan elders soon disbanded as Hinata returned to the Inuzuka compound to be with her husband. She felt horrible that it came down to this, but the care of the Hyuga clan must come first. End flashback. Kushina and her friends were shocked as Mila finished her tale of what happened at the Hyuga compound. Tsume was furious that the Hyuga would even decide such a thing. including Kushina herself. Minato, however, was in agreement with his old friend after all, considering that Naruto's children were also namikazes as well. Even though he already had grandchildren from his youngest son Menma, Naruto's children were considered the most powerful due to them being the children of the second six-path sage. Along with the fact that he wondered what new power or bloodline will form since the children had the blood combination of the Senju, Uchiha, Uzumaki, Namikaze, Kagaya, and Hyuga clans. Such a powerful combination under their control would further fuel the power of the leaf, but it was now out of their hands since the Uzumaki Uchiha clan were now citizens of Iron Country and Saishingekure, and he didn't want to risk another war. As much as you hated Kushina, I have to agree with Hiyashi about Naruto, said Minato with a firm tone. Kushina looked aghast at her former husband. Minato, truly you can't mean that? Naruto maybe caused problems for the leaf and turned moody because he was denied the position of Hokage, but it still doesn't give us the right to dictate the future of him or his children, she said, trying to stay strong. Minato may have a point, Kushi-chan. Sume replied. The children do contain the bloodlines of many Konoha clans, including your clan as well. After all, didn't you say you wanted mini Narutos running around the village with goofy grins? The redhead Kunoichi thought back as she remembered that was what she wanted. She also wanted the old Naruto back, since the man he became now scared her. As a parent and a grandmother, she had to put aside her personal feelings and think about the future of the new generation. After all, Naruto's children were her grandchildren, no matter what Naruto says, and if they hate her for trying to control what their future would be, then so be it. The only problem was the risk of enraging the Uchiha and the Nine Tails. True, she can use the chakra chains to restrain Kurama, but dealing with the second coming of Madara would make it extremely hard. Can we risk another great war and many shinobi turning their backs on the Leaf Village? Kushina asked. We may have to do this in order to protect Konoha, Kushina, Minato stated as his eyes turned into a stare only meant for a clan leader. I understand, and I will support that the needs of Konoha must come first, Kushina stated with a heavy heart, knowing that her son and his husband may be killed, but as long as her grandchildren got to be with their true village, then there was nothing she could do about it. Saishingekure. Uzumaki Uchiha clan compound. Naruto and Sasuke arrived at the main part of the compound as Rose told them to wait outside while she and her husband go greet the elders of the Uzumaki and Uchiha clans before introducing them. Sasuke understood perfectly, yet the Uzumaki was kinda impatient, which runs in the Uzumaki family. Sensing his husband's impatience, Sasuke bonked him on the head to get him to stay calm. Naruto yelped as he rubbed his head. Ouch, damn it Sasuke, you didn't have to hit me. Sasuke bonked him again, only this time it was for swearing in the front of their children. No swearing in front of the kids, Naruto. I don't want them growing up swearing like a pissed off Uzumaki woman. The blonde glared back but then took a deep breath as he tried to keep himself from wanting to rip Sasuke a new one. But his husband did have a point about not wanting the children to expose to the famous Uzumaki swearing at such a young age. Heck, it was bad enough he had to grow up around Kushina and she always swore, but by Kami he won't let his children go through what he had to endure when he was their age. Fine Teme, you win. I won't swear in front of the kids, Naruto groaned. Sasuke bonked him on the head for using his usual loving nickname. Naruto, that's a bad word to use in front of our children as well, Sasuke stated calmly before he pulled him close and kissed his forehead. Naruto glared at his husband before he sighed against and leaned against him, his head lightly touching his shoulder. Their three children looked at their parents before they looked around the new house with curious eyes. Itachi looked at the house with the usual Uchiha nonchalant stare, while Mito and Hagoromo looked around, feeling the urge to explore this new place that they will call home. Naruto and Sasuke watched their children take in the sights with a gentle smile on their faces. This will be our new home, huh? Naruto asked gently as he closed his eyes. Yes, a place where we truly belong. Sasuke whispered into his husband's ear and lightly held Naruto's hand in his as he continued to watch the beautiful children they created together with Master Kurama's help, of course. Raiden and Rose entered the main house of the elders of the two clans as Raiden knocked on the door. A rough but old face spoke out demanding who it was. Raiden laughed as he quickly replied. Honorary elders, it's us Raiden and Rose Senju. Raiden replied, we've come to speak with you. The large wooden doors were soon opened as they were greeted by the warmth and happiness of an Uzumaki elderly woman. She was in her late 80s as they could see. Her once vibrant red hair was now dull. Her once flawless skin was soon starting to show wrinkles. Her attire consisted of an old-style kimono that was worn over her ninja attire outfit, but even though she was old she could still fight. Oh my Raiden, it's been a while since you and your wife have visited us, please do come in, Yuki responded with a smile as she welcomed the couple in. Thank you, Rose said, bowing her head in thanks. The room consisted of 30 Uzumaki elders and 40 Uchiha elders. Though many were in their late 70s, only a few were over 100 years old. The Council of Elders was made up for 70 members and 3 high elders, which were Kenshin Uzumaki, a 107-year-old man, Hitomi Uchiha, a 78-year-old woman, And finally Kagome Uchiha Uzumaki, who was the age of 123 years old. She was the eldest of the entire council and her wisdom knew no bounds. "Ah, welcome Raiden and Rose," said Kagome. "It's been ages since we last talked." "Indeed it has, Kagome Ba," and Raiden smiled, "but we are here to reveal great news that will make you jump for joy in no seconds flat." The elders looked at each other and wondered what Raiden could be talking about. Sure, they were old, but they were too old and alert to be surprised, so they thought they could take on any surprise that Raiden had in store for them. "Well then," Lord Senju said of the younger elders, "we are all looking forward to what you have to say." Raiden sat down in his seat alongside his wife as he looked at Rose and asked that she be the one to reveal the news of the newcomers. Rose sighed as she knew that her husband wasn't really one for politics and council meetings, which was why she was always in charge of them whenever they had to attend a meeting. With a heavy sigh she rose from her seat to address the council. "Recently, 5 Uchiha Uzumakis have come to join and live in our peaceful village," Rose proclaimed. This caused the elders to speak in hushed tones, wondering who in their clan has finally come home. "What are the names of these Uzumaki Uchihas?" Kagome asked, excited to know who has come home. "Naruto Uchiha ne Uzumaki Namikaze, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Sasuke Uchiha Uzumaki, son of Mikoto and Fugaku Uchiha, great-nephew of Madara Uchiha, and their 3 children Itachi, Mito and Hagoromo," Raiden answered. The elders of the clans were shocked to hear that the 2 greatest war heroes to ever grace the nations were here. However, they were also shocked that the heir of the Uchiha clan was engaged and married to the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. They weren't against gay marriages like some of the other clans in other nations. No, they were openly supportive for gay ninja and kunoichi. "Sasuke and Naruto-sama are here?" One of the female elders gasped in surprise. "They're truly here?" Raiden nodded. "Yes, honorable elder, the great war heroes of the 4th Great Ninja War have come to seek refuge within our village walls." One of the elders, wanting to know more, asked why they would seek refuge in their village when they have family back in Konoha. The answer they would receive would bring their rage to a boiling point. Raiden explained what Naruto told him about his life back in Konoha. How he was denied the position of Hokage due to him not being mature enough and that they all thought he belonged on the battlefield. The elders immediately went into a raging frenzy, furious at how the Leaf Village would treat their greatest hero. However, the one other thing they were furious about was that Kushina went along with Konoha. To think that an Uzumaki would think that their own child is just a weapon, that wouldn't surprise them since Naruto was the 3rd Jinchuriki for the most powerful tailed beast. "Silence," shouted Kenshin. The council calmed itself down even though murmuring could be heard. Kenshin sighed as he regained his composure. "Now then, based on what we know, the only thing to do now is to welcome our new family into the clans, plus the fact that our clansman Naruto Uzumaki has somehow breeded children with Sasuke Uchiha." "Thanks to Kurama-sama, of course," Rose replied. "After all, male Jinchuriki can give birth like females can." "Yes, that's true," one of the elders responded. "We can worry about that later. Right now we must welcome our new clansmen. After they get settled and we will decide how to punish Konohagakure for the crimes they have committed against our new clan heads," Himiko Uchiha stated. "It's been 4 years since Naruto and Sasuke settled down in Saishingakure. They've been treated with kindness and respect not just for their strength but also for their strength of heart and wisdom. Naruto became the ninjutsu and wisdom training sensei. Wisdom training is a class where children from the age of 5 years old until they reach the age of 11 learn the wisdom of the ways of the world and the way of the shinobi. Since Naruto had gained Hagoromo's wisdom, he shared it with many young minds to once again teach the Nishu Creed. The blonde was wise beyond his years even if he was still young, but even he could learn a few things from the young ones. At the academy, Naruto decided to teach them the skills they needed to actually survive, that even included survival training to show them how tough the ninja world is. He was labeled as the Sage of Shinobi, but Naruto preferred to be called by his name. Sasuke, on the other hand, was the sensei for strategical warfare and kenjutsu. Sasuke was as smart as Inara, well, almost close, and his skills with a blade was close to Raiden's skills but not at master level, yet more of an apprentice. Along with being head of the military as well as a father of 3 children was pretty hard. Thanked Kami for shadow clones. But unlike other villages who place their village above even their families, Sasuke stood by the code of the Uzumaki clan, which is family always comes before all else. The clans of the Uchiha and Uzumaki welcomed their leaders with open arms. The council, or elder council as they were called, greeted them when Rose and Raiden brought them. Naruto greeted them with a smile that showed pure happiness. All his life he hoped more of his clan was out there while he was growing up. Sure, his childhood was good in others people's mind, but being around parents that loved his brother more than him and not giving him even a minute of free time was something Naruto called a horrible childhood. But he made it through thanks to his precious people, including 3 special people: his Sasuke-chan, Neji-kun, and Hanabi-chan. Naruto and Sasuke could remember it like it was yesterday, and it was one of the greatest days in their lives. Flashback. Uzumaki Uchiha compound. Naruto and Sasuke arrived at the room where the clan elders were. They were sitting in an orderly fashion based upon their ranks and their positions in the clan. In the back of the elders were 3 seats that were for the eldest of the elders. Kenshin Uzumaki, Hitomi Uchiha, and Kagome Uchiha Uzumaki. Kenshin sat there with a regal pose, his long red hair still as dark as blood and his face with his cold but warm blue eyes that can look into your soul. Hitomi Uchiha, she looked like an elder but beautiful female version of Itachi Uchiha, and she was one of the greatest minds that surpassed even Inara. She was cold but fair, which Sasuke could see. Finally, Kagome was a perfect blend of both of the clan. She had the long red hair but the Sharingan bloodline. She was cold and fair, but warm and kind. She's like a mother dragon who protects her young and a hungry tiger who mails her enemies. The 3 elders smiled warm smiles as they welcomed Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke welcome, said Kagome. The married couple bowed their heads in response. Naruto smiled as he welcomed them in return. Sasuke was still the cold but respectful Teme that we all know and love, which Hitomi could perfectly see. Thank you, kind elders. Naruto smiled as Mito cooed in his arms. The elders were so in awe at the beautiful children as the elders asked if they could hold the heirs to the clans. Hitomi was Fugaku's great aunt as she held her hands out to hold Itachi. Sasuke shook his head with a laugh as he handed his firstborn son to her. Taking him gently into her arms, she could not help but smile as she looked at her clan's heir. Hello little Itachi, I am your great-great aunt, and I know you're going to be a great shinobi for our village and our clan. Hitomi cooed, making Itachi giggle a little, which was rare for some reason. Kagome was fusing over Mito, as were all the rest of the Uzumaki elders, and Mito was enjoying the attention, and like her mother Naruto, she was soaking it in, which Naruto could see. Hee little Mito-chan really is enjoying the attention. Naruto laughed softly. Hagoromo was being held gently by Kenshin, and the elder swordmaster, or as he was called the Shinigami swordsman, was because he killed from the shadows almost like a reaper. He was a SSS rank. He was one of the only 3 people to ever get that rank, since Hashirama and Madara were the other 2 and he was the 3rd. Naruto, we of the Uzumaki clan welcome you. We've heard about your exploits in the 4th Great War and your status as the new sage of the 6 paths. One of the Uzumakis smiled. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, laughing nervously. Well, thank you for the compliment, but I am still as normal as any one of you. The elder laughed. Naruto-sama, please don't be so modest, you're one of the greatest ninjas in the world. Naruto sighed as he sat down, as his face went from smiling happy to serious.
Power doesn't matter to me. I've seen what happened to people who have unlimited power.
Take Madara for instance. He was great friends with Hashirama, but after he gained power, that's all he cared for.
It ruined his friendship with Hashirama, and his own clan left him when he wanted to rebel. Obito is another. He felt betrayed by Kakashi when he killed Rin, and he sought out power, and instead of revenge he wanted to exterminate all ninja. He explained. And then there is Indra, the founder of the Uchiha. He thought power was everything, and look what it got him, a countless war between the Uchiha and Senju clans. So what I am saying is, power is nothing to be proud of, and if you do seek out power, you must only sought out the amount needed to protect your loved ones. Too much will be the death of you. Sasuke nodded in agreement with his wife as he witnessed firsthand when he sought out power by going to Orochimaru. All he wanted was to kill Itachi, but throughout the years he learned after meeting and falling in love with Naruto that power really didn't bring satisfaction, especially when it involves killing someone you were close with. Naruto made sure to beat it out of him sometimes, which made him think he was Shizune's child instead of Kushina. We have come to discuss your positions as the Uzumaki and Uchiha clan heads, said one of the male Uchihas. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other as Sasuke gestured his blonde wife to speak up. Naruto sighed as he took a deep breath. Sasuke and I want to combine the clans into one great clan. Naruto smiled. You see, we believe in the Uzumaki code, which is family above all else, and we want to ensure our 2 clans become a big family which will benefit both clans. Say, if we do, how will it benefit for us? An Uzumaki female elder asked. Simple, Sasuke replied. The Uchiha and the Uzumakis are 2 of the 6 greatest clans in the world. The Uchiha, Senju, Uzumaki, Kagaya, Utsutsuki, and Hyugas are the 6 most powerful clans in the world, and my wife and I are the clan heads of them. The elders were shocked that their leaders were heads of the other great clans, and they asked, wondering how they became head of the other clans. Naruto told them that Sasuke became the Kagaya clan head through his grandmother, which Hitomi understood. Naruto also explained that he became the clan head of the Senju clan since Raiden passed the clan head to him due to John not wanting to be a shinobi. The Hyuga clan head was passed to him since the side branch made him clan head of them before he left the village. The clan heads understood perfectly and understood now the benefits that each clan would give them. The Kagaya were the greatest medic 9, the Uzumaki were sealing masters, the Uchiha were masters in elemental jutsu, mostly fire and kenjutsu, The Hyuga clan had the 128 palms which can render a ninja immobile, and the Senju clan provided senjutsu training, and they were known for the master trap setting in politics.
All right, then Hitomi announced. All in favor of combining the clans raised their hands.
Seeing everyone raising their hands, it was unanimous that they wished to combine the clans. With a total of 150 Uchihas and 275 Uzumakis, the new clan would be 425 members, plus with Naruto, Sasuke, and their 3 kids would make it 430 clan members. One of the elders, however, then asked what their new clan name would be called.
Naruto blushed a little as he rubbed his head. Haha, well, there's one name that I came up with it, and I thought of calling our clan the Schwanwo clan. Sasuke let out a small laugh. The Maelstrom clan, huh? What? It's a good clan name, and our combined power is a maelstrom of strength and love, Naruto replied. Sasuke thought for a minute as he responded, why not the Junai clan? Pure love, Naruto blushed. Why not the Kasai clan? It means firestorm. The two of them were trying to figure out a good clan name that would represent their clan and family until one name came to their heads as they smiled. The Kazuko clan. Sasuke and Naruto shouted in unison. Kazuko clan? Asked Kenshin. It means family, Naruto smiled, since the Uchiha, Senju, and the Uzumaki were all about family. It's perfect, said Kenshin. It's the perfect representation of our clan, all who agree.
Soon everyone cheered loudly as their happiness and pride rang through the room. Raiden said he would enter it into the village's clan charter, and soon their new clan will be fully changed and instated soon, but they will still carry the Uchiha Uzumaki name. Speaking of the Uzumaki, Naruto soon remembered his former mother's name. Pardon me for interrupting our enjoyment, but I wish to discuss my mother Kushina, Naruto stated. As you all may have heard, that Kushina wasn't the type of mother that loved me. Sure, she took care of me, but mostly of her time, about 98% of her time, was all about Menma. I thought she would stick to the Uzumaki code, but even to this day she wasn't, still as a fangirl.
Most defiantly, from what I heard about my daughter, and Uzumaki growled.
The man was about 75 years old, but he looked 35 due to his longevity. This man had long red hair that reached down his waist. He had a heart-shaped face with dark violet eyes. His skin was fair like any Uzumaki's, and he was known for his fuinjutsu skills and his fiery temper. This man was Shinku Uzumaki, the Crimson Uzumaki, due to his mastery in fire jutsu, which rivaled that of his rival Setsuna Uchiha, his childhood crush and girlfriend before he met his wife Suki Uzumaki. Excuse me, sir, but who are you? Naruto asked. Haha, my name is Shinku Uzumaki. I am your grandfather, Shinku replied.
Oji-san, Naruto said softly before running into his arms crying, Oji-san. Shinku laughed as he hugged his grandson close to him. Hey, it's okay. It's good to see you, and I am sorry for what my daughter did to you. I know she's my daughter, but she broke the one rule of the Uzumaki clan, never abandon family. I am ashamed that she would do something like this. I can't believe that after I raised her and making sure she doesn't break the golden rule, she goes ahead and does it.
Naruto sighed as he looked over at his grandfather. It's fine, Grandpa. I already disowned Kushina from the Uzumaki clan after she broke the clan rule, which was never abandon family. I mean, sure, she gave birth to me, but after the Nine Tails attack she didn't give me the time of day. I mean, yeah, I had the Nine Tails sealed inside of me, but everything was always about Menma.
It must have been tough for you, Naruto. Besides, you got me, and I am the easiest to take care of. Sasuke smiled.
Yeah, that's what Kushina said when she brought home Minato, said Naruto, making the elders laugh.
I thought that was when Menma brought Sakura home, Sasuke replied, making his wife laugh.
Alright, now that we got our happiness out of the way, we need to talk about your future, said Shinku. Naruto sighed as he sat down as his smile turned into a serious look. I am not finished yet. You see, the worst thing that happened to me growing up with those two was after I got raped at the age of 6, he said sadly. What? The elders, Sasuke, Raiden, Rosemary, and Naomi shouted. Naruto, you never told me that, Sasuke said, sitting next to him. Naruto sniffles, wiping tears from his eyes. That day when he was 6 years old was the most horrible day in his entire life, and he swore to himself that he would never relive it again. Taking a deep breath, he began to explain to the elders what really happened. Well, you see, when I was 6 years old I got lost in Red Light District because I was looking for my parents, who forgot to pick me up at the park. So I wandered into an alley by accident when I was confronted by 3 drunk men. I tried to run, but they cut me off, and they ripped my clothes off and raped me over and over and over again. He cried. By the time they left I limped all the way home. When I got there my mother was angry and demanded why I came home so late. I told her what happened, but she slapped me and told me to stop lying about the good people of the Leaf Village. Then I just snapped and yelled at her, telling her she was a bad mother. I ran up to my room, and I haven't talked to that bimbo for 12 years. Shinku couldn't believe that his own daughter wouldn't believe that her own son, his grandson, had been raped. If you think he was angry, well, you were dead wrong. He was downright furious, as everyone could tell when his killer intent leaked out.
Shinku was aching to go to Konoha and beat the crap out of his daughter for what she had done, but the look he got from Naruto was telling him that Kushina wasn't worth it. Calming himself down, he sat back down and his killer intent ceased. "That slut didn't believe that you were raped?" Naomi shouted as Rose covered her mouth with her hand as tears drenched her cheeks. "Didn't you show her the evidence?" "Yes, I did, but I got in a fight with some kids," Naruto sniffled. "After she didn't believe me, I never spoke to her again. When Kushina told Minato that I was not talking to her anymore, Minato thought I was being stubborn and unfair to my mother. I told him that I was raped and that Kushina didn't believe me, which was I wasn't going to talk to her anymore. He asked me to show me evidence and I told him I showered myself 6 times to scrub off the men's stench and marks off me. Minato then told me if I couldn't produce evidence then it didn't happen. It was the day I snapped and I told them off. I told them that they didn't care if I got raped and I told Kushina that I would rather be with Mikoto rather than her. I left the house and stayed with Mikoto for the rest of my years until the Uchiha massacre. But even after Mikoto Ka-san's death I didn't return to the Namikaze compound. Hell, I even rejected the Namikaze name publicly, which horrified Minato and Kushina," he said as he remembered it like it was yesterday. Many flashback crowds were gathering around the comshin that was in the center of the village, where a small blonde was screaming his head off at the Yondaime and his wife. "Now Naruto, there is no evidence that you were raped, and without that I can't punish anyone, you know that," Minato said. "Dad, I told you that I was raped in the red light district, the most dangerous place in the village. None of this would happen if you had just picked me up from the park like you were supposed to," Naruto shouted. "Naruto, calm down and stop yelling at your father. You're a big boy and you should have known better than to go there," Kushina scolded. Naruto couldn't believe that Kushina was blaming him for his little mistake. First she didn't believe him being raped and now she's scolding him for going to the red light district, who he accidentally made a wrong turn to. "I told you I was going to get a rape kit done, but you said no, Naruto, you're not going because it didn't happen," Naruto said, mocking Kushina. "I had to scrub myself in the goddamn shower for 3 hours to get the men's disgusting stuff out of me. Hell, I was very traumatized when I came home, but no, you shook it off." Naruto's parents and the villagers backed away in fear. They have never seen him so angry. The boy that always smiled and brought sunshine to the very village was now like an erupting volcano, and him being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki didn't help his case either. Soon a loud slap was heard as Naruto's head spun to the left. Kushina had just hit her son. "Look here, you little brat, I will not tolerate you belittling your father and I will not take any more lies from you. Honestly, why can't you be more like your brother Menma?" Kushina growled. Soon Kushina felt the wind leave her lungs as she felt a punch to the stomach. She bent over and fell to her knees. It was like feeling a punch from Suan herself. She looked up to see Naruto glaring down at her with his fist clenched. The villagers and Minato were horrified that Naruto would dare attack his own mother. "Menma, Menma, Menma. That's all you care about?" the young blonde shouted. "What about me, huh? Do I even matter at all? Ooh, wait, I don't, because I am just a Jinchuriki, a monster that doesn't deserve happiness of love from anyone. A burden that was placed upon me so you Kushina wouldn't have to suffer from anymore. You could have taken it with you to your death, but no, you chose a coward's way out and you call yourself a mother. Hell, you dare call yourself an Uzumaki. Naruto-kun, do you really feel that way about me?" Kyuubi sniffled. "No, Kurama-nisan, you're the greatest thing that ever happened to me. You're the only family I have besides the Uchiha clan, the Hyuga side branch, Hizashi Oji-san, and Shizune-chan. I love you all," Naruto said to himself, smiling. "I never thought I'd say this, Gaki, but I love you, you annoying little Gaki," Kurama chuckled. "Love you too, Ne-san," the young blonde replied. Gazing back down at Kushina, who was being helped up by Minato, he stood his ground and gathered up the courage to finally do what he wanted to do since the rape happened. Naruto took Minato's 3-pronged kunai from him and cut his hand with it. "I, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, hereby forsake the Namikaze clan and disown myself from the clan. I declare myself Naruto Uzumaki. I also renounce Minato Namikaze as my father and Kushina as my mother. I forsake the Namikaze blood within me, for I do not wish to consort myself with the Yellow Flash. He can take his blood back because I don't want it," Naruto declared as he threw the blood back at Minato and Kushina, staining their faces. Minato and Kushina couldn't believe what happened. Their son just severed all his ties, what he had and what he could have with them in the future. But he threw their blood back at them, which meant he was deserting the clan. The parents within themselves told them to beg on their knees for Naruto's forgiveness, but the shinobi and clan head side of them said to abandon him, the clan deserter, and they can mourn for him in private. Minato and Kushina scowled as their son forsook them. Since Naruto didn't forsake the Uzumaki clan, he was now declared Naruto Uzumaki of the Leaf Village. Plus, since Kushina dropped the Uzumaki name when she married Minato, it left her former clan with no one left. But now that Naruto declared himself an Uzumaki, that meant he was the last Uzumaki left in the world and was entitled to everything they had. "Now I'll expect everything of the Uzumaki clan to be given to me at the end of the day. One more thing out off the whole family. Menma was the only one in the family that I loved dear to my heart, so I am not disowning him since he believed me and was there for me, Naruto growled. Naruto loved his little brother Menma near and dear to his heart. He was the only one in the family that spent time with him and he was very thankful to Kami herself for that. So Naruto decided to have a small account with a large amount of money that would keep Menma secure for years so he wouldn't have to work a day in his life. The Yondaime and his wife refused to shed tears and turned away from their former son and headed back to the Namikaze compound to secretly mourn the loss of their firstborn. Naruto inherited everything of the Uzumaki clan, from sealing jutsus to regular ones and from weapons to chakra metal. Hell, even the entire Uzumaki fortune was given to him, which was 3/4 of the Namikaze clan fortune. It rendered the Namikaze clan from very wealthy to mediocre, which was a huge blow to Minato and Kushina, but not as much as losing the knowledge they gained from the books and scrolls of the Uzumaki clan. Kushina was also forbidden from using any Uzumaki techniques, as was Minato, rendering them back to square one. It was so utterly humiliating. Ends mini flashback. Whoa, you had it rough, Raiden said sincerely. But I got through it thanks to my precious people in the leaf. I mean, I gained new parents in the form of Mikoto and Fugaku Uchiha. They raised me and gave me the love, attention, and care that I needed. Hell, Fugaku-san beat up the men who raped me and Mikoto-san castrated them with the old rusted and hot kunai. Naruto smiled. The Uchiha family became my pillar, but now I have a huge family here and I am happy. You guys, Raiden-san, Rose-san, Shinku-jiji, Shizune-chan, John Ododo, my Sasuke-chan and my 3 beautiful children, I couldn't have asked for a better family than all of you. Rest assured, Naruto, that we will see to it that Kushina is gravely punished for her crimes, not just against you but also against the Uchiha and Uzumaki family, Kagome said firmly, promising pain to Kushina. Naruto smiled and thanked her as Kagome handed him back his children. Kenshin and Hitomi did the same as Raiden told them that they were going to head to the Senshinkage's office to add the Kazuko clan to the clan charter. Sasuke and Naruto bid the clan elders a respectful goodbye, which the elders returned as the married couple left the compound and headed towards Meryl's office. End flashback. Naruto was in the living room chasing after his 1-year-old girl Mikoto Uzumaki, who was crawling around the living room giggling. Mikoto loved being chased by her daddy as it was her favorite game to play. She had brown hair and beautiful snow-white blue eyes. She was dressed in a pair of fox pajama onesies that Kurama made her. She was born last year during the Celestial Festival, which was a day to honor Kami and her sisters, and it was the happiest day of his life. It was the happiest day of his and Hanabi's life. Naruto named their daughter after his late mother figure Mikoto Uchiha, and it was his way of honoring her. I am going to get you, Naruto said as he heard Mikoto laughing loudly, as she loved being chased by her daddy. Daddy is going to catch you, he laughed softly. Again Mikoto laughs as she continued to crawl away while laughing as loud as her own voice could get. In the kitchen with a video camera was a beautiful brown-haired woman stood nearby and watched Naruto be playful with their daughter. She was a pure beauty. She wore a long white kimono with rose petals on it. Her skin was as soft as silk and her eyes were a beautiful snow-white color. Naruto-kun, she's very energetic and I don't think you'll be able to catch her, the woman laughed as she watched. Naruto came up behind her with a smile and scooped his daughter up in his arms as Mikoto giggled. He then walked over and gave his wife a kiss on the cheek. That may be true, but she's also as energetic and beautiful as you, Hanabi-chan, he chuckled. That's right everyone, the woman was none other than Hanabi Uzumaki nee Hyuga. Naruto's second wife and former student. Hanabi came to Saishingakure 3 years ago after she and the side branch of the Hyuga clan left the Hidden Leaf village. They owed Naruto their lives for their freedom after he freed them from the cage-bird seal. Naruto gave them a new home to live in and money that would keep them secure for years. Hanabi was loyal to Naruto. After all, he was her teacher who taught her many things from Kenjutsu to learning the Rasengan. She was his most promising student and she would do anything to please and protect him. After the clan meeting, Hanabi confronted her sister about her plans for Naruto. Hinata said she had to think about the future of the Hyuga clan and that protecting the Byakugan was the top priority. Hanabi threatened Hinata that if she ever did anything to Naruto or his children, she would hunt her and beat her down so bad Kiba wouldn't be able to recognize the body. True to her word, Hinata ended up in the hospital for several months in intense care. Hinata suffered from 7 broken ribs, a broken arm, a broken leg, a punctured lung and worst of all a damaged womb which prevented her from ever having children again. After she was released from the hospital, Hinata found out she could no longer have children due to her injuries. Hanabi's assault on her own sisters spread like wildfire and the main branch had demanded that Hanabi be severely punished for what she did against their clan heir. Of course, Hanabi told them she would rather have sex with the Raikage than apologize to Hinata. When the Hyuga side branch heard what was planned for their blonde savior, they packed everything and withdrew all the money Naruto gave them and snuck out. After the side branch left the village, Konoha found out a week later that the side branch found asylum within Saishingekure, and Meryl the Senshinkage offered them a place in her village, but to the rage of the Leaf, Konoha lost half of the Hyuga clan, and that alone was starting to weaken the Leaf. After being granted asylum, Naruto welcomed them into the Kazuko clan. In the clan district, a new complex sector was built to house the Hyuga clan and Hanabi. Naruto and Sasuke became the Kazuko clan trio clan heads. Naruto spent lots of time with Hanabi during the years she stayed with him, and during that time feelings were revealed, and soon that led to love, and soon led to their marriage. Sasuke didn't mind it after a while, since he didn't like sharing his blonde with someone else. But he didn't mind Hanabi since she was the only Hyuga that he actually got along with. Hanabi's cousin Neji became the assistant and student of Rose in the Department of Intelligence. Thanks to Neji's intelligent mind, he also had a part-time job as head of the interrogation department. Tenten had gotten an apprenticeship under Drebin, who introduced her to the power of guns and explosives. She learned very quick, which impressed Drebin. In fact, it made him think he found someone to pass his business to. She was also trained by the Beauty and the Beast Corp, which consisted of Raven, Octopus, Mantis, and Wolf. After they were given a clean bill of health after being in intense care for a few years, the Beauty and the Beast Corp were in charge of seduction missions, which they always succeeded in due to no one being able to resist their beauty. Hanabi smiled as she took Makoto from her husband's arms and headed towards the kitchen where Sasuke and the other children were sitting. Itachi sat next to his father as he had the cold, calculating gaze. Naruto laughed as he knew that his firstborn was everything an Uchiha was. Sasuke was proud of his son, or as he calls him, Mini Sasuke. Itachi was just like his late uncle. He was able to unlock his Sharingan at the age of 4. Not to mention he was overprotective of his siblings, especially his sister, since he chases boys away with a metal pole. Sitting next to him was his little sister Mito, who was just like her mother Naruto. She loved playing pranks and she loved eating ramen, and lots of it. She was also a bit intelligent like her older brother. However, her main trait was that she beat down people that called her tomato, something that she got from her grandmother Kushina. She had the legendary temper that all Uzumaki women have, and that made lots of people scared, and they feared for their lives if they ever called her tomato. Finally, there was Hagoromo, their youngest child. He was a kind-hearted child who loved helping people. He always smiled, and his kind personality had always brought the warm sunshine to the people of the village. But even though he was kind-hearted, he was taught that sometimes being too kind can turn into a bad thing, that people would start walking over you. Naruto and Hanabi sat down at the table, and Makoto was placed in her high chair. Hanabi had served ramen, which the whole family loved, and some dango and pocky for Sasuke. Makoto was fed baby food, which the little one loved very much. Makoto looked just like her mother, which Hanabi was proud of. "So children, what are your plans today?" Hanabi asked. "Well, Aunt Hanabi-sama," said Itachi, "2-san will start my training since I unlocked my chakra. I want to be as strong as you so I can protect my family and my friends." Naruto smiled as he ruffled his hair. "I know you'll be a great shinobi." "You bet he will," Sasuke laughed. Hanabi laughed. "Hey, maybe Mito and Hagoromo could train with me and Naruto-kun, since I think Mito might have the Byakugan. I could also train her in the medical field of the shinobi. Plus Naruto-kun can teach Hagoromo, since I believe that he might have the Sage Chakra. Think about it, Itachi has the eyes, Mito has the intelligence, and Hagoromo has the chakra. Plus Kyuubi-sama can train them to use his chakra." "Hey, do you think I might have those awesome chains that Gigi has?" Mito asked, since she saw Shinku use the adamant chakra chains and it was so cool in her eyes. Naruto laughed at his daughter's love for flashy jutsus. She is definitely like me in every way." "I think you might, but remember, Mito-chan, the adamant chakra chains are physical construction of your chakra, and you need to have a special kind of chakra to be able to manifest them," Hanabi said, smiling. "That's right, Masumi, not all Uzumakis have them. It's a very rare trait and it's usually dormant," Naruto explained. Mito smiled and raised a fist to the sky. "I am going to one day unlock it and be powerful like Gigi, believe it." Sasuke chuckled. "Well, Naruto, looks like our daughter inherited your catchphrase." "Haha, she is definitely your daughter." Hanabi laughed, with Makoto giggling in her arms while clapping her little hands. Naruto smiled as the family finished eating and they headed to the living room. During the afternoon, the family enjoyed a nice quiet afternoon with Naruto on the couch reading a newspaper and Sasuke out in the backyard training. Mito and Hagoromo were playing a little board game called Chutes and Ladders. Hanabi was sitting on the floor with Makoto while Itachi was outside practicing some low-level training from his father. Haha, like father like son. It was about 10 minutes later when something amazing happened as Hanabi was getting her video camera. "Naruto, look, Miko-chan is trying to stand," Hanabi squealed, alerting Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke looked to see Makoto was really attempting to stand for the first time. Her legs were wobbling. As soon as she almost had it, she fell on her bottom. Rather than crying, she tried it again. Naruto was so proud he was crying tears about how proud he was of his little girl. Hey, calm down Dobby, don't flood the floor, Sasuke joked. After about 10 times she finally managed to stand, though she used the couch as leverage, but she finally was able to grasp standing. Her parents and Uncle Sasuke and siblings cheered for her. She giggled and put her thumb in her mouth as she was loving this attention she was getting. Her belly soon let out a little grumble. Someone was hungry as she raised her little arms up, telling them she wanted to be picked up. Hanabi shut off her video camera after taping her daughter's first walk as she picked her up and had a bottle ready for her. After feeding her and burping her, Makoto let out a small yawn, indicating she was tired. She rubbed her little tired eyes as she rested her head on her mother's shoulders. Hanabi and Naruto took their little dove up to her bedroom, which was full of stuffed animals and little baby toys. The walls were painted with lots of baby animals. Her crib was a gift from the daimyo of Spring, who was also Makoto's godmother, Yukie Fujikaze. It was a crib fit for a princess, as Hanabi laid her sleeping daughter in it. Soon red chakra seeped out of Makoto, which took the form of Kurama in his feral fox form. He laid next to Makoto and wrapped his 9 tails around her protectively. Naruto chuckled as he knew Kurama was protective of his kids. After all, Hagoromo, Mito, Itachi, and Makoto were just as much as his kids as they were Naruto's. They could see Makoto grab one of Kurama's tails into her tiny arms and chewed on one of them while she slept. "Ooh, so cute," Hanabi said, taking a picture with her camera. Kurama chuckled as he looked down upon his Jinchuriki daughter. "Don't worry, little one, your Biju Tucson will be here to protect you." He then curled around her like a protective mother. The parents left the room and headed downstairs. "Well, I better head to the lab. I am going to learn to develop new nano machines with Naomi-chan," Naruto said as he kissed his wife Hanabi and his 3 kids goodbye. "Hey, don't forget me," Sasuke pouted. "Haha, I never forget my raven," Naruto laughed as he kissed him. Naruto reached for his lab coat and placed it on. He looked like a scientist and he was loving it. Sure, he was still a shinobi, but he was getting more into the scientific field. His family waved at him as he got into jeep and drove towards the village laboratory. Sasuke headed out to the academy to teach the 3rd and 4th year students some survival tactics, since their survival training was going to begin. Hanabi was a stay-at-home mom like her mother before her, but she was a great medic nin. Itachi and his siblings always helped out around the house, mostly Mito because she loved helping out her auntie. The Kazuko family was growing and you couldn't find a better family. Konoha, the Leaf Village, had finally gotten back on feet. It took 4 painful years, but the village's economy was better than it ever was. Missions were coming in from Rice Country, Land of Beasts, Flower Country, and the Hidden Star Village, and the Fire Daimyo as well. Many of the countries that loved Naruto, such as Wave, Spring, Vegetable, Moon, Demon, Takigakure, Waterfall, and Kirigakure, allied themselves with Sensehingakure after they renounced their ties to the Leaf Village and Fire Country. But even after all the good stuff that brought Konoha back to its former glory, it was no longer the strongest village in the elemental nations. Apparently in the last 4 years Sensehingakure became so advanced in technology and weaponry, not to mention medicine as well, that put Tsunade's skills to shame. The village got more missions than any other village and their allies also benefited from it. Wave Country adopted in the art of cyborg tech. They now had their own army, and some of the shinobi from Saishingakure moved to Wave, and during the 4 years Wave was constructed into a hidden village called the Hidden Wave Village. Meanwhile, Menma was at the office once again facing paperwork, but thanks to shadow clones he was able to complete his work a little faster. But even though he was glad things were going great, the issue of power within the village was the major problem, since they lost half of the Hyuga clan since their defection. The village was in a huge frenzy since it was discovered the side branch of the Hyuga clan went to Saishingakure. This made the Hidden Spirit Village an enemy of the Hidden Leaf. Also, the information that Jiraiya and Kakashi managed to uncover about the village was horrifying and shocking. It was the cornerstone of the Spirit Village's powerful army and strength, and he had to bring this to the village's attention. Tsunade called the council together. "I have grave news that spells doom for the village itself," Menma said concerningly. Tsunade nodded her head as she sent word to the other clans and the elders of the village. Word spread that the Hokage found information about the Spirit Village that was gravely disturbing. After 10 minutes the council soon came together as Menma arrived with Jiraiya and Kakashi. "Honorable Council, we are facing with a terrible situation here. Apparently Saishingakure has a secret that they've kept from us," Menma said. The council was shocked to hear about this now after 4 years since they lost Naruto, Sasuke, their children, and the side branch of the Hyuga clan. They wondered what could possibly be worse than losing their powerful ninja to the Spirit Village. "And what secret could possibly be so important that you had to call us at this time of day?" Danzo asked. Jiraiya yelled. Menma. Jiraiya cleared his throat as he stood up. "Well, Kakashi and I managed to gather information from Wave Country about the power of Saishingakure. Apparently the village itself houses about 600,000 shinobi, 800,000 samurai, and 400,000 cyborgs, giving them an army of 1,800,000 soldiers in their whole army." "What? That many?" Minato shouted. Everyone was sweating in their boots at the vast amount of soldiers under the Senshinkage's command. To control and command that big of an army truly shows the vast might of the village. Danzo however was most afraid because he knew if they ever went to war then the Leaf Village would surely lose. And that's not the worst part, said Kakashi. The Uchiha clan and the Uzumaki are still alive. What? The council and Kushina screamed. Yes, apparently Saishingakure offered asylum to the Uzumaki clan after the Second Great War after we turned them away. Currently there is about 275 Uzumakis living there. Heck, the Senshinkage is even an Uzumaki, Kakashi explained. You mean my clan is still alive? Kushina sniffled as she cried softly. What about the Uchiha clan? Homura and Kaharu demanded. Well, rumors were going around that Senshin ninja rescued half of the Uchiha clan before the massacre and Fugaku knew the entire time and let them leave, Jiraiya said. Right now the Uchiha clan had grown from 50 to 150 Uchiha in the past 4 years. The council went into an uproar demanding the return of the Uchiha, which was mostly the civilian clan. Apparently the Uchiha were property of the Leaf Village and the Sharingan was a Konoha bloodline. Silence, yelled Menma. Look, I understand your concern, but the Uchiha were declared officially dead when they were massacred, leaving only Sasuke alive. Besides, we can't do anything. My brother and his husband tricked me into signing a contract that allows them to take their clans and move them to another village. I fell for the old genjutsu paper trick. Hokage, even if that's true, Sasuke is still Konoha's property, and according to Konoha law we can't let them leave without producing a few children for the village, which his 3 children he already has are, Kaharu stated. Minato nodded. That's true, Hokage-sama, my grandchildren belong to Konoha and by law they belong to me and my wife. That's right, Menma-san, I want my grandchildren back, Kushina said coldly. Not to mention my daughter Hanabi and the backstabbing side branch of my clan, Hiashi snarled. I demand the Senshinkage return the members of my clan, they belong to Konoha. The council and civilians were in agreement when a loud puff of smoke appeared, revealing a crow which carried a metal box with a button on it. The council looked confused until the crow vanished, leaving the strange device. Menma took the device as he noticed a red button on it. His father told him to be careful as it could be a trap. With caution he pressed the red button as a ray of holographic light revealed a large photo. In the photo it showed Naruto on the left side dressed in a red and black kimono with double blades strapped to his back. The Uzumaki clan was standing behind him as well. On the right was Sasuke Uchiha dressed in a black kimono with his clan in back of him as well. Finally in the middle was Hanabi Hyuga wearing her white kimono with rose petals on it, with the side branch of the Hyuga clan standing behind her. Their clan symbol flags were hung behind them on their compound entrance. The council was gaping in awe at the photo. It was true, every word of it. The Uchiha and Uzumaki clan did survive, and they had grown in huge numbers. Plus, with Hanabi and half of the Hyuga clan there with them was adding salt to the wound. Kushina and Tsunade were most upset that they were now forever severed from the clan they were born from. Danzo and Hiashi were seething with rage that this new-built village now housed the 4 most powerful clans in existence, not to mention they had the Byakugan, Sharingan, Rinnegan, and Mokuton in their possession. Hokage-sama, I would like to reinstate Root, and I can use them to infiltrate Saishingakure and take back the children that are ours by law, Danzo said. Menma thought about it, but Konoha was losing a lot of power within the other nation because they were now the 4th most powerful village, and that was a huge blow to his village. As Hokage he had to do what was right for the village, and Root were very effective during missions, so for the good of the village it had to be done. Very well, Danzo, you can reinstate Root, but they will be under my command. You can only command them when I give you authority, Menma said as Danzo nodded in agreement. Suddenly the metal box exploded, leaving only a scroll which Kakashi picked up. It had the symbol of Saishingakure, which was angel wings. Unrolling the scroll he read the contents out loud for everyone to hear. Dear Konoha, it's me, Hanabi, the side branch, and I have left the village to be with our hero Naruto Uzumaki. I can't believe that you, Hiashi, my own father, would plot to murder Naruto and kidnap his children. I would expect this from THST crippled Danzo, but never from you. To think the man that I looked up to would do something like this. All I can say is fuck you, Hiashi, I disown you as my father. Oh, and Hinata, you little dog-humping slut, I hope that beating I gave you would teach you a lesson. I will not let you hurt my sensei or his children. I will protect them with my life. Do you know what Naruto-kun said to me before he left the village? Well, at the bottom of the scroll is a seal that contained my memory of the event. Oh, by the way, I am married to Naruto, and I am now the mother of a beautiful baby girl who we named Mikoto after Naruto's mother figure. So up your Konoha scum. Yours sincerely, Hanabi Uzumaki ne Hyuga. The council looked over to Kushina and Minato since they were their greatest seal masters. Kushina was handed the scroll and drew blood over it as the seal unlocked itself, and soon everyone was engulfed in a light as they were in the Forest of Death. Asterisk Hanabi's memory seal. Hanabi was waiting in the middle of the Forest of Death where Naruto told her to meet him. The quiet night was nice with the bright stars shining light upon the dark woods. she heard rustling in the bushes as she got into her stance. It seems the village wasn't ready for me yet, Naruto said, making Hanabi turning around to see him. Naruto-kun, I am here to stop you from leaving the village. It's your home. I will keep you here even if it means breaking every bone in your body, Hanabi said confidently, wielding her small sword. Naruto took his cloak to reveal a crimson-black battlesuit and dashes forward towards his student and disarmed her, breaking her sword in half with his bare hands. Go home, Naruto said, shocking her. Hanabi charged forward only for her sensei to flip her over onto her back hard on the ground, making her grunt. Go home, Hanabi. Sasuke is waiting for me up ahead. You have no hope of finishing your mission. You're not even armed, Naruto explained as he started to walk away. Naruto-sensei, she yelled, attacking again only to be floored by him again. I am not your sensei anymore, Hanabi. There's nothing for you here. Go home, go back to your Hokage, he said firmly as he took out his machine gun and tossed a few exploding bombs towards a few trees and shot them with rapid accuracy, causing them to explode, which caught the trees on fire. He then turned back towards his student. Hanabi, there is no need to prove that you're virtuous here. The blonde looked at the fire. That should stir things up a bit. The Anbu will soon be here, you better hurry. It soon started to rain, which would cover up Naruto's chakra once he leaves the village for good. Hanabi panted as she tried to stand up, but she was still in a little pain. Why are you defecting? Hanabi cried softly. I had to. The village would never see me as a fellow ninja. They only see me as a weapon. A tool that will make their superiority over the other nations absolute. Plus, to make matters worse, they want to make my children into breeding material for powerful future ninja, and I will not let that happen. I can't stay in a village I share no more loyalty to, Naruto responded coldly. Then what are you loyal to, Naruto? Hanabi asked. I am loyal to my family, to the end, to my purpose, the blonde replied. What about you, Hanabi? What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your Hokage or your old mentor? Your mission or your beliefs? Your duty to your unit or your personal feelings? Hanabi couldn't even think of a choice as she remained silent, which her former sensei could see. Naruto let out a small sigh as he summoned a white horse. You don't know the truth yet, Hanabi-chan, and sooner or later you're going to have to choose. Naruto soon mounted his horse. I don't expect you to forgive me, but you can't defeat me either, you know me too well. Now go home. He reared the horse back as she neighed and galloped through the forest, leaving the young Hyuga heiress behind. Hanabi grunted as the Anbu arrived as she was carried to the hospital so Tsunade could tend to her injuries. While she was at the hospital, she thought back to her sensei's words. Who and what was she truly loyal to? Naruto or her village? Her unit or her own desires? Her mission or her own beliefs? The decision was very hard for her to decide, but in her heart she realized that she was loyal to Naruto and only him. End of Hanabi's memory seal. The council couldn't believe what they saw. Naruto had placed doubt within the young Hyuga's mind. He made her choose between her loyalty to her village and her loyalty to her sensei. Hiashi soon exploded, blaming Naruto for turning Hanabi against them and turning Hanabi into a monster who put her own sister into the hospital. Kiba, who was now clan head of the Inuzuka clan even with his non-ninja status, demanded for the Hyuga's head for beating upon his wife and rendering her infertile, preventing her from having more kids. Hokage-sama, we need to get Hanabi and my clan back, including my new granddaughter, Hiashi demanded. They are Hyugas, they belong here. Menma rubbed his temples. Sometimes he really hates being Hokage and prayed that his brother would just take this job from him if he was still here. Hiashi-sama, we can't. Hanabi is now married to Naruto, therefore she's part of the Uzumaki clan, and she and the side branch were given asylum, which means it's out of our hands. We have to do something, the Hyuga head shouted. You want to go against their army of almost 2 million soldiers? Menma groaned. That made Hiashi shut up as he sat back in his seat. For the first time in his life he admitted defeat. Minato, however, was not giving up. He stated that even if they can't get Naruto and Sasuke back, their children were still property of the Leaf by law. Besides, Naruto and Sasuke can have more children anyway, Kushina happily said as she wanted to have her grandchildren back. Menma couldn't help but agree. The law was still on their side, therefore they can still get the children back. He quickly wrote a letter and told Danzo to send some of his root members and a few Hyugas along with Kushina to Sai Shingekure and tell the Senshinkage that by law Naruto's 4 children must be turned over to Konoha. The council agreed with their Hokage with his plan. Some of the civilian council, however, were fearful of what the spirit village or his allies will do to them if they find out. Menma-sama, said a civilian. What about the retaliation that Sai Shingekure and her allies will give us once we take the children back? Remember, they have the greatest army, the greatest technology, and medical knowledge that puts Tsunade to shame. Sai Shingekure can do whatever they want, but they can't do anything to us thanks to the law regarding bloodline users, Suan smirked. But won't they declare war on our village afterwards? Said another civilian. Sure they will, but we will use the children as leverage, Danzo laughed. Alright then, it's settled then. Danzo, have your root meet up with Kushina at the gate in 1 hour and bring Hinata along with you. I have a feeling she wants revenge on Hanabi for what she did to her, Menma said firmly as everyone left the room.
Oh, sometimes I wish I never became Hokage because now that I put a team together to take my brother's kids away, I know my brother will hunt me down to kill me. After all, I am a father myself, and if anyone took my kids away I'd kill them. Naruto ne-san, please forgive me, Menma sighed as his head hit his desk. At the Konoha front gate the group consisted of 3 Root Anbu, Kushina, Hinata Hyuga, and a few of the main branch members all met by the gate. They were packed for a 6-day trip and were on their way to retrieve Naruto's kids from the Hidden Spirit Village. Hinata joined to get revenge on her sister for what she did. Kushina, as everyone already knew, was going to get her grandchildren back. The Hyuga members, well, they wanted to retrieve their clan's bloodline. As for the Root Ninja, well, we all know that's never good.
Well, let's get going everybody, we have a mission to complete and children to retrieve, Kushina shouted.
The group nodded in agreement as they headed out of the village. Their fellow villagers cheered them off as the Hokage saw them off and gave them his blessing and his confidence that they would complete their mission. Kushina and the group waved back to them as they left on their journey. It's been 6 hours since Naruto and Sasuke began their triplets training.
During those 6 hours their children showed great promise.
Their eldest Itachi had mastered leaf balancing and managed to create 3 shadow clones. Despite the child's large chakra reserves being Biju level, Itachi had perfect chakra control.
Sasuke couldn't be prouder, even though his son was more like his uncle who he was named after. He was trying to perfect the Uchiha Interceptor Taijutsu style. It was the pride taijutsu of the Uchiha, while at the same time he was trying to figure out a way to combine it with the Uzumaki Raging Whirlpool style. His movements were perfect as expected of him, but he was still a little sloppy in the Uzumaki clan taijutsu stance. So far he's destroyed 6 training dummies. Their second child Mito was every bit Uzumaki. Even though shinobi children are trained at age 6, the clans had decided that the heirs should be trained early. Mito had advanced senses of hearing, scent, and sight thanks to the 9-tailed fox, or as they call him, Uncle Kurama. Her chakra level was Biju level like her brother, but her control over it was mediocre at best. Regardless, Naruto trained her in chakra control and level 1 Fuinjutsu, which she was practicing well, the safe kind like storage seals, as she wasn't ready for the advanced stuff yet. Despite the kids' age, they could read on a 2nd grade level, and thanks to them being part Jinchuriki, they soaked up what they learned school-wise easily. Mito was reading a scroll on storage seals as she was trying to redraw the seal on a blank scroll. Finally there was Hagoromo, their youngest. He was like Naruto when it comes to pranks. He was a mini Naruto in everything from prancing all the system to the goofy smile we all know and love. He wanted to learn the art of sealing like his ancestors, but at the same time he felt a love for nature. Whenever the family would go to the forest or park for a picnic or family day, he would feel a connection to nature. The young Raven Redhead was training himself in the basics of the Senju clan's Hummingbird Taijutsu style. It was a taijutsu based on mostly defense and strong offense. Nearby on the porch was Naruto, Sasuke, Kurama, and Hanabi and little Makoto. They were watching the children train, and they were all proud of their children's progress despite their young age. Kurama was the most proud as they could see that the 3 children represents the 3 clans and their greatest ninjas: Itachi for the Uchiha clan, Mito for the Uzumaki clan, and Hagoromo for the Senju clan. He could see Madara, but mostly Itachi Senior in young Itachi, Mito Senju ne Uzumaki in young Mito, and Hashirama Senju in young Hagoromo. He truly sees the children as the pride of the clans and the hope for the future of the shinobi world. Well, I got to say, Itachi seemed to be soaking up anything we teach him like a sponge, said Naruto. I have to agree, Kurama replied, but given that the Uchiha are prodigies I won't disagree, but at least he didn't inherit the Uchiha arrogance. For once I agree, said Sasuke. I have seen firsthand what it does to me. It was also the reason that led to my clan's downfall. Well, most of your clan, Naruto reminded him. Sasuke nodded as he was thankful for the Senshinkage for saving part of the Uchiha clan from extinction. He owed them in the village his thanks for what they did. Naruto was the same way. Apparently the Uzumaki and Uchiha clan had intermarried a few times, as he could tell, so Naruto and Sasuke weren't the first to marry between clans, but at the same time the Uzumaki clan or the Uchiha clan never had a male Jinchuriki that could give birth. Mito-chan simply has love for sealing like her ancestors before her, Kurama smiled. She's a real Uzumaki, Naruto laughed, and Itachi-chan is a real Uchiha, Sasuke smirked. Hagoromo is a mix of the two, but he's more like the Senju clan, the fox responded. I mean, he has the traits of Hashirama. Naruto shook his head. No Kurama ni, I won't have my children being tied to fate or prophecies. All right, they will have a normal life, and that's exactly what I will have them live, free from fate and free from destiny. Kurama laughed, holding his hands up in submission. I get it. Itachi got a good handle on the interceptor style of the Uchiha clan until he tired himself out. He fell to one knee as he was tired for overtraining himself, a trait he got from his Uzumaki mother. Mito and Hagoromo took a break from their training as well as their father Sasuke approached them. Alright you two, you've trained yourselves enough, it's time for a break. Besides, your mother made ramen and curry, Sasuke replied. Mito and Hagoromo loved ramen, but Itachi preferred curry or dango like his uncle Kurama. The children approached the porch as they took their seats as their mother brought them their lunch outside. Alright my little foxlings, eat up, you'll need your energy back after that kind of training, Naruto laughed. As the family was enjoying their lunch, Itachi looked towards his mother. Mom, I was wondering if you could tell me about your clan. I know we will learn it at the academy, but I was wondering if you'd tell us. Yeah, I want to know too, Mito replied. Me too, Hagoromo smiled. Well, for starters, Uzushiogakure was a very powerful and rich nation. It was the home of the greatest Fuinjutsu and Kenjutsu masters. Our sealing techniques made us the most feared village in the elemental nations. But that led to the fear of other villages such as Kumogakure, Iwagakure, and Kirigakure. The three villages teamed up and laid siege to our home. The battle raged on for 2 months and the Uzumaki clan sent word to Konoha for their help. The Hidden Leaf village refused to help us and turned their back on us. However, Kami sent us good fortune as the Uchiha clan sent 250 out of their 350 clan members to our aid. Thanks to their help we drove the villages out even though our village fell. We owe the Uchiha our lives, Naruto explained. Afterwards the Uchiha clan took the Uzumaki clan to Saishingakure where the village offered the clan asylum and protection. Your great-grandmother Hoshi Uchiha, who was the clan head at the time, made an alliance with your great-grandfather Ashina Uzumaki, Sasuke replied, adding his bit of information. So that's why our clans are sisters' clans, Mito asked. Well, of course, like Ka-san said, San's clan helped the Uzumakis and saved their lives, therefore creating a blood bond, Itachi said. Smart kid, Kurama complimented. What did you expect, Itachi said proudly. Sometimes I wonder if you're really Naruto's son, Kurama chuckled. Hey, what's that supposed to mean, Naruto shouted. I am smart. Yeah, I know, even after failing the academy 3 times, the fox joked. Oh haha, and this coming from the so-called unbeatable fox who was beaten easily by the 4th Hokage, Naruto retorted. What did you say? Come say it to my face, Gaki gladly, the blonde smirked. The two of them got into each other's faces as Sok laughed. The two of them asked what was so funny and Sasuke replied that Kurama and Naruto would make the weirdest brothers. The family laughed as they enjoyed the rest of their delicious lunch of curry, ramen, and dango, even though Kurama preferred Pocky, which Sasuke was happy to provide him with. Kurama smiled at the family before he walked inside and met with Ashina Uzumaki, the former clan head. They had tea in the kitchen as the old Uzumaki looked at Kurama. Kurama, it's been ages since we last spoke, Ashina said. Indeed, old man, it has been a very long time, Kurama chuckled. When was the last time we ever chatted with each other? Probably before I was sealed inside of Mito Uzumaki after being controlled by Madara Uchiha. You were a great friend and ally to the Uzumaki. You helped us survive the First Great War, and for that we thank you. Thank nothing of it, old man. I may be a tailed beast, but that doesn't mean I don't have a heart. That's true, despite your massive great power you have a big heart. You can be a softie sometimes, Ashina chuckled. Yeah, well, don't get used to it, I got a reputation to uphold, Kurama smirked. However, something tells me you didn't call me here just to catch up on old times. Kurama, I must ask you, don't you think it's about time to tell Naruto who he really is? His real parentage? I have been asking myself that same question, Ashina, and since he's now old enough and has a family of his own, I believe now is the time to tell him of his true lineage. But why haven't you told Naruto about it when he was younger? Ashina asked, wanting to know why the fox didn't tell his container yet. Kurama sighed as he rubbed his temples, because if I told the Gaki about his true lineage, I feared what the village would do to him once they figured out his family ties. You know how eager the village gets when they have a new or very old bloodline, especially Danzo. The old Uzumaki shuddered at the name as he met Danzo a few times when Hiruzen became the 3rd Hokage. The man always made him feel slightly very uncomfortable for some reason. Maybe it was due to Danzo's lust for power and his cold demeanor that scared him a little. I see your point, Kurama, and I have to agree with your choice of not telling him, especially with Danzo around. I am glad that we can agree on that, and speaking of which, did you bring the file, Kurama asked. Ashina pulled out a black scroll and placed it in front of Kurama. Black scrolls were only used to house and contain very important and dangerous info and secrets. Kurama channeled his chakra through the seal, breaking it. In a poof of smoke laid a dark blue file as the fox picked it up and opened it to read its contents, and it seems the file was updated as well. Name: Naruto Senju Uzumaki. Date of birth: October 10th. Blood type: O positive clans. Senju and Uzumaki. Father: Nawaki Senju, deceased. Mother: Yumi Uzumaki, deceased. Birth village: Senshingakure. Home village: Konohagakure. Bio information: son of the grandson of Hashirama Senju and the great-granddaughter of Himiko Uzumaki. His father Nawaki, who was said to have died in the Second Great War, was rescued by Orochimaru and brought to Saishingakure for treatment. Nawaki was healed but fell into a coma for 20 years and awoke during the time of the Third Great War.
Upon his awakening, Orochimaru told Nawaki of Konoha's future, which Nawaki was proud of, but he couldn't go back and asked Orochimaru to keep his existence a secret until such a time he would return. His mother was Yumi Uzumaki, the great-granddaughter of Himiko Mito Senju Uzumaki's only cousin. Yumi was a seal master almost equal to Mito herself, and she was one of the few with the adamant chakra chains. She however died in childbirth.
After Nawaki and Yumi's death during the Third Great War, Naruto was given to Orochimaru to bring to Konoha, since Nawaki had faith in Konoha to guard his son. However, he gave Naruto his mother's maiden name to protect him, and he was adopted by Minato and Kushina. His childhood was that of torment, neglect, and abuse.
He grew up neglected by the village and neglected by his parents due to a prophecy given by the great Toad Sage. But through all of the hardships, Naruto stood his ground and brought peace and prosperity through the elemental nations. But that came with a price, as his dream of being Hokage came to a halt and was shattered. But through it all he found refuge in his home village in Saishingakure, where he is finally happy for once in his life. Within the village his parents thrived and lived.
Kurama chuckled as he closed the file. The Gaki has been through so much in his life. I am surprised, since most people would snap and seek revenge like me. Well, he is a Senju and an Uzumaki, Ashina reminded. They aren't one for seeking vengeance. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, we probably should reveal this to the brat. Kami only knows how he will take it. The elder Uzumaki nodded as he turned around in his chair. Naruto-kun. Sasuke-kun, can you both come here for a minute please? Outside, Naruto and his family heard Ashina as they wondered what the old man could possibly want. Naruto stood up, as did Sasuke, as they told their kids to finish their lunch while they see what Ashina Gigi wanted. Walking into the kitchen, Naruto asked his grandfather what he wanted to talk about. Ashina asked the couple to take a seat as they both sat across from them. What's the matter, Ashina Gigi? Naruto asked. Naruto, Kurama and I have to tell you something very important that was kept secret from you until such a time you were old enough to understand, Ashina replied. What's the big secret that was so important that my husband couldn't know when we were kids? Sasuke wondered. Well, that's simple, Sasuke, it's regarding Naruto's parentage, Kurama answered. Naruto and Sasuke were confused at what Kurama told them. What did he mean, Naruto's parentage? Everyone knew that Naruto was the son of Minato and Kushina, so what could the fox mean by that? Kurama ni everyone knows Minato and Kushina are my parents, Naruto replied. Actually, Naruto, they're your adopted parents. Your real parents were Saishingakure ninja. Well, your mother was. Your father was a Konoha ninja, Kurama responded. Then who are they? Did they abandon me? Did they love me? The blonde demanded. Relax, Naruto, your parents loved you very much, but they died during the Third Great War, said Ashina. Here, Naruto, this folder will tell you everything about your parents, the fox said, handing the blonde the file. Naruto took the folder as he opened it up as he read the contents. Upon reading, the blonde gasped as he dropped the folder, which Sasuke took the file and read it himself. The contents were shocking. Naruto was actually a Senju and a direct descendant from Hashirama and Tobirama Senju. Normally, the Uchiha clan despised the Senju, but throughout time that hatred grew to comradeship. Naruto was shocked as well. He couldn't believe what he read, and from what he knew from history, Nawaki Senju, his father, was the younger brother of Tsunade, the woman who he saved from Orochimaru, who then betrayed him by crushing his dream. Now Orochimaru, the villain who turned over a new leaf after the war, saved his father, who fell into a coma after being healed in Saishingakure. He was sure to thank the old snake for what he did for his father, and he owed the snake Sanin more than he could ever repay. Sasuke was really shocked that his husband was really a Senju, but this was a good thing since Sasuke was the great-nephew of Madara Uchiha and he married the great-grandson of Hashirama, Madara's dearest friend. His father Fugaku and a small portion of his clan hated the Senju, but he didn't care about that. No, he was more like his mother Mikoto. Wow, an Uchiha marrying a Senju, Sasuke chuckled. Naruto laughed. Wow, I am related to the founder of Konoha, that's awesome. Kurama's sweat dropped. Well, he's taking it pretty well, typical Uzumaki. Ashina had to agree with his old friend as he saw the excitement in his grandson's behavior. Even after finding out that he isn't Kushina's son, he's still his grandson regardless. This was a lot to take in as Naruto decided to drop the Namikaze name since he didn't share Minato's blood, but something told him that the Namikaze clan might become a Saishingakure clan since Alita Namikaze lived in the village. Naruto, even if you're not Kushina's son, you are still my grandson, Ashina smiled. Thank you, Gigi, Naruto smiled. Naruto, there is something else that I want to give you, said Ashina. What is it, Gigi? He wondered as he was handed a letter. You were only a year old when your father died, and he wrote this letter for you and asked us to give it to you. Naruto's hands shook a little until Sasuke touched his hand with his own. Taking a deep breath, Naruto read the letter his father Nawaki wrote. My dearest Naruto, it is difficult to write this, knowing these may only ever be words on a page to you. I wonder if you will remember my voice. Will you remember the way we used to play and laugh? Will you remember me comforting you when you were sad? Know that I am still with you, Naruto, my energy, my love, it's within you, it always will be. Use that energy to pursue your passions in life, never let others determine your journey, you become who you are through your choices, through the love you give and the promises you keep. I hope you are happy, that you are loved and successful in whatever it is you choose to do. I am proud of you, my darling. Remember me, with all my love, your father. Naruto sniffled as he wiped tears from his eyes after hearing the final words of his father. The very words of Nawaki's letter gave him a strong sense of pride. He was happy and successful and loved beyond his wildest dreams. I am happy, father, I will always remember you, Naruto said to himself. Thank you, Gigi, this means a lot to me. Land of Lightning Sunset Forest. The beautiful forest landscape that went for miles was as beautiful as the prettiest rose. Here we find our travelers from Konoha on their way through the forest and down the dirt path. The reason being called the Sunset Forest was due to it having a hill top which gives the best view of the sunset. Their long journey was long and tiring as the group was getting tired. They couldn't walk another step. They would have gotten to the ocean faster if they were on horseback, but the village of Kumogakure refused to help them due to their respect for the blonde and their alliance with Saishingakure. They've also had little info on the village based on what they've gathered. Kushina was resting by the campfire thinking about her grandchildren. Itachi, Mito, and Hagoromo. Deep down in her heart she thought that maybe she had no right to go through with it. But the shinobi part of her said that the children belonged to Konoha due to them being born in the leaf. Plus the fact the village charter can't let any bloodline user leave without producing a few children for the village. Another reason was the fact that her clan survived the Second Great War and was now living in Iron Country. Thoughts were flowing through the Namikaze matriarch's mind, including what her clan would think of her or do to her if her son told them what she did to him. Uzumaki's always put family first before all else, yet she put a prophecy ahead of her family, not to mention she put all of her love and effort in Menma and his training, leaving Naruto to himself. She kept on telling herself that the safety of the whole world was more important. Minato, Menma, Jiraiya, and Tsunade knew that, but Naruto refused to believe in it, causing a drift between them. But things got worse when Menma was declared the 6th Hokage. The look of betrayed that she saw upon Naruto's face made her feel uncomfortable. His blue eyes were filled with coldness, as cold as ice. No trace of warmth within them, and his body language told her that he was doubting his trust in the Hidden Leaf and its people.
If that wasn't bad enough for her, Naruto had moved out of the Shinobi district and into the Uchiha compound and cut his ties with the Leaf, like the Kyuubi festival, Menma's coronation of becoming the Rokudaime Hokage. Heck, Naruto even refused to come to his brother's wedding. Then came the day Naruto announced his marriage to Sasuke Uchiha, as he dropped and cut all blood ties that he had to Minato Namikaze, thus severing any connection he once had with the Yondaime Hokage.
Once we get my grandchildren back, Naruto can live his life the way he wants without Minato and I in his life, Kushina thought. The thought of her 3 beautiful grandkids were still on her mind. She already had 2 grandkids, Jiraiya and Tsuki Namikaze, from her son Menma and his wife Sakura, but Naruto's children were a gem, an absolute gem in both power and royal lineage. She shivered as she was starting to sound like the old warhawk Danzo. Kushina-sama, said Hinata, I brought you some food, you need to have your strength. Kushina noticed the Hyuga clan head, who offered her some ramen. Thank you, Hinata-chan. You must be tired yourself after a day's travel. You must save your energy yourself as well if you wish to find your sister. Hinata scowled at the mention of Hanabi, the sister who ended her ability to be a mother. Ever since Naruto left, Hanabi and the side branch of the Hyuga clan became cold and distant to the main branch ever since their savior who removed the cagebird seal left. Hinata confronted Hanabi about the whole thing and commanded her to forget about Naruto and move on. She also reminded her of her marriage to the Fire Daimyo's eldest son, which drove the young heiress to an unfit rage. Hinata shuddered when she got out of the hospital and was told the extent of the injuries she obtained from her fight with her sister. Hinata was horrified at what she did to her, that she avoided Hanabi at any time she could, but that changed when she found out that she and the side branch abandoned the leaf and left to join Naruto. Their bloodline was now in danger of being in the ownership of another village, but finding it that the spirit village were able to remove the cagebird seal made it even more alerting. Hinata became the kind of Hyuga Hiyashi and the elders would be very proud of. I am not looking forward to seeing that traitor, but I am looking forward to bringing her and the traitor's side branch to Konoha and charge them with desertion, Hinata said coldly. Are you going to kill your sister when you get her back? Kushina asked. Yes, I have to, Lady Kushina. She deserted the clan and the village, plus her daughter Makoto has our bloodline and it must be protected at all costs, Hinata responded. But according to my son Menma, she married into the Uzumaki clan, therefore you lost all rights to Hanabi. That may be true, but I can still challenge her to a fight, and if I win I can annul her marriage to Naruto, replied Hinata. And risk a war with the Uchiha, Uzumaki, Senju, and Hyuga side branch. Kushina stated, reminding Hinata of the retribution Saishingekure will bring upon the leaf.
The main branch Hyugas were guarding the area, as were a few root Anbu as they stood guard to protect the Hyuga and Namikaze matriarchs. The root Anbu were ordered by Lord Menma Namikaze to meet with the Senshinkage about the return of Naruto's children to the leaf due to them being holders of Konoha bloodlines such as the Mokudan, Sharingan, and Byakugan. Root Anbu never failed their missions and they weren't going to start now.
Meanwhile, deep in the forest area, a few scouts from Saishingekure were spying on the group when word reached them from their spy in Konoha, who just happens to be Shizune Kato. The spy group consisted of Haru Uchiha, Kita Uzumaki, Neji and Tenten Hyuga, and one of the 4 members of the BB Corp who was Laughing Octopus, a master of camouflage. Laughing Octopus, or Ursula Namikaze, who took upon her adoptive little sister Alita Namikaze's last name, dropped down next to Neji. She had on her camo suit which helped her blend in. Deciding to scare them a little, she laughed out loudly, making it echo through the woods. The Konoha shinobi were soon on their guard. "Who goes there?" Root Anbu stated with his kunai ready. The laughter got louder as she emerged from the shadows while moving on her octopus arm enhancements, her Metal Gear Solid 4 armor. The ninja demanded to know who she was until one of the arm enhancements drove itself through the Root Anbu's body. She laughed as the Anbu screamed in pain as she swung him around before slamming his body onto the ground. Kushina took out her katana as she charged towards the armored woman. Ursula laughed at her stupidity as her arms swung toward her, which Kushina blocked with her sword. Metal clanged against each other as the 2 women delivered blows. Kushina delivered a low blow kick to the lower area towards the woman's shin, which the appendage blocked. "Ha ha ha," she laughed, which made Kushina shiver. "Geez, is she having a fun time with this?" the Namikaze matriarch thought. "Minato isn't here, ha 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 ha." Ursula laughed. "Minato? What does this insane woman want with my husband?" Kushina said, panting. Ursula charged electricity through her arm enhancements as she went through hand signs. Uzumaki-style whirlpool typhoon. She blew large amounts of water into a whirlpool tornado as her enhancements fired electricity through it. "She knows Uzumaki techniques." "Is she an Uzumaki?" she said as she looked closer to the woman, who was in her late 20s. She had milky white skin, short blonde hair, and lovely blue eyes. It seems she's half Uzumaki. She quickly went through her own hand signs as she used wind-style Great Breakthrough. The wind blasted the whirlpool, which only made it bigger. "Crap," she said as she dodged as she sprouted her chains from her back, which bonded around the woman. Ursula struggled as Kushina told her that the chains couldn't be broken. Ursula laughed, which confused Kushina as the enhancements grabbed Kushina, sending jolts of electricity through her body, causing the redhead to scream. The pain was overbearing for the former Uzumaki as the chains loosened, allowing Ursula to escape. "Not bad, you truly live up to your shinobi title of the Red Death," she complimented, "but you failed to live up to the role of a mother. How dare that woman judge her parenting skills? She was a good mother to her children." Kushina was not going to let her get away with that. She charged the armored woman once again with her katana, hoping to cut her down for her insult. "How dare you question my parenting? Who do you think you are, you armored cunt?" Kushina seethed. "Ha ha ha ha. I dare, because you failed as a mother to Naruto Uzumaki." She laughed, making Kushina wince at the reminder of her failure with Naruto. "I know all about the history of the Uzumaki clan, about how they put their family above all else, and Uzumaki doesn't care about the rest of the world. No, they put their clan, their family first, and let others in the world worry about themselves. But you, Kushina, you dishonored and spit upon that code which your fellow Uzumakis that came before held dear to their hearts. You abandoned and favored a child over the other for a prophecy that was told by an old toad. Listen here, you monster." Kushina snarled. "I know I wasn't a good mother, but I still loved him. I also know of the code of the Uzumaki clan, and I still hold that dear to my heart, so don't you dare say I've dishonored it. Also, regarding the prophecy, my son Menma fulfilled it and we are now at peace." "You mean Naruto fulfilled it?" Kushina. "Naruto was the one who brought peace to the world, while his brother, who is a strong shinobi, which I can respect, is still cocky and arrogant like his father. I mean, really putting your faith in a child who only cared about fame and popularity during his childhood, while the real one suffered things that no child should have to encounter and live through," Ursula responded with a cold tone. "There was no proof that Naruto was telling the truth. Our villagers would never beat upon or kami forbid rape Naruto like he claimed all those years ago." Kushina retaliated. "I have lived in the village for many years and they are good people. They would never bring harm upon my children." "You mean they wouldn't hurt Menma since he wasn't a Jinchuriki? I know what it feels like to live in fear. I suffered what Jinchuriki suffered. I was declared the devil's child and soldiers forced me to murder my family while laughing like I was enjoying it. I had suffered so much my mind snapped till I was recruited into a terrorist group for my abilities. However, after the war in my country was over, Shingekir took me in and helped me and my fellow beast sisters and gave us a new life, which we are thankful for. The one we were most close to was Naruto, since he was just like us and had once suffered like us. He became our beast brother and we will fight to the death for him just as he would do for us, Ursula replied. Root Anbu threw some kunai and Justice left and right as her appendages wrapped around her body protectively. The appendage went straight through one root member and a Hyuga as well. She continued to laugh as she repeatedly banged the Hyuga up and down on the ground multiple times. Hinata was dealing with Neji, who she was shocked to see until Neji delivered the 364 palms on Hinata, knocking her out. Ursula looked at her opponents, still laughing as her appendage once again grabbed the back of the neck of a main branch Hyuga woman, dragging her towards her. Laugh. Laugh. Go ahead and laugh, she laughed insanely. Ursula, Neji shouted as the woman didn't listen till he threw the kunai, which hit one of her appendage arms, making her look at him. Leave one, he said coldly. Ursula dropped the root she was holding as she gripped Kushina around the neck, putting pressure on it, making the redhead gasp for air. Don't forget this face, she laughed, dropping her to the ground hard. This is the face of the demon who killed your comrades. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. She threw the kunai, which Neji caught. Who are you? Kushina demanded. Ha 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 ha. Well, I guess you deserve to know. My name is Ursula Namikaze of the extinct Namikaze clan, Ursula answered. Namikaze. Kushina shouted before Neji hit her on the back of the head with his AK-74U, knocking her out cold. An armored vehicle drove close to them as the back door dropped open as Neji saw Tenten coming out of it, dressed in the same Shadow Moses Island uniform that the infamous Sniper Wolf wore, as well as being armed with her PSG-1 sniper rifle. Some of the ninja already radioed some reinforcements. Sooner or later Minato will come, don't let down your guard. The Shingekir shinobi, armed with guns and weapons which many of the other villages never heard of, boarded the armored car as Ursula boarded too, as her mechanical appendage arms attached to the car as it drove off. Kushina panted as she coughed up blood. Those were shinobi from Shingekir. She couldn't believe they would attack them like this, but it seems to her that the Senshinkage is trying to make sure that nothing happens to Naruto or Sasuke. But how would they know that unless there was a mole in the leaf? But who could it be? She wondered who would sell out their comrades all because of one boy. The people who loved Naruto dearly was Tuchi and Ayami Ichiraku, Moegi and Udon, Shizune Kato, Enko Midarashi, the Hyuga's clan side branch, Neji and Tenten Hyuga, and shockingly Orochimaru after the Fourth Great War when he turned over a new leaf. So many choices, but most of the people she thought of were loyal to the leaf, but she would not put it past Orochimaru to rat them out. Kushina-sama, Hinata yelled, rushing over to her aid. Hinata applied medical ninjutsu to Kushina's wounds, healing them, which the former Uzumaki thanked her for. The Hyuga matriarch was in pretty bad shape due to the beating she received from Neji. Neji, who tried to kill her in the Chunin exams when they were young, now tried to do it for real this time, which horrified her. Never would she thought that her cousin, who Naruto redeemed, would try to commit genocide of the main branch. The remaining shinobi were two main branch Hyugas, one root Anbu, Hinata Hyuga, and Kushina Namikaze, cut down by Shingekir shinobi, but regardless of this they stayed true to their mission of retrieving Naruto's children. The shinobi were only 2 days away from Iron Country, but to gain access to Senshinkage they must go through Mifune. Gathering their supplies, they continued on their journey to the Spirit Village. Shingekir. Outside of the Senshinkage village perimeter, the Angel Division, which was Ursula's team, arrived at the front east gates, and Ursula was not happy. Ursula complained to Neji about how he stopped her from ending Kushina's life. Ursula, we already weakened the team. Killing Kushina would spark another war which we don't need to start, Neji sighed. Surely I could at least bloody her up a bit, Ursula groaned as they walked through the village. Upon reaching the cage building they arrived at Meryl's office. Knocking on the door they were given permission for enter. Meryl was going through lots of files, from documents to alliance papers. Apparently Iwagakure wanted an alliance with their village despite having a Namikaze in their village. Meryl had respect for Unoki and for some reason she trusted him. She signed the alliance when she noticed the Angel Division. Angel Division 8 reporting, said Neji. I trust the mission was successful? Meryl asked. Ever since they received word from Shizune that Leaf Ninja were heading to Senshinkage to demand the return of Naruto and Sasuke's children, they were constantly on alert and patrolling the perimeters. Yes, mission successful, Meryl-sama, said Ursula. We took out most of their team and I engaged in battle with Kushina Namikaze. Any casualties on our side? Meryl asked. None, said Tenten. Thank God for that. Amen, Neji said out loud. Well then, I thank you for a job well done, and the payment shall be placed in your accounts. Meryl smiled. Also, Naruto wanted me to tell you that his kids' training is coming along well, and Hagoromo wanted me to ask you, Neji, if you would teach him the Kaden and the 128 palms. I'd be honored, Senshinkage-sama. Neji smiled. Also, Ursula, could you and Raven teach Itachi close combat and swordsmanship? Meryl asked Ursula. Ursula smiled. She would love to teach Itachi with her beast sister Raging Raven. Raven was skilled in assassination and swordsmanship, and she had thought she could teach Mito her skills. The Beauty and Beast Corp grew close to the Uzumaki, Uchiha, and Hyuga clans, and the kids wormed their way into their hearts. The other two members, Crying Wolf and Screaming Mantis, loved little Makoto a lot, and they couldn't wait to train the young one in everything they knew. Of course Meryl I'd be honored to teach Itachi, but I think Raven would be better suited to train Mito, Ursula answered. Meryl nodded her head as she understood that each member of the Beauty and the Beast Corp were skilled in their own methods of fighting, and if the women wanted to teach each child what they know, then that was fine with her. Very well, the Beauty and Beast Corp will train Naruto's kids when they graduate from the academy, Meryl said, getting a nod from everyone. All right, that will be all. Dismissed. Hi. They shouted as they left the office. Konohagakure. Menma was going through paperwork as Kiba and Shikamaru's team finished their B-rank mission from the Fire Daimyo. The money that came in had rebuilt the village's economy, and things have finally gotten better for them. Missions came in by the hundreds, defenses have increased, and the village economy have increased tenfold. However, regardless of all this good fortune, they haven't made advances in technology, which Senshinkagure had in great amounts. Saishingakure was the most advanced village, and they've shared their technology with their allies including Kumo, Iwa, Mist, and Suna. The other great villages benefited from the advanced weaponry of rifles and handguns, including communication and entertainment, including high-tech computers and software. The advancements the other villages made Konoha uneasy and upset how their enemies rose to power due to the gifts that Senshinkagure shared with the other great villages. Ooh, another denial from the Senshinkage about sharing their technology with us. Menma groaned as he threw it away. It was the 5th time they were denied any advanced technology. Darn those Senshin ninja denying us what we need. A knock on the door interrupted his train of thought as his two kids walked in. Suki grew into a lovely young girl. She had her mother's pink hair but her father's eyes. She was a mini Sakura, and she was a prodigy like her dad. Next to her was Jiraiya, her older brother by 5 minutes. He was the spitting image of his dad, even though he had his grandfather's blonde hair. Jiraiya was a little prankster, but he was good at covering his tracks. He could be a good Anbu when he got older. Ah, my children, what can I do for you? Menma smiled. To-san. Ka-san sent us here to get you. Jiraiya Namikaze smiled. She said you have been working too hard and you need a break. Yep, Ka-san said so. Daddy. Suki smiled. Menma chuckled as he knew his wife Sakura was a little like his mother Kushina when it comes to taming her husband. Alright kids, I'll be home in a few minutes. Menma laughed. Suki noticed that her dad was a little stressed out as she could see her father had been working long and hard for days on end. Mostly it was due to the search of her cousins from her uncle Naruto. She never met him, but her dad told her great stories about him. She so wanted to meet him, but her uncle got into a fight with her dad and he left the village after his dream was crushed. Jiraiya was a little different as he was like his grandfather Minato, who was his role model. The young Namikaze believed in the good of the village. He was basically the favorite of the Namikaze family. Dad, I think you need to let this obscene of Uncle Naruto and his kids go, Suki said, shocking him. Huh? What do you mean? Menma asked shockingly. From what you told me about Uncle Naruto and what a great hero he was and how he survived torment and hardships since he was a kid, don't you agree that maybe Uncle Naruto deserved to live his life? Suki said. Menma sighed. Look, I understand what you're trying to tell me, but we have to ensure our bloodlines stay in Konoha. But is it what you want or what the village wants? Suki asked. Menma was silent for a bit as he thought that for a while. Is this really what he wanted, of what the village wanted? In his heart he believed he should leave Naruto alone, but his head told him to put the village first. He shook his head. Man, was he so confused? Suki could see her question drove a feeling of guilt within him. Daddy, do you really want to do this to Uncle Naruto? Suki asked again. Do you really wish to take away the only happiness he has left after all he had been through? Menma slammed his head on his desk. His daughter really knew how to tug at a person's heartstrings. She was too smart for her own good. She had been hanging around Enko too long, but he began to see that his daughter was right. His brother suffered enough and he did deserve happiness. Suki noticed her father taking out a piece of parchment as Jiraiya was confused. Father, what are you doing? Jiraiya asked. I am calling off the mission. Your sister is right, your uncle had been through too much in his life and he deserves to live his life the way he wants, Menma replied. Jiraiya sputtered. WWA. Dad, are you crazy? Our cousins hold Konoha bloodlines and we need them to stay here where they belong. Grandpa told me that having Konoha bloodlines in a different village is dangerous to our village. The Hokage groaned in annoyance. He knew having Jiraiya spend most of his time with his grandpa and uncle was a bad idea. The boy was becoming arrogant and it was giving him such a migraine. Suki was the angel child who saw the good in everyone and she could be very persuasive. The girl had the spirit of an Uzumaki. Jiraiya, that's enough. I am the Hokage and I am ordering the mission be cancelled. Menma scowled as he stamped the document. Menma then summoned a small toad and told him to take the message to his mother and inform her that the mission was cancelled and that all ninja were to return to the Leaf Village. The toad nodded as he took the scroll and vanished. Menma soon finished and packed up the paperwork and took his children home. They soon arrived back at the Namikaze compound where Sakura was cooking dinner. Menma greeted her with a kiss on the cheek while made her giggle. Menma told his kids to clean up for dinner as he met up with Minato in his study. Upon entering the study he greeted his father as Minato asked for the update on the retrieval mission. Menma sighed as he told his father to sit down, which confused him, but he sat down anyway. "Son, what's the matter?" Minato asked. "Father, the reason I have met with you is because I cancelled the retrieval mission," Menma replied. "What? Menma, you can't be serious," Minato shouted. "I am serious, Dad. Naruto had suffered enough already, so as your Hokage I am ordering you to not go after Naruto. Also I don't want you conspiring with any of my ninja or danzo, you hear me? Because if you do I will have you executed for treason." Minato was shocked at this new version of Menma. Never had he thought that his son would change his mind. Couldn't his son understand how crucial getting the kids back were? The safety of Konoha bloodlines were top priority and must be protected. "Menma, you understand how critical it is to retrieve the children." "Yes, but in case you forgot about the contract I was tricked to sign that allowed them to rebuild their clans in another village. Not to mention it also states that the Uzumaki and Uchiha clans were removed from the clan register." The former Yondaime groaned, hoping not to be reminded of that. His son just couldn't see the big picture and had shown weakness in regards to his older brother Naruto. Seeing as he wasn't going to change his son's mind, he decided to leave it be until he talked with the council. Since the council can overrule a Hokage's orders by voting, it may lead to his execution, but he will do anything to ensure that his village's secrets were protected. "You're making a mistake, Menma, but since you're Hokage I can't do anything to change your mind. But remember, you're making a big mistake," Minato said coldly. "I am doing something for Naruto for a change. I am acting like a real brother for once," Menma growled. "A Hokage puts personal feelings aside for the sake of the village," Minato replied. "And look where that got us when you made Naruto's childhood a living nightmare." "It was for the Gree," Minato said before he was cut off. "Greater good, my ass," Menma yelled, slamming his fist on the table. "For once I am putting family first. The mission is cancelled, end of story. I've already sent word to my mother and the retrieval team to come back to the Leaf." Menma left the office as Sakura called the whole family to dinner. Menma sat next to his wife with Suki on his left. Jiraiya sat with his grandfather as they said their prayers and began to eat their dinner. Small conversations were said here and there, but Menma didn't speak to his father at all during the meal. After dinner was finished, Menma headed to his room where he noticed a letter on his nightstand. He was confused as he opened the letter as it was just a picture of Naruto and his family. Menma smiled and he saw how much his nieces and nephews had grown. But he wondered why his brother would send him a picture. Looking on the back, Menma could see only 3 words of it. It said, "I forgive you." Menma gasped. Naruto must be found out about the mission. How he didn't know, but he shed tears that despite giving the mission his brother forgave him. Menma held the picture close to his chest. "Oh Naruto," he said, hugging the photo. Wiping away his tears, he put the photo in his desk to keep it safe. He then heard his wife come in as he got into his pajamas and joined him in bed and fell asleep, but not before looking at the night sky outside his window. "Good night, Naruto," Menma said to himself as he fell fast asleep. "That for now, friends, so I end the story. Thanks for watching."